My whole career has been people not liking me, but I've never experienced this level of harassment. You are unwilling to contend or concede any point that you are.
Yeah, because I'm not responsible for it.
Anyway, it's not about being liked either. It's about harassment, bro.
Go ahead. Show your audience, because you've been
And could also be a huge thing that a lot of people are actually disgusted at a country doing a genocide, and anyone trying to both sides this at this point looks gross. Could it be that? Could it be just like people who might not actually know who you are? They see a clip online and right now they're like, I'm really upset about this genocide I see every day. So yeah, maybe I don't know anything about this guy, but now I'm upset about this too. I am going into this with nothing, but I think it's going to be calm, productive. I think the end, well, not even the end. I think within the first 5 minutes, you'll probably see Ethan Klein be like, I got to be honest with you. I've had a lot of serious time to think about this and then reflect upon. Perhaps it was wrong of me to have been doing this kind of light version of endorsing a lot of what Israel does by constantly vilifying Hamas, even though we're so far into a genocide at this point that it seems almost cartoonishly evil to continuously talk about the things that Hamas did as the people in Palestine are starving to death and being bombed as we're speaking live right now. They're being bombed. So it would be really fucked up and really weird for me to consistently try and reframe the whole thing and contextualize the whole thing with October 7th. And I'm just here to apologize to you and to say, you know, I'm sorry, and I want us to be friends again. And Hasan will probably respond with, okay, yeah. A respectful conversation with ex-co-host Hasan Piker.
He is in the waiting room. Would we like to begin?
Yes, sir.
Actually, the dog.
Stand by. Stand by. Stand by.
I'm afraid to introduce Ducky because he's so intense.
He's got 50,000.
I gotta let your dog.
My numbers were not that off.
Grow a little bit.
Yeah, it's not going to be long before
Ethan,
I feel
but
like we're going to
yourself as well. If you're going to talk, like, that's fine.
Hey,
it's gonna be
Hasan,
difficult.
leave the production notes to my team. You can switch your show how you like.
Well, you know, they were my coworkers as well, Ethan.
Well, it's been a while, my friends, and guess what? They are not now.
No, I know.
So let's start. I mean, so you did this content cop, right? And I mean, did that go how you expected? It didn't seem to hit very hard.
Before we get started, can I lay some like ground rules so we can have like a productive conversation?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, I wanted to come on to make this as issue specific as possible, but yes, you have grievances with me, and of course, I think they're valid to address.
Okay,
and of course,
good.
we'll talk about that. Hopefully, I'll be able to address some counterpoints as well, if you will allow me in that process.
Of course, absolutely.
But before we get started on anything, I would like to potentially talk about definitions, so we can have like an established definition on a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about. Is that okay with you?
I mean, it depends how many definitions you got. What do you want to define? I don't want to get bogged down in this. So
I'm also experiencing audio issues on my end, so hold on 1 second.
Go ahead. No worries. No worries.
Okay. All right. So you're fine with that?
I mean, up to a point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
don't want to get bogged down in a conversation.
Like gotcha.
Go ahead, start. No, I know you're not. I just want to get going.
So first and foremost, I think we should define what Zionism is and what you mean by Zionism and what I mean by Zionism, so you can understand where I'm coming from.
Is the belief that Jews should have their own homeland in the historic, Palestine area. That's it.
Okay. All right. So I believe that Zionism is a religious ethno-supremacist ideology that revolves around the exterminationist policies of removing the indigenous population that lived in, as you said, historic Palestine, as long as they are not Jews, because it's a religious, ethno-religious supremacist ideology. I think that this is a disagreement that you and I have.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. If you want to add that, like the genesis of Zionism included, the displacement and, the ravaging of the culture that existed there, then I would agree with you. I mean, I don't think that the establishment of Israel was like a good thing. I mean, it was tragic and a lot of bad things happened. But let me ask you,
okay,
sir, How was filming that content? I just have to know what you felt, what you were thinking as they were doing the Fortnite L behind you.
We'll get to that. We'll get to
No,
that.
no, no, no. We're here. I don't want to talk about definitions. You got your Zionism.
Drama
Let's
right
do
out of
this.
the gates. We're going straight drama.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was fine. I've
Did you not?
I've participated in other YouTube videos as well in the past.
No, but that Fortnite L dance.
Some of them feature sketches. Okay.
I noticed you weren't in the other shots. Why was that?
I think I was being interviewed by.
Oh, really? Who was interviewing you?
What was happening? I can't.
Really?
I don't remember.
Really? Oh, that's convenient.
This is not going to be
I think you were embarrassed, frankly. You were absent from every other shot.
Wait,
I think you saw him doing that Fortnite dance, and you said, "I got to get out of this."
No,
and by the way,
care.
I'm giving you credit for that.
I mean, Ethan, you're a comedian. You know, you participated in some sketches. You know, it happens.
Not in that. I mean, shit.
Really?
Yeah.
You're one of your most famous sketches. You in a fucking diaper. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, we've done funny things.
Okay, you know what? Let's not debate the merit of our comedy. You're right. I'm very hacky, and so are you.
Okay.
By the way, you believe that the likes were botted on that?
What?
You had said you thought the likes.
Can we talk about definitions so we can discuss this topic? Can we talk about the content cop and how you actually made that and how sad it was and how cringe it was? That's going to be basically, I think, the next hour.
Said it was brigaded and was botted. And it was unnatural. The dislikes on the video.
I don't really care about this. I don't know.
I'm going to switch browsers. It's crashing so fast. Too many viewers. Probably going to have ads though, isn't it? Sorry, y'all.
I don't know if you know this, but I didn't publish the content cop. iDubbbz did.
Yes, I know that, and
Okay,
I've
good.
addressed him
All right,
thoroughly.
just-
Do you know that? Do you believe he should have included the context of the CPS call?
What?
What? You don't know what I'm talking about?
Wait. I'm a little confused. You are asking me
Yes.
what my opinion is on
On the
iDubbbz's
video.
content cop.
Correct. That's
About
correct.
the CPS. I don't know. Maybe. Sure. Okay. I mean,
Yes.
I think it was more so about like your year-long conquest of deplatforming and also harassing.
Right. Well, 90% of the
quite
clips
frankly,
were
harassing
from
a
the
bunch of
episode
pro-Palestinian
entitled
content
CPS
creators.
Came to My House, Hasan. I don't know if you think that's an important detail. I sure do.
Ethan, I think you know my position on this, as I made it very clear. I think it's completely inappropriate to fucking call CPS.
No. That's
I think it's completely
obvious.
inappropriate
I'm
to call
saying your
CPS
friend
on a
Hasan you made a
content
video
creator you don't
with
like. I don't know why
did a
you're- I
total
don't know why
fucking
you
hit
think I have
job.
any
All
hand
right, go
in
ahead.
this.
Ask me a question.
I don't have any, like, dude,
Go ahead.
Listen to
Go
me.
ahead.
Listen, we're both content creators online. We both have received an endless wave of harassment. You and I have talked privately about this. When
Hasan,
we
I don't
were-
care. Let's
when we
just
had a
go
podcast.
on.
No,
You-
what do
I
you
don't-
mean?
I-
You brought this up.
I don't-
You brought it up. Hold on. Let me say my
I know
piece.
what you're saying. We've all
You brought it
been
up.
harassed. The
Let me
internet is
let me say
tough.
my
Whatever,
piece.
yada yada. Ask me a question.
No. Please, Ethan, please.
Because you're so boring, bro. I just want to have an interesting
You know who else
conversation.
also
Go
told me
ahead.
that? Andrew Tate. Please, just hold on and let me
Wow, I have-
try to
wow,
explain
God
my
forbid.
position to you. You and I are both content creators. We
It's not gonna get
an
better.
endless wave of harassment, doxing, swatting, all of this stuff. Okay, sometimes by the same people. Ironically enough, by the same communities. You and I know we've had these conversations in private before.
been a while.
Before we, stopped doing our podcast. And you know my position on this. I think it's completely unacceptable.
I
because
know
am
you're
victim
against
to the same
CPS.
exact things
That's
that
not
happened to
even
you in this
interesting.
regard. I would never in a million years advocate for
Okay,
that sort
ask
of
me a
thing
question.
and don't think it's appropriate. And I don't know
Very
why
good.
you
Ask me a
think
question.
that I have anything to do with this.
Because you're not you're misrepresenting what I asked you. I didn't ask you, do you think it's okay that people called CPS? I asked that the video that you participated in, which was a total fucking hit job that used 90% of its clip from an episode of the podcast called CPS Got Called on Me and didn't even include the title of the podcast. Now, do you think that's fair?
I think you should take this up with iDubbbz instead of me. I didn't
Okay,
make
sure.
any
Ask me a
editorial-
question.
Yeah, I didn't make any of the editorial decisions in iDubbbz's
trying-
content cop.
I'm asking what you thought about it, okay? Not if you made it. It's pretty
I-
fucking...
Sure,
Pretty obvious. Go ahead, ask me a question.
I'm sure that I'm sure that it would have been all right if he mentioned it.
It would have
I
been
don't know
all
why
right?
This is a major point of contention for you. I thought we were going to talk about Israel-Palestine.
We're talking about whatever we want to talk about. You had said that I have problems with your character. That's what I'm talking
I
about.
know
Go ahead,
that
ask me a
you're-
question.
But you having problems with my character
Hasan, ask me a
so
question,
far
I'm gonna move
removed
on to
from
the
you
next topic
asking
here.
me about IDubbbz's editorial decisions in his content cop.
I'm asking about your opinion on it. Go ahead, ask me a question.
Okay. So, do you believe that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza?
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. So you agree with the with numerous human rights organizations, the UN?
I already said yes.
Okay, great. No, that's important. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I also agree on this. If you believe that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza, okay, do you feel like you have used your limited amount of time that you have as a content creator speaking out against Israel doing a genocide on the Palestinian population living in the Gaza Strip, or do you feel like most of your commentary on that issue has overwhelmingly been to rail against people that are doing that? Pro-Palestinian advocates that you feel like you've been wronged by, myself included.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but if you're pro-Palestine, it doesn't absolve you of criticism. That's something that you guys keep harping on. Do I think my coverage?
I don't think that's the case.
Okay. Do you think my coverage has been like totally balanced? I would say no. I've obviously given less time to the Palestinian perspective, and I think the reason for that is simply that
not just the Palestinian perspective, Ethan. I think that rather than talking about that issue in and of itself, rather than talking about the genocide itself, every time you have
Hasan, I'm answering your question.
Every time you've talked about Israel-Palestine, it almost always revolved around.
I was going to tell you why. Do you want to let me answer?
Vendettas that you have experienced from pro-Palestinian.
I was going to explain that. Okay. Would you like me to? You asked me a question, so I'm going to answer it.
Go ahead.
The reason for that being is that I feel like I'm responding to a lot of bullshit that's been passed my way ever since Leftovers ended, starting from you and your community. Now, that's my answer to that. Now, let me ask you about this. This sword has a Nazi swastika hilt.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Do you disagree? What's funny about that?
I think
I don't think they're going to get out of this circle. It's going to be Hasan being like, we should have a serious conversation about this. I want to talk about the issues surrounding this and how I think you focused on, our personal, or at least your personal vendetta against me and other streamers. And then he's going to be like, and now here's my personal vendetta against you and other streamers. Are you going to answer this?
Look like a swastika, as I've also noticed and have talked about on numerous occasions that you've brought forward on your podcast.
Yeah, of course
already.
you're conceding that because we fished this up, but yeah.
Such as when I made fun of, I believe it was Alexa that grabbed it, and I said, "Oh, you immediately go for the swastika one." Yeah, exactly. Do you think?
Yeah. Anyway, my point is, Hasan, if I can continue, my point is that you knew it was a swastika sword. So why did you guys choose to pose with this sword?
Ethan?
Answer that. Why was the choice made for this sword?
I'm going to gently explain this to you again. One, it's not a swastika, but regardless. Do you think it looks like a swastika? I did not make this editorial decision. I wasn't even, was I?
Do you think it's reasonable to perceive that as a swastika?
Ethan?
Answer the question. Is it reasonable to perceive that?
I don't think it was a deliberate decision that made.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know his mind.
Okay, well, Hasan, they're your swords, and according to the New York Times article, there was 10 options. So what's the chances that they chose the swastika one? That seems pretty slim.
Well, considering
you have
that
10 swords, don't you?
The week prior to that, I believe. I don't know the exact timeline. I don't really remember when they shot this, but I had the sword out because I was doing an Assassin's Creed promo. Do you feel like if I thought it was like genuinely a swastika sword, I would use it in an Assassin's Creed promo shot?
Yes. That's what we call a dog whistle, Hasan. And what you're doing is gaslighting somebody. You made a video.
You think I'm dog
Let me make a
whistling
point here, Hasan, because you're the king of microaggressions and understanding the perspective of minority groups. Right?
This is true.
So you made a video. You participated in a video accusing a Jewish. Let me finish my point, Hasan. No. Stop.
Can I just say
you are making a video accusing a Jewish man of exaggerating anti-Semitism while exhibiting the most hateful symbol against Jewish people. Do you not see this as a problem, or at least am I insane for thinking this is odd?
Ethan, take a deep breath. Okay.
Answer the question.
Take a deep
I don't
breath.
need you to
I didn't
console
even
me.
hear your question. I need you to
Well,
answer
you should try
something.
listening instead of speaking.
I'm just looking for clarification here. Do you think that I deliberately
Yes.
was using a dog whistle in an Assassin's
Yes.
Creed promo, or that it was a cool sword that was laying around because it's the only long sword that I have?
You have 10 swords.
I know they're heavy. That's not a real sword.
So you. Yes,
got Swordgate.
I'm aware that it's not a real sword, but you had 10 to choose from. What does it matter how much
Yeah,
they
the
weigh?
other ones are heavy, Ethan.
Let me
I'm
paint a
waving that
scenario.
shit around.
Let me paint, Hasan. Let me paint a scenario for you. Okay. Listen. Okay, this is important. You participated in a video accusing a Jewish man of exaggerating anti-Semitism. You exhibited in that video the most hateful symbol against Jewish people. 1 out of 10 of your swords that you have previously already stated you know is the, quote, swastika sword. So am I insane for even, you're treating me like I'm insane for bringing this up, but it sounds pretty reasonable.
Here's Ethan and PewDiePie, by
it's
the
a little
way.
insane,
and if you
yes.
didn't know,
So, yeah,
PewDiePie,
microaggressions,
someone had written on
just done
PewDiePie's
against you for
shirt
Jewish
You're
people.
asking me why
right there.
iDubbbz made
It's your
this
sword,
decision,
bro. I don't
and
believe that
I'm
you
not
weren't there.
iDubbbz, and
Hila
You were
and
there, bro. It's your fucking
PewDiePie has a
house.
swastika on his shirt.
I don't know why you're asking me why iDubbbz
Because
chose
it's
that.
your house and your sword.
But I also gave you what my speculation is, and that is that it's most
was just
likely
a
because I
cosmic
had
chance.
previously
Okay.
had it laying around because I had just done an Assassin's Creed promo.
Oh, Ethan was the one who did it. Okay,
if you
I
say
didn't
so.
even know that.
So if it's a cosmic
even
fluke,
worse.
which you claim, then why leave the photo
I'm
up?
not even in the photo, I don't think, right?
I
Am
know it's in
even
your
the-
room though, and with your sword. Why leave the photo up if it's a cosmic fluke?
I think this is going to be the next hour until this ends, but it's basically going to be him, Hasan being like, "Can we talk about this issue at the core of all of this, behind the drama?" And him being like, "Here's more drama. I got another drama thing I want to talk to you about. What's up with the sword from Bleach?"
I
Yeah,
should
don't
have
think
removed.
It's relevant or that big of a deal at all. If that's what you're trying to get out of me, I think it's not. It's
Okay,
what
so you're
you
telling
are
a Jewish
perceiving.
man who's complaining about a
And
very
also,
odd
can I-
coincidence
can I
that
just-
I'm
It's a
crazy
form
and
of
I'm
the Manji on it,
exaggerating.
Ethan, can we? Okay, you got me. All right, I don't know what to tell you. Listen.
Oh,
to
you
me.
got me. I put a swastika in the video calling you out for
No,
exaggerating
that's not what I'm
anti-Semitism.
saying. I didn't
You
do
got
that.
me. Yes, you
Ethan,
did. You
Ethan,
literally
I
did.
didn't do that.
Okay,
But again,
laugh about
it's
it. Go
not
on.
a swastika. And I don't even
Then
think
why should
you
he leave
have
it up?
that much of an issue with swastikas, considering you drew one on PewDiePie.
I'm a
So-
Jewish man, you fucking moron.
Oh, I didn't realize the Nazis
is
only
anyone in
killed
that room
Jews.
Jewish?
Is that what
Was
happened?
anyone in that room? Did I
Do the Nazis
draw
only kill Jews,
swastika
Ethan?
one time
do you
on?
think do you think that Jews have an exclusivity agreement with being offended or not offended by Nazi imagery? You've done a Sig Heil approximately 50 times
Why
since
did
Elon
I
Musk
do
did
a
it?
Sig Heil? Why did I do a Sig Heil?
I don't know.
Because
a question we
because
are
you
all
only watch
wondering.
clips on Twitter. I was making fun of Elon Musk and trying to see if it was valid or not.
Thank you.
And by
Thank
the
you
way,
for
as a Jewish
clarifying.
man,
My
are you
bad.
going to tell black people not to use the N-word?
Wait, what?
Are you going to tell black people not to use the N-word because it offends you?
Do you think this is an apt comparison?
Yes.
Okay. So you think that being able to draw the your anti-Semitism radar is completely out of whack. You
And
understand
who are
that,
you
right?
to say that
that's
to
the
me?
point
You
of
posed with
contention
the
here.
swastika.
You're saying that it's not a swastika, and you know it's not a swastika.
I mean, it literally is a swastika.
No, it's not. Is it?
Let me see the swords in your background. Why didn't you choose one of those ones?
I didn't choose the sword, Ethan.
I don't believe
Do you
you.
think this is a productive use of our time?
Absolutely. So anyway, you say it's a weird cosmic fluke. Personally, if I think it was a weird cosmic fluke, you say basically it's not a swastika. The difference between the Hindu symbol
but
and
it's
the
not.
Okay, right. The difference between the Hindu
What you
symbol
drew on
and the
PewDiePie,
Nazi
on the other hand, was a
swastika.
swastika.
I'll finish what I said. Yeah, I'm a Jewish man. I depicted a
cool.
swastika,
No,
a
I'm
tasteless
just-
joke
I'm
on
just making sure. Okay, so
on
you can-
iDubbbz's shirt 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You said this is the swastika sword, and you keep it in your house, and you use it and pose it in photos, attacking a Jewish man. The fact that you can't
I
even
jokingly
concede that
referred
looks
to it
bad.
as looking like a swastika when my friend picked
So-
it up. If
so
I
let me-
genuinely thought it was a swastika memorabilia, do you think I would keep it in my house?
Dude, you're being so obtuse. I know it's not a swastika, right? And I know you know it's not
okay.
a swastika, but
All
it is
right.
literally a
Well,
swastika also.
oh,
because the difference between
okay.
a swastika and that Hindu symbol is this. You see what I'm doing? This is the difference.
I know it's not a
If you
swastika.
ask a Hindu person,
but how
they
dare
walk around
you
with a swastika
hold
sign.
a swastika?
So you know
fuck
it's not a
no,
swastika,
they know
but you
that
keep
looks
calling
like
it
a swastika.
sword. So I'm a little confused.
Kind of. Oh, man.
Ask your Hindu friends if they would walk around with like a swastika brandished. They know.
Okay.
Are you Hindu?
I am not Hindu.
Okay,
no.
interesting. So anyway, it was a
Wait,
cosmic
do you think
fluke.
that
You
only,
brandished
do you
what
think that only Hindu people have bleach swords? Like, what's going on?
We're
So-
discussing the symbol, not the sword. Okay, go ahead. So
okay.
you think it was a cosmic fluke? There was 10 swords. He magically picked that one.
I can't. I'm speculating
and,
on the
he lifted
decision
up.
making of a person.
If it was a mistake, he could
who
have
I am not,
deleted
I'm not
it.
him. I don't
Go
know.
ahead, ask me.
Again, I'm going to repeat myself here. I think I'm doing this a lot.
You don't need to. Go
I
ahead.
am not iDubbbz.
Ask me the next question.
I don't know what was going on in his
I'm
mind.
not accusing you of being iDubbbz, Hasan, but you're acting like you're incapable of making value judgments on things because
No,
you're
because
not
I already
iDubbbz.
made the value judgment. I think you're being crazy.
Okay, well, Mr. Microaggressions thinks I'm being crazy. Very good. You have no problem telling Jewish people they're being crazy on
Yes.
it's like a blatant fuck. Go ahead, ask me the
Yes.
next question.
Yes, I don't
you
have a
think
problem
if
telling
you could go back-
you're being crazy right
if-
now. You being Jewish has nothing to do with this.
Sure. I'm sure it doesn't. Do you think going back that it was a mistake to use that sword?
I don't really care about this at all.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that really
I
shows where
genuinely-
you're at
I
on this.
don't
Go ahead and
care.
ask me a question.
Okay. So, since you believe that
He said.
Israel is committing a genocide, what are the appropriate steps that people can take, both in the Western world and also regional actors can take against this entity doing a genocide by your own admission, that you would consider to be appropriate? Because it feels like throughout this entire process, you have set boundaries on what you think is inappropriate.
Just killing civilians. That's the boundary.
As you have set boundaries on what you think is inappropriate,
Killing
and time and time
civilians.
again has said is outright anti-Semitic.
My boundary is killing civilians.
Okay, that's great. So
Is that unreasonable?
That's a perfectly reasonable boundary to set.
Okay,
I
good.
totally
So then
agree
we
with
don't
you on that.
disagree.
Great. Okay.
Great. So let me ask you the next one. Let me ask you about this
No,
topic.
no,
hold on,
the-
hold on.
you didn't answer the question. What
Can
should
I-
content
let me
creators be
finish.
doing to,
Well, you
to
asked.
try
I
and
answered.
bring
Go ahead.
attention to
You
this
could-
and stop it?
You could go on a little bit more.
Okay, so hold on. Everyone is complaining about my volume on my side because we're using Zoom instead of Discord. So my fucking
Go ahead.
audio,
Clean up your room.
It's fine. Take your
my
time. to
audio
get the
keeps
audio
going
right.
up and down. Okay. So one of the first conversations that we had, you and I had, that led to the Leftovers podcast ending, was that you considered "From the River to the Sea, Palestine will be free" to be an anti-Semitic slogan. You said that Jews feel like this is an exterminationist slogan and Jews fear this slogan in the United States of America.
Correct.
If you think that Israel's doing a genocide, do you feel like it is appropriate for Westerners in the United States of America and Palestinians and people of Palestinian descent to be able to use emancipatory slogans, or should they go to jail under the Trump administration?
Okay, I mean, these are pretty extreme questions. Now, I'm not making a value judgment. I'm just trying. All I was trying to do.
What's happening right now?
Bro, do you want me to answer?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to explain the Jewish perspective. I'm not trying to make a value judgment of it. But what I will tell you is that, how do you feel about Norm Finkelstein?
Love Norm. I know he has said that it is.
Here's what he had to say about this.
I know what he said.
No.
He
I want
doesn't
the
like
audience to
slogan.
see this,
Hold on.
Hassan.
Can I just?
Hassan, I want the
This is not
audience
gonna
to
be a
see this
Dr. Momo
video.
because I know Norm's positions. He's
Good, I'm
also
glad you know.
transphobic, but I
Let's
don't agree
let
with
the
that
audience
either,
know,
you know what I
Hassan.
mean?
Hey,
He's
Hassan,
still
let the
my
audience
goat.
watch the video.
Is it the clip of him speaking to someone on the campus about "From the River to the Sea" as a slogan?
Is that so? That's what we're having.
But I have a disagreement
So
with
it's
him on that,
nuanced and understandable.
I think it's gonna be
Let
that
the
clip.
audience watch the video, Hassan.
Okay, go ahead.
Palestine will be free.
Let me go
The
back.
slogan
Mitch. Yeah. Here's the Norm Finkelstein, a prominent figurehead in the Palestinian liberation movement.
Yeah, I know. I have more positions that I disagree with him on after this as
video
well.
could play,
Palestine
please.
will be free. I think it's a bad slogan. I know the slogan from the 1960s, the 1970s. It was a bad slogan then, and it's a bad slogan now because it has too much ambiguity. When you say from the river
Someone's going to hit me with the Cherry Act.
to the sea, Palestine will be free, obviously a question arises. Okay, what happens to the Jews in that scenario? And some people will say, well, all it's about is everybody being free, but that's not what the slogan says. So I have, in recent weeks, I have voiced my concern that it's a bad slogan. And I said, just change it, tweak it.
What's like really upsetting about this is at its core, Hasan is trying to steer things towards, and I think it's a really important question. If you think it's a genocide, the highest crime of humanity, what should all content creators be doing with their platforms as they're talking about this issue, and what should we be concentrating on? Where should we be focusing on? And once again, it's reverting back to, well, I do want to talk about maybe the inappropriate use of slogans. And so let's concentrate on that. It's like, but isn't it way more important that we bring attention specifically to the genocide in order to try and stop it, rather than try and discuss which slogans we feel are or are not appropriate to be used?
Which I think is
Norm,
good.
Norm has
You're
also
laughing at
routinely
Norm.
talked at campus encampments, college campus, Palestinian encampments as to, I'm not going to make much hay about the slogan in general. There's plenty of other slogans that are.
Well, you're willing to listen to him, but when I say it, it becomes a big controversy.
I'm telling you that
it's
I
not
can
even
have a
my opinion,
disagreement with him
frankly.
on that. And
All about
and
personal
you're forgetting
grievances.
one key factor.
What's that?
Okay, you're forgetting one key factor. Norm Finkelstein still ultimately will always say, while I disagree with the slogan because I think it scares people, it ultimately does not matter, and I'm not going to stand in opposition to it. He doesn't say it's anti-Semitic.
When
He
have I
doesn't
opposed
say
it?
It is exterminationist.
When
He
have I
says
opposed
that's
it?
what people think. If you think
When have
that,
I
if you
opposed
think
it?
that Norm Finkelstein would be in agreement with you in any way,
He
shape,
literally
or
is
form
in
on
agreement
any
with me.
issue, please have a conversation with him.
He's literally in agreement with me, like verbatim.
Okay. No, that's great.
Actually,
You said
even
it was
more.
anti-Semitic. Norm doesn't think it's anti-Semitic.
Hasan,
I
do you
want
remember
to
me
ask Norm
advocating against it?
Finkelstein- I
Do
want
you
to
remember
ask
me
Norm
advocating against it?
Finkelstein if he agrees with you on anything.
Sure, I'll ask Norm Finkelstein. Do you remember me denouncing that statement and saying people shouldn't say it?
I believe in our conversation you said
No,
it
it didn't
You
happen.
said
You're
it was
lying.
anti-Semitic.
I said it's perceived that way by Jewish people. All right, let's.
But the exact thing that Hasan is bringing up is happening right now, where he's like, but why are we focusing on the proper use of slogans to oppose, like, which is the best slogan or the most appropriate one to oppose the genocide, when we should be talking about, again, the genocide and how best to stop it?
Is it? Wait, can I ask you a question?
No. It's
Okay,
my
go
turn.
ahead.
You
know
spoke,
what?
and now
You
it's
know
my
what?
turn.
You go ahead. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very gracious of you.
Well, I mean, it's just a back and forth conversation, but you seemingly have a lot of grievances not pertaining to the actual issue at hand. But
I don't know. The issue, my friend, the issue at hand is your behavior.
No, I think the issue at hand is the genocide.
Well, we seem to be coming at this from two different angles, which is great. Right? So let me ask you this. Hold on. You said it's my turn.
Right, but what's more important to focus on and talk about and bring attention to and actually concentrate on? Our personal beef?
I can care about two things, Hasan. It's very important to acknowledge that.
Don't you think that
I can care about two things, my
incredibly
friend.
narrow framework surrounding
Very
your own
easy.
personal feelings?
I'm not that
have-
smart, but I can care about two things.
Okay, no, I can too.
Even if one is more urgent than the other.
By a bit of a
You
metric.
think your own personal feelings, born out of your misunderstandings, is more important?
Did
than
I say that? I said one is more urgent than the other, referring to the genocide.
Then talk
Oh,
about the
okay, so-
genocide.
So you recognize
Talk about
that
what you
the
can both be
genocide is a more
doing
urgent
respectively.
issue,
Hasan, please,
but
let
you
me
spent
ask a question.
Almost all of your commentary
Yes, very
surrounding this
good.
issue on talking
Very
about
good.
your own personal feelings and how you've been wronged by people.
Very good. Let me ask you. So you
Wait,
claimed
can you
on.
answer that question? Does
No,
that make
Hasan, you
sense?
asked your question. It's my turn. I talked about how gracious you were, man. What happened?
Wait, but does that make
I
sense?
said
to
you're
you?
so gracious. You're going to let me ask you a question. What
Does
happened?
that make sense to you?
Don't make me take it back.
Does that make
All
sense?
right, let me ask you a
to
question. Hold on to that. Ask me after this.
Okay.
You defended Frogan's use of the Sabra tier list. What was your opinion on that?
Oh my god, this is going to be the entire thing.
Oh my god.
It's your turn.
ahead.
Okay. Here's the personal drama I want to bring up
I
again
think
related to this
that
issue.
The Sabra hummus tier list is absolutely insane to consider anti-Semitic, and most people have already laughed about it, despite the fact that it was very damaging in terms of deplatforming a bunch of content creators that participated in this, egged on by yourself, by the way.
Yes.
And
pleasure.
yeah, it's not
It's
even
insane.
remotely.
Okay.
It's not even remotely anti-Semitic. It's like
Very
identical
good.
to
Let
the
me ask you
cracker
a
ban that
question.
Twitch capitulated on.
So let me follow up with this. Have you seen the thumbnail?
The thumbnail?
Yes, that's what I said.
For what?
This is the thumbnail that's still up. Now, let me ask you this, Hasan.
What?
Here's
How many
Rogan's
clips did
thumbnail
you
for the
prepare,
Sabra
Hasan?
hummus tier list.
How many clips
In
do you
the
have ready?
F tier is me and Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is not in the tier list. He has never explored or used. Why do you think Ben Shapiro is on the F tier?
Ethan?
like asking-
Answer
through
the
this
question.
again.
It's like
Well,
asking
you're
why is
dodging.
Capri Sun Poppy
And
B
I'm
tier?
not.
Oh, but
Rogan.
you can't make value judgments suddenly on your friends who you've spent all this time defending.
No, because I don't care.
Well, I
don't.
do.
Like, this is so,
I think it's
this
great
is-
you don't care. Why is Ben Shapiro there?
I don't know. I don't care. Probably because he's also a massive.
Probably because he's
fucking-
Jewish.
What? Because it's
Because it's
he's
the
Jewish?
most prominent Jewish
Do you
creators on
think
YouTube.
Ben Shapiro's Judaism is the reason as to why he would be on this?
100% without a doubt, yes.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead, take your time. I know it's a lot to process.
Can you
Okay.
answer for content comp that you didn't make?
Yeah,
Can you
this is
answer
a
for
lot to
Frogan's
process.
thumbnail
Yeah,
that
I
you
know,
also
man.
didn't make?
It's tough. You really don't know what to say because it looks pretty
No,
bad.
because it's so fucking stupid, Ethan.
Well,
you
tell
look
me then.
kind of dumb right
So
now.
why
you
is
look
Ben
kind
there?
of insane. That's
Okay,
why
very
I'm
good. Why
having
is
a
Ben
hard
there?
time. Like, I don't know why fucking Frogan made this thumbnail, and I don't care.
Why is Ben there?
I don't have any issue with this thumbnail.
Why is Raph there?
What
Ra-
is- why
Raph
is
is
Ben
A
there?
tier.
Because
Why are we
he's
talking
a
about that?
prominent defender of Israel, I suspect.
You're
Ra-
quick
Raph
to
is
say
A
that
tier.
Jews aren't the only Zionists, right? So
He's
why is Ben
Jewish.
Shapiro, of all the people in the world who are conservatives, who are Zionists, Christian Zionists, why Ben Shapiro? Me and Ben Shapiro and F tier, the two most prominent Jewish creators on YouTube? That's a coincidence, just like the swastika, huh?
Ethan,
These are two cosmic
Ethan,
coincidences, eh,
the-
Hasan? They're really stacking up.
the tier list that you're talking about, first of all, the tier list that we're talking about was literally designed by a Jewish content creator who you advocated to ban, and he got banned. His name
Very
is
good,
Rafi.
and I'm
You
glad he
called him
did.
a
He
token
definitely deserved
Jew.
it.
You called him a token Jew.
And I still stand by that. The man is
you
just
think-
fucking,
so you think that-
yeah.
So you get to draw swastikas on PewDiePie, but Rafi can't say that there is a tier list here where Sabra hummus.
This is Frogan's tier list. This is her-
lowest. The Sabra hummus, liking Sabra hummus is the lowest tier.
Ben
And the
Shapiro.
highest tier is being able to get a Habibi pass.
Rafi
You as a
is
Jew
A tier,
get to
B tier on that
determine
list in the
what
thumbnail.
other Jews are able to do. You're the Pope of the Jews, as Sam Cedar likes
I
to call
didn't.
Ben
I'm
Shapiro.
not determining what
ironically
they
enough.
can
Is that
do,
what's
but
going
this is Frogan's bit. This is her stage.
The answer
This
for
is
it,
her
Hassan.
bit. I mean, you can say the
How did you
Jewish
make
dude
Frogan do that?
Is the fall guy
Ethan,
and
can
did
you tell
everything,
me-
but that's
wait,
not
so
true.
You get to draw swastikas, but Rafi can't even say Sabra hummus is dog shit.
He can say whatever he wants.
Oh, so
I'm
he
not
can't, but
criticizing.
you're
By the way, I'm not.
call him a
You think
token
that my
Jew for that.
criticism is that he doesn't like Sabra hummus? Are you being serious right now? By the way, is that a beef? Hold on. What are you drinking?
It's a Dr. Pepper cream soda.
Isn't that who owns that?
I don't know.
Uh-oh,
but it's not
another
on the
gotcha.
biggest National
This sounds
BDS
sure?
fucked.
Yes,
We'll double
I'm
check.
100% sure.
Okay, we'll double check that.
You,
Yeah,
It's
we'll
not about
double check.
Sabra hummus, and like let's not
Ethan,
be
Ethan,
obtuse.
Are you
actually, the
BDSing
one is actually
properly
quite
right now,
interesting, like,
Hassan?
you consistently talk about
This
you
is so
consistently
unproductive.
Talk about how like I drink Diet Coke or whatever. When that fan came up to me and said stop drinking Diet Coke, it was not on the Palestinian National Committee's official BDS list.
Yes,
and
it was.
ever since it has
You're
been on
lying.
that official BDS list, I
You're
have
lying.
not drank Diet Coke or purchased any Diet Cokes at all.
You're lying. It
Oh.
was on the list.
Wait, what is
What? Yeah, it was on the list. You're lying.
what was on the list?
Coke.
Yes, it was put on the list, and I stopped purchasing Coke, and I stopped drinking Diet Coke, even though I love
You
Diet
said
Coke.
you know what's funny? You
Because
told
I think
her.
it's like not.
You
that
remember what you told her,
significant.
son? You remember? Yeah, you remember what you told her? You said, "I'll just put it in a cup."
Yeah, no, I was joking with her because I thought that it was a ridiculous request at the time because it wasn't on the Palestinian National Committee's official boycott, divestment, and sanctions list, Ethan.
Okay. It's not about Sabra hummus, just so you know. Like, let's not
Wait,
be
what is it
silly
about?
about this. It's about what's Sabra means a Jew born in Israel. It's an Israeli company. It's everybody knows it's like considered like Israeli hummus. It's been on the BDS list.
dark,
Everybody
it's
knows the
terrible.
connotations of Sabra hummus,
it's
right?
so doo-doo.
Nobody.
It is
yeah,
doo-doo
I don't
hummus.
like Sabra hummus either.
Do
But we're
we-
not
do-
talking
Yeah, it's
about
really
hummus.
bad.
What
Okay,
I don't
great.
like is
So you-
anti-Semitism perpetuated by your friends and swept by you. Now, why is Ben Shapiro in the F tier? That's a cosmic coincidence. Okay, let's move on. Very good.
Ethan,
Go ahead.
I
Next
don't-
question.
I'm not Frogan.
I know,
and I don't know why.
I know. How can I make value judgments on my friends I've been defending for 2 years?
Also, there
can
is
say?
there is a tier list in front of me, and it seems like a bunch of people, both Jewish
Ben
and
Shapiro and
non-Jewish,
me
are
are in the
on the
F tier.
Loves Sabra tier list.
You're looking at the end. I'm looking at the thumbnail, bro. I'm talking about the thumbnail.
I know, but
Of another
first
content
of all,
creator, by the way.
again, I'm making inferences about editorial decisions that other people have made. I'm just simply
Also, by the way, this is a sketch that Hasan didn't write. He did not participate in. He was not a part of. And so the accusation here is like, why aren't you properly condemning Frogan for putting Ben Shapiro in this tier, even though the person who wrote and designed the sketch, Rafi, is in the B tier on the same thumbnail. But that's where we're at. This is the extent. And now this is happening.
The symbol of capitalist XA.
yeah. I
Yeah.
got a free Rolex
Cool,
hat
dude.
from a friend of mine. I still wear it every now and then.
Yeah, and you're so. Oh wow, who knew? So anyway,
Wait,
Ben
I'm so-
Shapiro was
wait, what?
accidentally
This
in the
feels
F
so
tier.
Has
high
to do with
school right
anything.
now.
What's going on, man? What's happening?
Yeah, I
This
know
is
it's
so high
confusing.
school.
It's very confusing for you. It's like a car
there's
crash, I'm sure.
So why do you think there's a
But-
Jewish man?
so
in
this
the
is a cosmic
tier
mistake.
on
Let's
the,
move
on
on.
the tier list. If you think that it's like all about anti-Semitism and
Do you think that this is at least a bad coincidence?
no, I don't. I really
well,
don't.
that's fantastic.
No, I don't think it's a bad coincidence at all. I think you're trying to find with a fine-tooth comb like any incidents
course.
that even
The
come
Jewish
across
man
as
is
remotely
crazy. He
anti-Semitic,
sees
and you're having a really
anti-Semitism
hard
everywhere.
time. Well,
There's-
you want my
these are
answer,
just
you want my
cosmic
perspective, I'm telling you.
mistakes.
If you want my perspective, I'm giving it to you. I think genuinely, at a time when there is unprecedented levels of
Yes,
open
I know. We
out
can't
and
talk about anything else. That's
anti-Semitism,
very convenient for you.
at a time when there's unprecedented levels of out and about anti-Semitism with incredibly prominent, oftentimes right-wing conservative figureheads actively talking about Jews, okay, in deeply anti-Semitic fashion, you have lasered in on people that you can't even actually catch, quote unquote, dead to rights because they're not anti-Semitic.
Well,
And
they're
you
not wearing a
want to
shirt that
make
says
them-
"I hate
it
Jews,"
seems
but they're
to me-
walking around
it seems to me
swastikas
like you-
and doing tier lists with Jews on the bottom.
just
I mean,
said
that's
you
as close
agreed
as
it
you
wasn't a
can pretty much fucking
swastika.
get without them just saying,
He
"I
already
hate
said
Jewish
that.
people."
Ethan, it seems to me like you
And I
want
think you're
them
acting
to
really
be
silly and obtuse
anti-Semitic.
right now. The guy who's all about microaggressions and understanding the perspective of minorities and stuff, telling a Jewish man that he's hallucinating
Yes.
anti-Semitism
I
and
am
won't
doing
even
that.
concede that this looks bad.
No,
okay,
you're
fantastic.
hallucinating anti-Semitism in this circumstance. I'm not
Very
saying
good.
anti-Semitism is not a prominent fixture of American politics.
Very good.
I actually do think that anti-Semitism has exploded in
Very brave of
popularity
you to
in
say.
American
Very brave.
politics, especially. So that's not my point at all. I'm saying you individually right now wish
So-
that these people were anti-Semitic. So you're trying
really
to
don't.
find anything you can hold on to.
It's
But
really
once
not a
again,
stretch, man.
None of those people are me. So I don't know why
Let's
we've
stop with the
devolved
value judgment thing.
conversation
Like you can't
away
make a
from-
decision. It sounds stupid as hell, dude.
Wait, I sound
Let me
stupid
ask-
as hell? What?
But like, why aren't you discussing this with iDubbbz or Frogan or Rafi, the person who wrote the sketch, right? Why is this suddenly like, oh, Hasan, are you not willing to condemn all these people for something that I'm interpreting as anti-Semitism
I
right
don't
now?
think
My
it's
best
an
friend
issue.
iDubbbz to be anti-Semitic. Why would I want that? You think I enjoy my friends and people around me
Can I be honest?
being
Do you
anti-Semitic?
want me to tell you why? I don't
I
think
would
you're gonna
love
like the
to
answer.
hear. Yeah, this is going to be good. Go ahead.
Okay. You want everyone that has criticized you to be anti-Semitic so that
Yeah.
it makes you feel better about your position. It's not your own personal positions that you have explained to people that come across like you're using anti-Semitism as a shield to deflect criticisms against Israel. And
This
that if
is,
they are
what
actually
an
out and about
analysis.
anti-Semites, that'll make you feel a little bit more comfortable, like you've won the
Yes.
argument in your mind. and that your community would also finally go, oh yeah, you're right, you're a permanent victim in this situation. But because there's an unimaginable amount of anti-Semitism everywhere online, it comes across as shocking that you laser in on what you perceive are dog whistles when they're very clearly not even dog whistles at all. And I'll give you an example of this. Something that you did that I found very funny was you tweeted, or you don't tweet, sorry. You Instagram posted about my Theo Von podcast appearance.
Sure
My
did.
Theo Von podcast appearance where you were like, oh, I can't believe Theo Von didn't actually ask him about his like dangerous anti-Semitism or any number of different things in the conversation, including, I think you talked about Rick Scott. Now, we did actually talk. Theo Von and I did actually talk about Rick Scott.
Let's pull that clip up, Hasan.
But hold on. Let me finish. But what I found very strange about that was the fact that Theo Von, and I didn't even know this at the time, the day prior to me, had actually interviewed Candace Owens. I think you and I both agree that Candace Owens is an anti-Semite, right?
I think that he was on that 1-2 punch.
Okay, so
Wow,
so
bow, bang.
Do you think
Hit him with that
Ethan-
anti-Semitism,
No,
boy.
Ethan, as your former
He was
podcast
on a
co-host,
vibe.
as your former podcast co-host, do you think that I am anti-Semitic, one, and if you think I am, do you think I'm as anti-Semitic as Candace Owens?
So, yes, I think you're anti-Semitic at this point. I'm comfortable saying that.
At this
Are you
point.
as anti? Well, let me finish.
Then let's
Let
move
me
on from
finish. You
Frogan,
asked me two
and
questions.
let's address
No.
what you think
You
I'm
asked
doing that's
me.
anti-Semitic.
Hold the phone. You asked me two questions together. I'm going to answer both. You said, do you think I'm anti-Semitic? After talking to you so far today, I can say unreservedly yes. I think that you are more anti-Semitic than Candace Owens? No. But I think your form of anti-Semitism is way more destructive and sinister. Candace Owens
so
is
you think
outright.
I'm anti-Semitic
Hold
now?
on there, Hasan. This is an
Candace
important
You think I'm
question.
anti-Semitic now?
Owens.
Because 2 days ago you said
Wow.
I'm
I
gonna
wasn't.
answer. I'm gonna answer.
Okay.
Um,
Or yesterday.
your form of
I think, or 2 days ago?
anti-Semitism is way more insidious because it's silent, it's tricky. She's out there just saying what she believes, and I respect her for that. Nick Fuentes is just out there. Nobody knows that what's his stance on Israel. Candace
They're
Owens' stance on
massive.
Israel. But you're
Candace
tricky. What you do is
Owens is a
deny the heritage
huge
of
content
Middle
creator.
Eastern Jews, stuff like that. You accuse them of
She
being,
openly says
always
racist things
the
towards Jewish people all the time.
Always.
Can you
everything?
point to-
And by the way, you spent the first half. You
So
spent
does
the
Nick
first part of
Fuentes.
this debate calling me insane for what I think most people would perceive as blatant, obvious
Ethan, I think-
anti-Semitic acts.
I don't think most people would look at what you're doing right now and think that
Well,
this
let's
is
not
a
worry about
sign
that.
of mental sanity.
Well, we'll have time to poll the audience afterwards. So let's
Okay.
continue.
All right. Well, look. Going back to the Theo Von situation, and you said I'm anti-Semitic, right? Yesterday you said, or 2 days ago, in the aftermath of the Sam Cedar conversation, you said I'm not anti-Semitic. So what has changed in that process? Is it this conversation that you and I
Yes.
had?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right.
Here's the clip, by the way. You accused me of not.
that it won't, is-
You accused me of not mentioning that Theo Von did not ask you about Rick Scott. Let's go back and watch the clip.
No, I said
Because, like,
I didn't
of
say
what
in
you
the
just
clip.
mentioned.
Bro,
I
you
said in your
literally look like the
Instagram
dude from
story.
Beetlejuice. That's crazy.
On your
The small head
Ethan,
guy?
I use my words very carefully. I said in the Instagram story that you posted. I don't
Small
watch
head
your
guy,
stream that
Beetlejuice.
much. I don't. I only see like
In the
bits and
waiting room?
pieces of it.
Bro, that's crazy. Do you see the resemblance?
Sick burn. This is really productive.
You're
Amazing.
this guy from
The
Beetlejuice.
epic
In this
cack.
photo, you have like the same coat and shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is so epic.
Yeah,
It's
that's you are. A
I've never
comedian.
seen Hasan so prone.
I sure am,
Fucking
buddy. I
Getting
see
wrecked.
you laughing. All right, anyway. So you accused me of
Chatelet.
misrepresenting what happened. Let's play the clip.
Right? $800 billion of Medicare and Medicaid that they want to cut. Mike Johnson goes on stage, says, goes on Caitlin Collins on CNN and says, oh, there's a lot of fraud happening. There's not fraud happening in Medicare and Medicaid on the point of the recipient.
Right.
It's happening on the point of the providers.
Right.
And that's why I got banned recently on
way.
Twitch yesterday. Because
Sorry about that one day.
So you just got back.
yeah, Libs of TikTok was like posting about how I said
Wait, what is
something,
this?
and they misconstrued it as though it was a call to action to assassinate.
Wait, why are you showing me
US
this?
senator?
Well, you're
'Cause I-
you're saying I didn't bring this up, but or I'm saying that Theo didn't bring this up. He didn't. You brought it up, framed it in your own way to
No,
basically
no,
preempt
Ethan,
a tough
Ethan.
question. Yeah.
Ethan, I said on the Instagram story that you posted about me, Dan, can you switch it back to Ethan?
Don't switch it back, Dan. I'm just kidding.
That's-
Go ahead.
I'm switching it back. 1 second.
All right, thanks, Dan.
I
This
know,
looks
man.
ridiculous on my end.
It sure
I'm
does,
sorry.
buddy.
Okay. So yeah, this was if you want,
And
you
it's
can
not
also
just
pull
'cause
up
of the video.
post as well. But the post I was referring to was make sure Theo knows how you feel about hosting a terrorist adjacent content creator. And I believe there was another post about it or something. But again,
I said he was irresponsible to platform you and not ask you difficult
yeah.
questions.
So the question I have for you once again is like he had Candace Owens on. Like, do you
Yeah.
feel like that's a little bit more
Yeah.
damaging in terms of spreading potentially anti-Semitic narratives? Or do you think that anti-Semitism is when you feel bad personally, and that could be any number of different things that I've done in any given moment?
Yes, I think you were just as bad as her in your own special way, and that's
You
why.
think I'm just
and
as
you guys
bad
were
as
hitting that
Candace
same
Owens
flavor.
on anti-Semitism
As
in my own
Candace
special way.
Owens.
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right,
Very
cool.
good. Very good.
Can
So let me ask
can
you a
This is
question.
unbelievable.
Hassan, can I ask you a
now
question?
officially not talk about like Frogan or anyone else and tell me why I'm anti-Semitic? Because
Well, we're
yesterday,
kind
2
of
days ago,
getting
you said
there.
I wasn't, but also
I already-
for a year,
You're repeating yourself.
well, I am, because you haven't answered this question.
I
2
have
days ago,
literally
you said I
answered it
wasn't
probably 2
anti-Semitic.
times.
For
The
a
reason that I'm saying
year-
you're
for a
anti-Semitic is
year-
because how you responded to my question at the beginning of this interview.
Ethan, for an entire year, you called me a virulent anti-Semite, a rabid
No,
anti-Semite. You
never did.
You did. You went back
did
and
not.
forth on it.
I have
Even
actually
Dan
went
checked
back
you
and
on it.
checked. I
Even-
had said that you spread anti-Semitism and stuff, but I never called you an anti-Semitic. I went
so
back
I was
and
just
checked.
simply
You're lying.
spreading anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difference.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Is about Habibi, not Sabra. You're conceding to the framing. Yeah, we're not conceding to anything. I don't want to even talk about the tier list anymore. Stop it. Okay.
Okay, let me ask you. My turn. Do you
right, your
think it's
turn.
appropriate to accuse? Do you think it's appropriate to accuse any Jewish person you disagree with of working with the ADL?
No, I don't. I
Here,
don't think
for
it's
example, is
appropriate. But
someone
if you're
using it
talking
to
about me
anti-Semitically.
saying that Ethan Klein and ADL in unison got
Hassan, let me
got
finish.
people-
You're
got people
getting
deplatformed,
ahead of
and
yourself,
yes,
buddy.
I do think that that's a
You're getting
valid
ahead of
thing
yourself,
to,
man.
That's a valid thing to not only speculate, but also I stand on
Hold
that
the
for sure.
phone. Hassan, I'm getting there. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy. Here's an example of it being used in an anti-Semitic way. I'm sure you'll agree. Timeline on that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Who is this? What is this?
This is your fan who ran up on me on
Oh
Rodeo.
my god.
Who the fuck is this guy? My fan?
Yeah,
This
you
wait,
remember.
Is this the guy?
wait,
wait,
you
wait.
remember.
No, this is the guy that you claimed was my fan, right? He was calling me the fucking F slur.
I mean, there's a clip
on
of
the
being
timeline.
like,
He's not a
yo,
fan.
I love this dude. Anyway, who cares if he's your fan or not?
No.
Point is-
Hold on.
You were presenting the
You
evidence.
brought
No.
this dude up.
It doesn't matter.
And I believe
I'm
that
showing
you-
him as an example.
This is, oh my god, I would like to submit into evidence this new piece of shocking video footage of one of your fans. My fan, he calls me the F slur. Yeah, well, I'm not saying he's your fan. No, you are literally presenting this. Oh my god.
Let me get to there, okay? You asked
get
me.
there right
It's
now.
my turn to ask a question.
Why do you
Just
think
because I
this
brought
random
him up
fucking guy
doesn't
is
give
a
you
fan
the
of mine,
space to
Ethan? Is it
interject.
because he rolled up to me and tried
Let
to
me
fucking
finish.
clout farm? Is that why? At the
Yes.
encampments
Okay,
where I
thank
was
you very
very
much.
clearly disturbed by his presence? Is that
Hassan,
why?
I think you know where I'm going, and I think you're scared.
Ethan, can you
Yep,
answer
let me-
the question? Why
let
did
me-
you falsely claim that this fucking random
Because
dude
he's
who
on
does
video
not
saying
like
he
me
loves you, that you're
is
his
a
favorite
fan of
person in the
mine?
world. What do you mean?
Didn't wait.
This is
All right,
such a
Hassan,
backfire.
Here you go,
This
buddy.
is so
Here we
weird.
go. You
Didn't
wanted
use
it. I've got it.
approaching you.
I love
Here's
you.
the damning footage.
I
He
love
doesn't
you.
know who he is.
You're the GOAT.
For me?
This is such an
Wow, how
embarrassing
crazy.
gotcha.
I'm fucking. Is this another hysterical delusion?
Yes, it is. And I'm going to explain to you
Okay.
exactly
Did
why.
you hear that last part? You look
Because
gay
we-
though.
Wow, dude, I love you. You're the GOAT, bro.
We spent a good deal of our time in the encampment. If you watch the unedited full live stream, we spent a good deal of the entirety of the
that.
encampment running away from him because he kept trying
Well,
to ask me
listen.
dumbass fucking questions. for
Okay,
his
but that's
own
got nothing to do with he's a
dumbass-
fan.
for his
Listen,
own dumbass
Hasan,
podcast.
please, you're derailing this, and I need.
You're derailing. This is your evidence.
I was there, and I'm telling
You
the
presented
situation.
this.
You
Very
are
good.
nefariously making it seem as though this person is a massive fan of mine.
Do I need
He
to
was
play
just
the
trying to
clip
clout
again?
chase.
I'll play it again. You know.
You can play that clip again.
Oh my God!
Here, I'll add subtitles.
Can you play the clip where he openly admits he doesn't know who I am and asks people around? Because that also happened in
You're
there.
my hero, bro. I love
You're
you.
the coolest guy in the world.
You're the coolest guy in the world.
Hold on, I think I look gay in that one.
I think I look gay in that one.
3, 2,
Ethan.
1.
Oh, he said, I think I look gay in that one.
Ethan.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
If
You
you
okay?
think he was a fan of mine, why'd you call him a Sneeko fan when you interviewed him?
Because he's both. I mean, you've surely
Oh,
there's crossover.
all right. Yeah.
Oh, there's a crossover.
Do I need to
overlap.
play the video again? I'll do it again.
My
Fuck it.
producer
Yeah.
and my camera
And
op,
Candace
Mark.
Owens, apparently.
My producer and my camera op,
The
Mark.
Candace Owens, Sneeko, Hasan fan groups.
And he's in the chat right now.
I have to interview you. You're my hero, bro. I love you, bro. You're the
Ethan.
coolest guy in the world, bro. Hold on, I think I look gay.
Listen, he might not be a fan, but you can't
Oh my
accuse me of being
God.
delusional for saying
You
that.
are delusional.
Oh my God.
Okay,
You
very
are.
good. I'm delusional. Let me get to my point, please.
What? How are his producers letting this happen? They're the ones getting the clips ready. Play it again. Yeah, no, we got him.
Did you claim that he was a fan of mine because he fucking clout
I'll play it
chased
again. I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
I'm
play it a
just
third
running
time.
circles. I'll play the clip again.
Palestinian encampment? That's
Keep it
why?
up.
That's all it takes for you?
No, it was when he said, "You're the GOAT. You're my hero. I love
He didn't
you."
know who I was. He was just saying that so he could fucking ask for an interview
He
for his
literally
podcast,
recognized
for his
you.
POA podcast.
Okay, who cares? I don't care.
Wait,
So
now
let
You
me
brought
provide-
it up.
Do you want
It
to talk
seems
about
like-
this for 2 hours, or do you
It
want to
seems
actually
like
have a
this is
conversation?
Wait, well, hold on. You can't just say you don't care all of a sudden when you look like a fucking asshole for falsely claiming that some random person who
I'll play it
stalked
again.
you is a fan
Because
of mine. You said he was
the
a
nuke
fan
blew
of
up a
mine
second
in-
time.
I believe in your.
This
Okay,
is
I
another
lied.
self-nuke.
Yeah, I
You said he was
lied
a
about
fan
him
of
being a
mine,
fan.
And I was sending harassment your way.
I concede. Yes.
Don't you think
very
that's
good.
a big point of contention? Don't you feel like this is a big
I
point of
concede.
contention?
I concede.
Well done. Bravo. Oh,
I was an
masterful
example
gambit.
of-
Masterful gambit, sir.
I think no, you're being dishonest.
A random Sneeko fan
Play it again.
comes up
It'll
to
hit harder the
Random
third
Cloud
time.
fan comes
It's
up
actually
to
going to be
you.
really good on the fourth
Yeah,
viewing.
wants
Just
to
wait
clout
for it.
chase,
I
and
can
you
see
turn
it.
around and you say that he is a fan of mine to prove a point, to make a false
so
point
embarrassing.
that I'm to imply that I'm sending people to harass you. Do you feel
That's
like
not
that's
what I implied.
appropriate?
That's a total lie. I have never accused you of anything of the sort.
It just happened
So
live
an
on
outright
Did you
stream.
imply
horrific,
that this person that was a
bad
fan
faith
of
lie.
mine was
Yes, I
actually
did.
harassing you?
Yes. When did, now that's a big logical leap, Hasan, from he's a fan of yours to you're sending people to harass me. That's fucking insane. And by the way,
Did
I
he
mean,
not
you
harass you?
are a liar. You know that,
Did he
right?
not harass you?
God.
Bro, what are you talking
Did
about?
he not
you
harass
send
you?
him? Did you send him to harass me? No.
Did he harass you and then you imply in your video
Okay, who
that he was a
cares,
fan of
bro?
mine, leading
ahead,
the
when you're done.
audience
Go,
to
go.
believe,
I'll
leading
wait.
the audience to believe. Here, we have a clip, by the way, Dan, if you want to play this supposed fan of mine, since you guys are playing clips over there.
By the
you
way,
can
this was
probably
this
play
was
it.
a
It's
while ago. He
timestamped.
turned on you when he saw that you supports trans rights. I know. He spoke
No,
ill of you.
no.
Uh,
Even before he actually
Bro, who
meets me.
cares? I'm not even mad. I don't care about this guy.
No, well, seemingly you care enough about it that you brought
bring
him
it
up
up.
here and you used him in the past.
You don't even let me
And you played
explain
the
why I'm
clip
showing
many
in
it.
the past
times.
to act like I was sending hate your
Bro,
way.
you're terrified because you know where this is going.
I have no idea where this is going. This has been a journey.
Well, how about you let me fucking speak, and then we can figure out. We can take the journey
you play
together.
This clip, though?
So this clip is just an example. Not that you're endorsing him. Not that he's a fan.
Dan, I sent you a clip.
I passed it along. It's out of my hands.
It's the first
I'll play it, I'll play it,
introduction
I'll
of
play
this
it.
character
Yeah,
onto the stream where he's like, "Who is this guy?"
I'll play it. Yeah.
Pothead or pot man. Is that it? Hey.
I could be on. Are you guys doing interviews? I'm Palestinian. I know I look Jewish.
He doesn't.
Oh, no, we're just streaming.
Israeli. I look like Israeli.
We're just, the guy, normally the answer would be yes, but he's busy right now.
What are you guys doing?
You're not there.
We're just streaming.
Just live stream.
Oh, live streaming?
Yeah.
Dude.
You're not even in this clip, bro. What are you talking about? You're not even
wait.
present.
What?
You're out playing with swastika
Yes.
swords or something. You're not even in this clip.
Dude, why?
Whoa.
Chat. I think he's showing it on his side. You're not seeing the clip.
played it.
Yes. Yeah, he's showing
It's
the clip.
really it's
That
okay.
is that is
Can I-
the first introduction of this character onto the broadcast, and he doesn't know who the fuck I am. He just sees cameras and goes, "Oh, I would like to do interviews with this person who is famous." It seems that was the whole point. The reason why I showed you that is because he was never a fucking fan, and then when he saw the full extent of my viewpoints, he started calling me the F slur. He's a Sneeko fan.
Hasan, in that clip, he doesn't see you. You're not there.
Ethan, he is a clout chaser and not a
Fine,
fan.
bro. I don't care. Who cares?
Well,
let me
I
ask
do
you a
care
question.
because
Okay,
I
very
do
good.
care
You brought
because
it
you
up.
have made an inference.
You played the video 3 times.
Oh my
Irrelevant.
God,
Like a
dude.
gotcha, and then
You are
conceded.
dragging your
Inference
feet on
that
this
is-
topic, bro. It's getting ridiculous.
You've made
Can
an
we
inference
please move
that
on?
is ridiculous.
This clip
and
you
also
sent didn't prove me
false.
wrong at all. You're not there. And you were never there, Hasan. Okay, let's continue, please.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is an example of someone who I think is anti-Semitic. You probably agree with me on that, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. He's not
I
a
think-
fan
no,
of
no,
yours.
no, I think that
He's-
guy. That I
Yeah.
mean, from what I've seen,
Yeah.
any number of different things I've seen from that dude, I think he's like a right-wing dating coach or something.
Yeah, he is. Dating Money 101, baby.
Yeah.
Just like and sub. All right, so here he is using the ADL. He accuses me of being in the ADL, and I'll play it.
What does this have to do with Hasan, though?
I don't know, but I heard you survived it, and I heard you survived the Holocaust.
That timeline on that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I heard you're in the ADL, bro.
The ADL? No, I'm not. All right, so he says, I heard you're in the ADL, bro, which, like, obviously is, you know, I perceive that as
I don't think
anti-Semitic.
you're in the ADL, Ethan, if that's what you're going to say.
Well, you said, and I'll quote a tweet that you made.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You said, I'll quote, he worked with the ADL to make Zionists a protected class on Twitch. Now, that is an outright lie.
I don't think it's an outright lie.
I worked
took
with the
credit over it,
ADL.
didn't you?
Sorry. I worked with the ADL. What does that mean?
Yeah, as in like worked alongside. I don't think you're in the ADL.
Real? Oh, that's what you meant when you said I worked with the ADL. I worked beside them, just incidentally together. You didn't mean that I worked with them privately to get people banned. Of course not.
No, I do think that. I stand by that.
Didn't you say
I
you
think
choose
that
your
you
words
worked
very carefully?
Alongside the ADL to
You just
draw
told me
up
briefly ago,
concerns.
you choose your words very carefully, Hasan.
I don't
not
know where this
always.
reach
I'm
ends.
famously-
At a certain point, it's going to manifest, but
Sometimes I
it's
speak
still
out the side of my
reaching.
mouth when I say you work with the
9/11,
ADL. Here you are again repeating the lie with Steiny on video. Go ahead. You had time
Constantly
to.
come after me.
Another gotcha.
When his knows I'm not anti-Semitic and making these inferences that I am, and like partnering with like the ADL and
Partnering with the ADL. You want to unpack that one there, buddy?
Yeah. Again, partnering with the ADL. That is precisely what took place.
I have never spoken to the ADL, so what does that mean?
I'm not saying you directed the ADL to
You
take
know
action.
how
Well, actually,
silly
you know
you
what? I am
look.
kind of saying that. I am implying that you directed
Okay.
the ADL to take action. You are
Well,
a
that's
prominent.
that's
you are
a
prominent
defamatory
content
claim that has
creator.
zero proof.
You are
and,
a
and
prominent
frankly, it
content
sounds a
creator.
little
If
Jewish
If I thought
conspiratorial.
that you worked for the ADL, I wouldn't have said you worked
I've not
with
spoken
the
to the
ADL.
ADL.
I would have said
There-
you worked for the ADL. Now, what's interesting to me, of course, about this is
Hasan,
that you have taken
I do not
credit
work
for
with the
these
ADL.
bans.
Hasan, I do not work with the ADL.
You were a part of the mass smear campaign with
That
your
is not
YouTube
working with the
videos
ADL. Would you say that
falsely claimed?
I got nothing to
this-
do with the ADL. Blame Frogan for doing a racist fucking panel at TwitchCon that became a
That
viral
wasn't a
story
racist
independent
panel,
of me.
Ethan, just like cracker is not an anti-white term.
Okay,
except public pressure clearly works on Twitch, and they make erroneous bans when they don't want people coming after them. Twitch has
Here's
caved
Frogan
and
repeating the
capitulated
same
to
lie that
public
she heard
pressure
from you.
on numerous
Acting like you had
instances.
with the last
This
This
was
is what
one
she
of
learned
them.
from you.
Everything in your power to push people to bully and harass me, including weaponizing propaganda organizations such as the ADL to get me banned off Twitch because I made a
So
joke.
she said I weaponized the ADL. You said I partnered with the ADL. You said I worked with the
Yes.
ADL, but you didn't mean that I
Yes.
spoke to them. You just meant that we were magically skipping along and happened to just, without even seeing each other, just working together in perfect harmony and love. And by the way, I'm pretty sure you're implying that I worked directly with them on this.
No, I don't think you worked
Okay, well,
directly
you
with them.
doubled down on it. You said that you do believe that, and I just want to let you know that
No,
that
I
is
don't think
a
you directly work with them. I think your goals are aligned on this. Yes, and
But then, for Mr. Precise words, say that. Don't say you're partnered with the ADL. Do you understand? You said partnered with the ADL. Me, a Jewish man, you accuse without any evidence at all of being partnered with the ADL.
Ethan,
You're now trying to rewrite history and say, I said you were working besides
You took ownership
them.
over
You
it.
are
What
a
are you
liar.
talking about?
You are a virulent fucking liar.
Ethan, did you or did you not take ownership over the bans?
I think, yeah, I might have. Does that mean that I'm working with the ADL?
Ethan?
Hey, Hasan, can I ask you a question? Are you working with the Neo-Nazi Party of America? Because they're also anti-Zionist. No, seriously, are you working with the Neo-Nazi Group of America who's also anti-Zionist?
Ethan, have
Do you work with them? Are you affiliated with them? Are you partnered with neo-Nazis? Or do you guys happen to have the same goal and are completely related?
Here's a parallel for you. Have I taken credit for a neo-Nazi anti-Semitic incident that took place? Because if the answer is yes, if neo-Nazis actually engaged in an action, neo-Nazis actually, not like your fucking hallucinations, something that we all agree, like neo-Nazis did an anti-Semitic incident and I took credit for it and I said, this is awesome. I'm glad that it happened. I made numerous videos so that they would do this. Yes, you would be.
I was on the
valid
tier
in
list, bro.
Saying that comparison.
It was literally targeting me. I was on the tier list.
Especially
Why wouldn't I
considering-
respond?
Ethan,
I don't have to be a member of ADL to respond to someone harassing me. Are you fucking dumb?
Listen to my words.
I'm trying, but it's just
Listen to
fucking
my
lies
words.
and filth and like empty air.
From your perspective,
Explained it. Like,
my association.
Yeah, he put it so succinctly.
10-year fighter of anti-Semitism. My association from your perspective with anti-Semitism is like something that is so laughable that I don't even know how to describe.
Good.
Like you're like, oh, it's a swastika sword, but then you admit that it's not a swastika sword. That's how loose this association is.
It looks
but
like
on the other hand, I can't say that you have worked alongside the ADL.
That's not what you said.
In getting streamers.
You said I'm
banned.
partnered with.
That's
Partnered
anti-Semitic.
with. You are
credit for
lying.
it, my
You are
man.
rewriting. You are not taking accountability. You said I'm partnered with the
Ethan,
ADL.
I can't take
Do
accountability
you
for your
think,
hallucinations.
Hasan, do you think that the normal, reasonable person watching that will infer that we were just coincidentally working the same, or that I was working directly with them?
What do you think a reasonable?
But he's saying that your goals were aligned in this case, and then you took credit for what ended up happening. And Hasan is saying in the inverse, if a neo-Nazi did something and did a hate crime towards Jewish people, he would never take credit for that or be happy about that. That's the difference between these two scenarios.
After they are banned, you say, I'm glad that they got banned. I take credit for it. What would a normal, reasonable person infer from that?
I was on the tier list, dude.
What?
I was responding to them. It wasn't like it wasn't like I went out of my way to get them banned. I responded to them. I was on the tier list. But, there's been 3 instances, I think, of, in my opinion, very credible accusations of anti-Semitism. You've accused me of hallucinating all 3 now, which is very convenient.
Because they're
and
not
also,
credible. We are not in agreement. These are not credible allegations of anti-Semitism. These are hysterical hallucinations of a person who desperately wants all of his critics to be anti-Semites so he can feel comfortable.
I'm so glad this is on record.
In the unique position that he has created for himself.
I'm so glad this is on record. So
Yeah,
you think
I'm glad you, yes.
So you think that you think a reasonable person would hear you say he's partnered with the ADL?
We're back on this one.
And not.
I just also want to add that every single example that Ethan has brought up have involved other people. That's why Hasan has been struggling for so long, being like, why are we talking about a random person you say is my fan? Why are we talking about another content creator's thumbnail? Why are we talking about another thing that another person said in this clip?
Hasan, answer the question.
Matter. You took credit for the ban that the ADL pressured.
Do I ever mention the ADL in my entire fucking career?
I'm laughing in your face, idiot. And I did that shit. I'll take credit for it. I fucking did that shit.
I didn't even know what they were.
I hope she gets permanently banned.
If you have the thing, it was even. Did I ever?
It's a clip where you are saying, "I did that shit. I'll fucking take credit for it." You know who did that shit? The ADL did. You are taking credit for something that the ADL did. I'm not even making that inference. You're saying,
well, they attacked
which
me.
one do you think? What
Well,
do you
that's okay.
think the average person would
Oh,
think
you
in
sound
this
so
situation
silly, bro.
when you are saying that you did that shit and it's the ADL's pressure that caused these people to be banned for such a ridiculous,
Bro, I was being silly. I don't
stupid,
care.
not
Listen,
Oh, that was a
anti-Semitic
joke.
thing at
Okay,
all.
I understand.
I was being silly. They attacked me. I
Okay.
responded.
Oh, you're being
who?
silly.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Well, all
That's
right. I guess
neat.
we can
You
move
can just
on.
do that
then.
whenever
Do
you
I
want,
think
guess.
I got them banned? I don't know. Who knows? You know.
Yeah,
I
you
think
got a Jewish content creator alongside multiple Arab content creators banned off the platform for 30 days because you
There's a
cried
reason
about
they
it,
call
and
him
then the ADL
token, my
actually
friend.
reacted
You
because
spend
they saw it
time
as a
being a
great
token, you're gonna
opportunity.
get spent.
But it was just silly. You know, fuck them, right?
You want to
Silly.
cash in on your Jewish friends anymore? Or can we move on?
Am I what?
Would you like to cash in on your Jewish friends more, or can we move on?
Cash in on my Jewish friends.
That's right. Do you know any Jewish people that aren't anti-Zionists?
Yes.
Who?
I'm not going to reveal. I don't want to. They're normies. I don't want to dox
Okay.
them.
Yeah, you're lying.
No, I'm not.
You're surrounded.
I'm not lying.
Yes, you are. You're absolutely lying.
Dog, I live in West Hollywood. You think I'm not around Zionist Jews? What are you talking about?
Yeah, do you pass Jews on the street? Yes. Are you friends with?
No, I'm friends. Yes,
Okay,
I am.
Very good.
And
don't
So
they
believe you.
treated me with much more dignity than you have, as a matter of fact.
Well, yeah, because
Surprisingly
they're
enough.
not
We
on
can
the
have a more
receiving end of
normal
an insane
conversation.
fucking
I can have a more
harassment
normal
campaign.
conversation with
Why
them
would they? Why
than
wouldn't
you,
they?
seemingly.
All right, so you
They would
think
most
that's-
likely laugh at
Just to
all of
recap.
this
Just
if
to
they're watching.
recap here, but so we can move on. I mean, did the random Zionist Jews that are treated you so kindly, did they have CPS show up to their house or skulls sent to their house?
Ethan, I didn't do that.
Ethan.
I didn't say you did that.
I don't know why you're bringing that up.
I know you
that has
don't, but
nothing
you're
to do with
acting
me.
up.
That's
I'm
been
not.
this
Part of
entire
your stick,
conversation.
Hassan, is acting obtuse when you're caught in a corner.
All right. You,
I didn't do that. I don't know why you're
dominated the
bringing
conversation
that
so
up.
far. I think we should get back to some stuff
That's been the
I
entire
agree.
conversation.
Let's just
2
summarize.
hours.
No. Look, can we just get back to Israel?
This is
Palestine,
quick.
please?
It's
'Cause,
very quick.
You see as a genocide.
I just want to put a cap on this. Just a cap.
You're
making
doing
these
the thing that I'm
inferences
so
I am,
critical of
and,
you
like,
on. Okay.
Partnering with like the ADL and
You says so. Just to put a cap on this, and we'll move on. You said I am quote partnered with the ADL, which you now claim was just a. You didn't mean that I was working with them. You mean that we had the same goal. Okay, very good. We'll see how that plays. Go ahead. What's your question?
Okay. It's
You okay?
interesting because you're currently doing the thing that I'm criticizing you on, where you are looking at a situation that you recognize is a genocide, and your only consideration and your only concern
It's not my only
revolves
concern. I care
around-
about multiple things, my
revolves.
friend.
Yes, you can, but these are really stupid things to care about, Ethan.
I mean, that's
And
easy for you to say. You're the one being accused of it. Let's just let's
no
ask
one-
the
no-
accused how serious their crime is. Fucking brilliant. O.J. Simpson, do you think that this is a serious
Do you
court
think
case?
that
No,
the
I don't.
Sabra hummus
Well,
is
fucking
shit
there it
tier?
is. Let's
You
let
think
him
that
free.
The Sabra hummus is shit tier is akin to O.J. Simpson killing someone.
No, obviously not. You're
Then
being
why are
obtuse
you
again.
bringing up stupid fucking
Because
parallels?
you are saying that the accused, right, can dictate how serious the accusations are.
Okay. All right, Ethan.
I
you have in the
partnered with the
past-
ADL.
You
Remember
have in
what
the
you
past
said.
talked about your pro-Palestinian bona fides. You have talked
What
about
do you
how
mean
you
bona
gave
fides?
my fundraiser
Bona
what?
fides.
Sorry, what do you mean by bona fides?
Credentials.
Like you've claimed that you are a stalwart ally of the Palestinian cause.
Correct.
You tried to also say this to Sam Cedar as well. You brought
Mm-hmm.
forward the fact that you had given $6,500 in your context puke that
Mm-hmm.
you did as a further indication that you are pro-Palestinian. Even though you then turned around and actually criticized additional fundraisers that had taken place, like the Creators for Palestine charity that generated $1.3 million, including the fundraiser that you initially had given $6,500 to as a reason for why you were such a staunch ally. Why did you turn around and say that pro-Palestinian fundraisers are actually completely irrelevant in the grand scheme of things and completely useless? Do you think that pro-Palestinian charities are simply there to make yourself feel like you're pro-Palestine? Do you feel like $6,500 was enough for you to
I'll
spend
answer.
the rest of the year actively deplatforming pro-Palestinian content
People
creators?
harassing me?
What?
I'll answer your question.
All right.
So I claimed when talking about, now, by the way, this is something I criticize you for, which is, being obtuse, mischaracterizing arguments, and basically just being a prolific liar. So here's what the conversation was about, right? I was talking about how when you're talking about activism, raising money isn't the most important thing because it can only do so much. There's other ways to do effective activism, like protesting, et cetera, working with Palestinian organizations. So I'm just saying, my point was not
you
that.
wanted me to be
Hold the
deplatformed as a
phone. Let me
virulent
finish.
anti-Semite, and I've done all of those things.
My point was that not that raising money is bad or dumb or pointless, as you erroneously claim I said. My point was that it's not the most effective thing in the world, and there's other things. It's probably like the least effective form of advocacy you can do. That was my opinion.
I don't think that's the case, and I don't think that the Palestinians that received
What's
those.
not the case? What I said or what I claim?
No, your claim is wrong in terms of the fundraisers not being important.
That's fine.
So we've established that you claim to be pro-Palestine, and yet you've spent all of the genocide coverage criticizing people,
attacking people that harass me,
fundraising, creating, working with Palestinian organizations.
I never said it's not important.
Interviewing Palestinians from Gaza.
Hassan, being an advocate for Palestine does not absolve you of criticism. Stop with the silliness.
Anti-Semitic. No, this does not. Because your criticisms are ridiculous. My point I'm trying to make
here that's kind of up to other people to decide.
Your criticisms are in your own mind. Like you have hallucinated an alternative reality.
By the way, gaslighting, anti-Semitic trope. This is what dog whistles are. You whistle to other people, and it's subtle enough
Ethan,
that you have plausible deniability, so that when you get accused of being anti-Semitic, you can call the accuser crazy, which is exactly what you're doing. You're a fucking anti-Semite, and you've been caught out 3 different times, calling me crazy for very viable, very credible examples of anti-Semitism that you should at least be able to admit are at least not insane.
That other people
maybe a
did.
misunderstanding, but not
Just
insane.
to be clear,
no,
all the examples are other
they're
people.
all hallucinations. So go ahead and tell me why you're not dog whistle.
Because people having an issue with your statements and with your coverage on, as a prominent content creator with a relatively progressive audience, your coverage has entirely focused on your own personal feelings and a lot of misplaced paranoia from people who are criticizing you.
There you go, dog whistle.
You literally think that people
Can we get a whistle soundbite every time he calls me paranoid or hallucinating?
That's not the case. I used to like you. I don't know anymore. And I don't think it's because of anti-Semitism.
Well, I know. I definitely don't like you.
After doing a podcast
let me
for 2
stand on
years.
business and say I think you're a terrible person and a liar, and I don't like you at all.
This is what he wanted to do the whole time. Now you have the debate you wanted. There you go.
I wish you well, and I really do hope.
I wish everybody well. Everybody, be well.
No, not it.
All right, let's move on. You got it. You want any more? Call me crazy or hallucinating again? Is that all you got?
Need to do that. I think you're doing that all on your own.
We'll see.
To be fair.
Yeah, we'll see. So do you want to tell me what is your evidence that I work with or talk to or have any association with at all with Destiny?
What? Destiny?
What? What? The guy that I talked about fucking obsessively 100 times a day that is like basically like the Antichrist, the Lord Voldemort in my community? Yeah, you accuse me of working with him, knowing him, talking to him. What is your evidence for that?
Thank you for asking. Not only is there video footage of you corresponding with someone in your Discord that literally aligns perfectly with Destiny's own Discord, offering clips for you to pull.
That sounds like a stretch.
You've also used clips that are unlisted called hummus abi when making arguments about my virulent anti-Semitism from a link that came from a Destiny fan account.
So that's your proof that I work with
examples. He's like, hey, I don't care who gives a fuck.
Your constant coordination with Destiny's podcast co-host Dan Saltman, who you featured on your Context Nuke. So yeah, I don't think it's that ridiculous of a fucking assertion to make, especially when considering the fact that you have been corresponding with Dan Saltman, and you did, and he is Destiny's podcast co-host. And the what does he call himself? The general of the Hezbollah, I think that's what they call themselves. The Taliban and the Hezbollah, their mass harassment operation that they engage in. So yeah, I think that is not a ridiculous fucking claim to make at all.
It's actually insane, and it's a really convenient way of discrediting me when I've never spoken to, worked with, talked about Destiny in my life.
I don't need to bring that up.
It's a really nice way of you. You know what? I think you're hallucinating, buddy.
Okay.
I think you are Oh, you pulled a meme from his subreddit once.
How could this ever be a conversation when one side is like, give me a single example of me doing this thing. Here is multiple examples of you doing the thing. Oh, okay. Well, if you're not going to come up with a single example, what are we doing here?
Ethan, I didn't say
Hasan,
that.
Are you crashing out? Do you have friends who are aware of the condition and can help you get the help you need?
This is all projection
okay, Ethan,
now.
You're delusional.
You featured Destiny's podcast co-host.
I said he discovered the IP ban. Is that not true? I said Dan Saltman discovered the IP ban. That's all I said. I didn't endorse. I didn't. All I said is he discovered the IP ban. Is that true? Is that materially true?
I don't think so.
It is.
I think someone in Destiny's community did, but it's fine. Yeah, you brought that up.
So how is that an endorsement?
Ethan,
you're using him as a research source.
Are you claiming that you don't have
Is this what you do whenever you're trying to avoid Ethan? Hasan, are you hallucinating?
Ethan,
Hasan,
do you not correspond with Destiny's podcast co-host Dan Saltman?
I've talked to Dan Saltman, but also I don't think that that's Destiny, is it?
Yeah, no, that's just his
But you were asking for examples,
and is perfectly aligned with him and uses his community to brigade. And also has literally
this is the weirdest high school
blackmail
debate
people
on
in
such a massive
Destiny's
scale.
I don't really fucking care because that's not Destiny, is it?
Sex crimes that he did.
Man,
do you feel
you
like
are
that's
really
a good person to align with? That you
I'm
now
not endorsing
openly
him. I'm not endorsing him at all. I just said I've spoken to him.
No, yeah, you're not endorsing him. You're just getting information
Have
from
you
him
ever
to
spoken
use.
to somebody you don't endorse? I mean, what kind of silly bullshit are we doing?
Yeah, this
here?
is what we get instead of GTA 6.
There you go. Oh my God.
True.
I'm speaking to one right
We're
now.
supposed to have
You
GTA
talked to
6
Dan
today.
Saltman, you're fucking outed as a Destiny's best friend.
Again, that was
you're
your
the one
question,
who admitted
Ethan.
that just now.
You asked.
I said I've spoken with Dan
examples.
Saltman, not that I'm a Destiny collaborator,
God.
which is what you claim, which is an outright, pathetic, provably wrong lie. And this is part of your disinformation campaign to delegitimize my points without ever having to address them. And isn't that convenient? You never have to address anything I say because you can just say, Ethan's friends with Destiny. Ethan's hallucinating.
Ethan, I don't think
Hasan.
I didn't bring up Destiny. You did. And also.
Because you lied about me for 2 years working with them.
2 years.
That's right. Hasan, listen.
Ethan, this is kind of embarrassing.
A year and a half.
But I defended you both to my community and in general because I thought that you were a lot more open-minded until pretty much.
What have we disagreed on?
The December of
What have we
2024.
disagreed on? I'm sorry. What am I not open-minded about? What have we disagreed on, Hasan, other than me criticizing you and your friends? What have I said against the Palestinian people? Go ahead.
What we are disagreeing on is what you choose to focus on and
that
what
seem
you
significant?
think is the major point of contention here.
Well, that's first of all, I'm what I choose to focus on is certainly something you can critique.
A little frivolous.
But does that justify like lying about me continually for a year and a half just because you don't like where I'm focused? That seems immaterial.
Lying about what?
About me being a Destiny fan, about hallucinating, sweeping for your anti-Semitic friends, lying about context, saying that my video's out of context without watching it. Hasan, take your time.
Do you feel like your video wasn't out of context? Wasn't a clip
Absolutely
compilation of a 2-hour sequence of out of context clips?
You want to do this? What's out of context?
Okay.
Name one thing. Go ahead, read the chat. Someone will send you on Discord.
No. I have it readily available.
Well, I'll wait.
One of the major points that you made that I've seen through other people's coverage of it so far is that I deny rapes happening on October 7. Okay? That I deny rapes happening on October 7. There's a clip of you when you first encounter that statement where you are actually understanding of my position until your wife stops you and says that's inappropriate. You literally say, oh, he's saying the likelihood of rapes happening does not justify genocide, which you agree a genocide is happening. Ever since then, though, months later, you still chose to use that.
Her name is Hila, by the way, Hasan. I don't know why you referred to her as my wife. I find that a little chauvinistic, frankly. You know who she is. You know her well. You've begged for Teddy Fresh from her many times. So, like, yeah, you know who she is. You've written her emails asking for clothing. Her name is Hila.
Give me specifics. Here's a specific. All right, now I want to talk about how you're referring to my wife.
Who goes, oh, your wife? Like, she's not. She has no. She's just like, oh.
I wasn't. Can you respond?
They're never going to be able
what
to
I was saying?
Yes, absolutely. With great pleasure, I will respond.
Why is it that you
because
initially
Hasan,
understood the full
that was
context
one
until Hila stopped you and said,
very good.
No.
He said it. I'll answer. Would you like me to answer? That's one example of many. Seeing your response in the totality of all the responses shows that you do deny the rapes that happened on October 7th.
In the totality of all my responses.
In fact, you had promised me,
but we just clipped out of context.
I knew you would never lie to me, that you would watch the context puke with me. So why don't we pull up that bit there and we can see how out of context it is.
Boom, do it.
Great. Someone pulling that, Dan? How you doing? I'm waiting for the link. You good?
Am I? Oh yeah, I'm great. I don't think this is going the way you perceived it to be going, but
sure. I mean, you're reading your chat. Do you think that's the most accurate way to...
I was thinking about being a lot more stern initially, but this has turned into the last conversation that we had where I am trying to gently nudge you in the direction of sanity. And
Ethan, I want you to really understand. You're crazy. You're crashing out. You're hallucinating, my friend. Come sit over here. You know what I mean? Don't ignore the swastika. Ignore the accusations of working with the ADL with no credibility. Ignore the tier list with fucking Ben Shapiro and Ethan. Come sit here. You're hallucinating. Oh, thank you so much for, you know what? Thank you, Hasan. That's so kind of you. How fucking genuine of you to take off the baby gloves. You fucking liar.
I mean, this is the baby
You are
gloves.
a prolific liar, bro. Where's the link? just control F for
the reason. For the record, the reason why I don't like to bring Hila into the conversation is because I'm addressing my concerns with you, and I don't think that it's appropriate for me to, extend the lens of criticism to other people.
That's a little silly considering you're like, well, actually, it was Hila who influenced your opinion, the evil IDF lady.
Okay,
anyway.
While we're waiting for the clip.
No, I got it.
Well, okay.
The violent rapes that took place, that is way beyond the pale.
I'll grab another soda, but I'm hearing you. There is one instance in captivity.
Uh-oh, chair react.
That we have.
I'm not going to let you chair react to me, buddy. You grab that Dr.
Listening.
Pepper. I'll wait.
No, I said I'm listening to you. Don't worry. I was just grabbing another soda. Go ahead.
On the pale.
Is that a? There is one instance. Did you put a Hamas captivity headband on me?
I sure did.
There is one instance in captivity that we have actually gotten verifiable evidence on. Beyond that, the systematized mass rapes that Hamas dealt on October 7, not a single bit of that has been verified. And people still run with it over and over and over again.
Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped.
I can't see myself, by the way, if you're showing my reaction.
Oh, you're giggling. You're giggling. It's so funny.
No, I'm not giggling. I'm
You sure are.
Bro, what rapes did Hamas do? What are you talking about?
What rapes did Hamas
Stop
do?
Anti-Semitism account that considered me to be anti-Semite of the week has also been hallucinating rapes once again, doing rape fantasies once again because they're fucking mentally ill.
Hamas has committed.
That's something you go to a lot. You notice that?
What?
Call people mentally ill. find that odd. Probably should revise that. I don't know if that's kosher for leftist values.
Horrific
I'm not exactly I'm not exactly doing a lot of stuff that's kosher for leftist values in general.
Oh, okay, so you have no problem weaponizing mental health.
Yeah, when someone is hallucinating, I think it's appropriate to say that. Yeah.
By your authority, I will decide who's hallucinating. Hasan.
We're never going to talk about the actual
acts of sexual violence
clip
and
Hassan, I am so sorry.
they're
You
talking
promised that
about.
we would watch this. I pulled it up. Now sit silently and enjoy.
But I got the point. You're
Hamas
saying that like
committed
you're
horrific
showing
acts
clips
of
of me.
sexual
You're showing
violence
clips of me saying
and
that
took
someone
women
is.
and girls,
Wait,
men
what?
and boys.
And then
slaughtered
juxtaposing it with
after enduring
U.S.
sexual
state
violence.
officials.
The deadliest day for the Jewish people.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much. So that's the other part of this problem that many people that can't contend with. Like,
I can't believe how quickly leftists go from believe all women to pics or it didn't happen. There you go, Hassan. What do you
Picture
got?
didn't happen. Great commentary, by the way. Okay, so
I mean, it's pretty apt.
okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You did actually. I'm surprised. You did actually show the my findings on the UN committee report that came out. That was
The one that you misrepresent continually.
I did not
that you fucking
misrepresent the UN
continually lie
preliminary
about the
report.
conclusion.
Wait, what did I misrepresent about the UN
Go
preliminary
ahead. You
report?
tell me what it said.
The UN preliminary report was not an investigative report. Like, for example, the investigative report that came out about Israel's systematized sexual assaults that was 49 pages long.
Horrible. What a horrible thing that was.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Unironically.
Absolutely.
Just unacceptable.
The level of evidence in a preliminary report is only enough to actually create an actual investigation. The problem is Israel has denied an actual investigation to take place. Israel has told the United Nations that they are not allowed to do an actual investigation and to simply listen to what they have to say. Now, not only is Israel...
There are literally women who have said,
do you feel
I
like
was
the Israeli
raped.
government lies?
It's not what Hassan just said.
I mean,
He's
all
saying
governments
he
lie.
wants
I'm
the
not gonna-
investigation to
I
take
agree.
place.
But
There's
certainly
women
lies a
that
lot,
come out
right?
and said, I was raped.
What?
There are women on the record, on video, saying I was raped.
Like you're saying, wait, you're saying there are multiple women that are on the record saying I was raped. There is, as far as I understand, one instance in captivity. It is not
as far as you understand,
systematized
because you don't
mass
give a
rape
fuck about the
directed by Hamas.
the reality of it.
What?
Well, of course, that's as far as you can conclude, because you don't give a fuck about the truth.
Wait,
you just want to do propaganda, remember?
Ethan.
Hassan, please, calm down. You're getting worked up.
I don't know why you're behaving in such a childish manner when we are actually talking about finally some serious stuff. Okay?
Well,
Okay. In terms of the UN preliminary report and the findings, okay, there is a clear-cut lack of evidence for any forensic examination to take place due to the incompetence of the Israeli government and specifically the organization Zakah that spent most of its time in the immediate aftermath of October 7 taking bodies out of body bags and putting them into Zakah branded body bags. This was reported by Haaretz as well. They polluted the evidence pool. Okay? That's number one. Number two, numerous people that came out and offered eyewitness testimony have since then been discredited, also according to Haaretz reporting.
Which article?
I can't pull
What's
it up right
the
now.
Haaretz article that accuses victims of sexual assault of lying about it? Go ahead and link me that one. And by the way, while you look for
not
that,
victims of sexual assault, Ethan. I'm using my words very carefully.
Right.
Not victims of sexual assault.
I remember you do that.
Not victims of sexual assault. Eyewitness testimony initially provided that led people to believe that there were sexual assaults that were taking place were then discredited.
Show me the source. By the way, Hassan, while you look for that, I'm assuming that you're quoting the UN Representative Secretary General on Sexual Violence and Conflicts report, right? This is one everyone refers to. Now, are you aware how these kind of papers work? They do a very precise conclusion at the end that summarizes the main thesis and points driven home in the article. That's what the conclusion is. Let me read it for you. Overall, based on the totality of information gathered from multiple and independent sources at different locations, there are reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence occurred at several locations across the Gaza periphery, including in the form of rape, gang rape, during the October 7th, 2023 attack. Credible, circumstantial information which may be indicative of some forms of sexual violence, including genital mutilation, sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment was also gathered.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'm gonna walk you through this real
Are
quick.
they hallucinating?
No. So do you? No, you just don't know what words mean. So credible circumstantial evidence. Do you know what that means?
It means that there's, yeah, of course.
Credible circumstantial evidence is not a substitute for forensic evidence. Credible circumstantial
That's why I said
evidence
Pixar
is
didn't
not
happen, bro.
enough to
You need rape
prosecute.
kits.
Credible
Hasan needs rape
circumstantial
kits.
evidence is not enough to
Pixar didn't happen, right?
prosecute rape, which is precisely the reason why the Israeli prosecutors themselves have said that in the absence of a singular victim coming out, and also with all of the forensic evidence that has been tarnished already.
Show me evidence for anything you're saying.
What?
It's not. It's show me evidence for anything you're claiming that
reading
isn't some
you the words
unhinged
that you put
freak
on.
on Twitter.
This is
Believe
not an
all women,
unhinged freak
hey?
on Twitter. This is,
Hey, are we
again,
believing
there's
all
also
women
an article
unless
that
they're
you can-
Israeli? Right after October 7th, Hamas attack.
Trying to explain what the conclusion said, and also that same report didn't say that there wasn't any evidence of systemic rape being done on the behalf of Hamas, and it was a planned, coordinated attack to do rapes. Like, that's the other part of this that I'm sure they're eventually going to get to.
For proper burial according to Jewish law.
And by the way,
I think-
Hasan's stance is the same that I think that a lot of the leftists and people who are basically advocating for. There should be an investigation. This is like not Pixar didn't happen. This is, yes, let people investigate the potential systemic rapes that took place that day, and don't let the Israeli government prevent other outside investigations from taking place. That's it.
Was discredited. Okay.
But so even if one account was discredited, there's many.
No, it's not one account, it's two accounts, but the rest of the...
There's way more than two accounts.
Can you...
Hey, Hasan, you know what you're doing? You're like, this girl lied about being raped, therefore all these women need to be questioned. That's actually what you're doing. You're saying Pixar didn't happen.
Ethan,
I don't believe women if they're Israeli.
Can you point me to actual, like, to victims that came out?
Yes.
Because as far as I understand... Israeli police have asked victims and witnesses to testify about Hamas and sexual violence in the aftermath of October 7. And it seems like their investigations were inconclusive because by the admission of the Israeli prosecution,
show me evidence of anything you're saying.
They openly said that there were no victims that came out.
Yeah, let me guess. You read it on Haaretz.
You don't, wait. Do you think that Haaretz is not a credible institution of journalism at this point?
No, but you guys lean on that. You just lie about what it says.
What do you mean, you guys?
Sound
Who
credible.
is you guys?
You and all of your fucking dumbass cohorts that do the same typical, like, rhetorical tools to just say whatever the fuck you want without ever having to back it up or knowing what you're talking about in the least bit.
I think it's just because what they
show me
report
the
on is
evidence.
inconvenient.
I sent the debunked narratives, and also...
Ethan has been calling them names this whole time, by the way. Just for the record, Hasan hasn't called them a single thing.
15 months after the events of October 7, 2023, Israel has still not identified any victims in which a case can be brought against an alleged perpetrator of a sexual attack.
They're all
dead. The admission is in line with the complete lack of any credible evidence regarding incidents of sexual violence, which is particularly notable when these claimed... I don't know what this is. I don't know what this foundation is, but there is news reporting on this. I don't know why someone sent me this link.
They're all dead, bro.
What?
Do you think what is your point? What you said doesn't change anything. You're talking about
Ethan,
do
where
you
are
think
the
that
victims?
they raped people and then didn't kill
You said
them?
that there are victims. Can you give me the names of the victims?
Yes,
First of all, I am not in the business of denying rape.
You are.
If they're
Israeli.
If there are victims that have come forward in this process,
I will play it for you.
As I've said, there was an instance of sexual assault that took place in captivity, and it was not the systematized rape that was directed by Hamas, as the New York Times' erroneous reporting that did not meet its own standard, its own editorial standard, as a matter of fact, written by a person who literally was taken off the editorial board, taken off the actual paper for some of her insane tweets about Gaza. None of these, like, there's a lot of stories surrounding this, but I'm not in the business of fucking denying rape. So if you have credible evidence, please present it, and I will admit that I'm wrong. Give me the names.
Yeah. There's a video. Hold on.
Is the video from Screams Without Violence? Is that where you're gonna? Is that where you're gonna present?
No, it's not from that. There's one recently of a woman testifying, I think it was either in the UN or to Congress. She's sitting on a bench, she's talking to a mic, and she's speaking in English. Yeah, we'll get there. But like, yeah, I mean, what's your problem with Sheryl Sandberg's documentary?
Sheryl Sandberg has also been accused of sexual harassment herself, but outside of that,
What the
you
fuck
told
does that
me
have to do with what's written in her documentary?
Her documentary is basically the unsubstantiated claims that some of which were directly found to be incorrect. But not only is it unsubstantiated claims, it's just a recycling of the same screams without violence, the screams without words article that the New York Times wrote that didn't even meet its own editorial standard. Okay, we're having this conversation. You seemingly act like you care about sexual violence taking place against Israelis. Meanwhile, one of the hostages that actually was returned in the early stages did get raped by an Israeli fitness instructor. I have not seen you talk about that. I have not seen you talk about the Israeli pro-rape riots that took place.
A crime that Israeli did unrelated to the conflict.
Israel had
a January 6th.
Israel had a January 6th style pro-rape riot where a bunch of rabid right-wing
Do you think I'm defending this? I'm not defending this.
The prosecutor's office and forcibly, with guns, took out 6 concentration camp prison guards from the Sde Taman facility that had actually raped numerous Palestinians on camera, on CCTV
Are you done
footage,
grandstanding? Here's a victim
that they raped to death.
Are you done? Here's a victim you asked for. Here we go. This is from...
Those riots were taking place for the right to be able to sexually assault prisoners.
Oh, where's the audio?
Like, that was an actual thing that happened on a very large scale.
Unable to move and had to ask for permission to use the bathroom. In that house, I was sexually assaulted by the Hamas terrorist who had guarded me. He forced me to go to the shower and entered the room, pointed his gun at me. He was breathing heavily and had a monstrous beast-like face. He meticulously planned his assault, scheming and waiting for the moment to have his way. He kept asking me private sexual questions while sitting next to me in his underwear, lifting my shirt, touching me, and constantly asking me when my period would be over.
Sorry, just to butt in here. Is she lying yet or no? Is she lying or hallucinating?
Ethan, have I ever said that rapes did not take place, at least according to one credible personal testimony in captivity, not on October 7, but in captivity?
Kind of, yeah. Yes.
Over.
You're doing it right now.
What do you mean, kind of?
I knew exactly what he was planning to do.
You literally featured...
And yet I couldn't do anything.
Wait, pause it for a second.
No, listen to what she has to say, Hassan.
Ethan, I don't disagree
Hassan,
with
don't
this.
silence her. Let her fucking talk.
God.
No, because you're acting like this never happened,
You're
that it's exaggerated,
mentioning
that everybody's lying, that Israelis are just
played.
inherently evil monsters that are responsible for everything bad that's ever happened. Listen to her.
Ethan,
Cry,
you
or to be
know.
sad.
Listen to her words.
Ethan,
I had no one to comfort me and was forced to act
listen
nice
to my
the person who had
words.
just
Listen to
sexually
this
is the lowest
victim.
point
Show
of
her
the
some
whole thing.
respect, Hassan.
horrifying way.
Oh, it's so gross the way you're
Not a day
doing
goes
this.
by that I don't think about
it's
what
gross.
that terrible
It
man
is.
did to me.
You're
were held in
definitely
such
a
Show
monster,
respect, bro.
brother. That is fucking
No
gross.
person should ever be
Dan,
subjected
pull the
to
fucking
such
plug
brutal
on this.
and
Holy shit.
treatment. Now,
You really have no problem speaking over a rape victim when they're Israeli.
Dude, you don't give a fuck about rape. Look, what are you doing? Look at what you're doing. I never said that no one ever got sexually assaulted in captivity.
First
in the hands
male
of a
rape
Hamas
survivor of
militant.
Hamas on
I
October
literally said
7th.
in the video,
A man who was
that
stripped
you
naked and
showed
raped by
from your
Hamas on October
context
7th
nuke, in
has
the video
revealed for
that
the
you
first time how he
from
was
your
spat on and
context nuke.
humiliated as his murderous rapist laughed. The victim, only identified as Initial D, is the first man to speak about the sexual assault he and others experienced when Hamas elite the Nakba unit massacred, kidnapped, and raped innocent people enjoying the Supernova music festival. They pin you down to the ground. You try to resist. They take off your clothes, laugh at you, humiliate you, spit on you. Said the victim who's hold on.
Listen to me. Listen to my words very
They touch
carefully.
my private
because
parts, they rape
You're
you.
not going through this in a dignified way, and I think it's very gross. What you're doing here is simply weaponizing
Yes.
a
Thank you
victim
for saying it.
as a fucking prop. A victim that I also acknowledged, okay?
Silence.
And you know I acknowledged
new
it
footage,
because you
a gun-
posted it in your video that you just
Here it is.
showed me.
Here's the clip.
Reveals that sexual assault and rape was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
Hasan, maybe you would like to call her a liar. Please,
You're
go
doing
right
it
ahead.
again
Doesn't
in the
matter if
video.
fucking
Yeah.
rapes
Listen.
happen on October 7th.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses.
He's not denying first off that this may have happened post October 7th or that it happened at all. Both of that is completely disingenuous. And then to pull up these clips and then say, hey, here's the clip of you saying it doesn't matter to you. Why he's saying that within context is that of the occupation, of my opposition to genocide. If you're asking about my opposition to, say, apartheid, ethnic cleansing, all that doesn't change based on how badly the occupied are acting. Where I'm setting my morality at, are the people who are occupied being forcibly starved, are they acting in ways that are bad? Yes. Yeah, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about why the occupation should end, specifically.
Same UN report and said that there was valid, credible firsthand testimony on sexual assault that took
I
place
wish
in
you had the
captivity.
energy
That was
you
not on
have
October 7th.
for the Israelis raping people. As I wish you had the same energy for the fucking Palestinian terrorists raping people. I wish you had the same
I can't
energy.
invent rapes. You have not given me any names. What are you talking
I'm
about?
showing you people and names. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What's with
So
my
vile
people and
to
names?
deny the
I don't
suffering and
understand.
trauma of the victim.
If there are victims,
because
you
you
said
need your
believe
All right, you know
women.
what? This is not going anywhere. Let's just move on. Yeah.
What do you
let's
mean?
just-
You can't just let's just
I
move
mean, I gave
on
you
from
two.
this. This is
Yeah.
a major
And
point of
extremely
contention.
fucked up.
You have falsely
It's just
smeared me
exhausted.
as a rape denier when you yourself, the one evidence, the one
deny mass rapes
instance,
happened, and you're doing it right now.
instance of sexual violence in
I showed
captivity
two. I just
that
showed you
we know
two.
of up until this point.
Just showed you two.
And I both agree on. You know that
showed
I
you
agree
two.
with that. You know that I've talked about it. You know that I've
No,
acknowledged
you deny
it,
mass
and
rapes
yet-
happened, not that rapes happened.
What?
You deny that mass rapes happened, not that
Systemic,
rapes happened. Listen to my
planned.
words.
Yes, I do. I do deny
Okay,
it.
good. Well, there you
Because
go.
There is no evidence. And for the
I
record,
just showed you two.
The clips that you used, ironically enough, the
Actually,
reason
I
why
showed
say
you
it's out of
three.
context is because at that point, I personally took a position where I said very carefully and very deliberately that mass rapes that are directed by Hamas did not happen. There was no evidence for this whatsoever. Okay.
4 survivors told authorities they were sexually assaulted on October 7th. Report. First-hand account of such crimes have been rare,
And
as
not
most
only-
victims were killed. Hasan.
Do you
Report
feel-
follows
wait,
earlier
wait,
testimony
okay.
from a man who said he was raped by terrorists at the Nova Festival. 4 people have told authorities that they were sexually assaulted by terrorists on October 7th. Channel 12 reports. On Thursday, adding to a growing body of evidence of the systemic sexual assault committed by Hamas. Unlike most of the previous evidence of sexual assault on October 7th, which was largely based on eyewitness testimony, the Channel 12 report is
Weaponizing
notable
rape
because it is
and
based on
rape
first-hand
victims to
accounts of
try and
victims.
win
Yawn all you want.
your own
First-hand
internet
testimony
is
of such crimes
fucked.
has been rare because the victims have been killed. Killed, dipshit.
Ethan, do you
they
think when
fucking kill
someone-
them?
do you
According to the
think-
report, 4 individuals
Do you think
approached the
when someone
welfare
is murdered
minister with
that
their
there's
account.
no
Sorry,
way to
Hasan.
actually examine?
Sorry,
Do you
talk
think that
about
when-
being gross.
Do you think
Listen
that
to
when
these
someone
victims.
is murdered, there's no way to do forensics evidence to actually
Bro,
conclude?
you know the fucking
to
answer
actually
to that.
conclude that that
Because
person was
they, you
sexually
know that
assaulted.
Jews, you know that the religious organization that is first responders that you cited has a policy of burying the bodies to avoid disgracing
Ethan,
them.
you
That's
just said
what happened.
dozens of victims came out in that article.
I'm
and I don't know
reading
where
you.
that
What are
article
you
is from.
doing, bro?
If you said
I'm
dozens of
showing you
victims
the
came
evidence
out
that
in
you're wrong
article.
right now. According to the report, 4 individuals approached the welfare ministry with their accounts of what happened to them during the Hamas onslaught, which saw blah, 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 12, sorry, not blah, 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 but 1,200 people killed and 250 kidnapped. The report followed a separate Channel 12 story on Wednesday that provided firsthand testimony from a man who said he was raped by terrorists at the Supernova, where hundreds of people were killed. Are these all lying? There are 5 people here. There's 3 that approached the ministry and 1 man who said he was raped. Are these all liars?
I don't know. I don't think they are. I have no reason
Okay,
to
so
believe
then
that
what
they
the
are.
fuck
But
is your
from
point?
everything that I have seen, from everything that I've read on this, and I have read extensively on this, as far as forensic examination has been concluded, there is no evidence, no hard evidence of sexual assault. And I will give you a clip
just
from
read
a
four
Haaretz article
This is
that
so
was posted
exhausting,
by
bro.
Lisa
Uh-oh, here comes the Haaretz article.
Wait, why
I
are
just
you
read you
discounting?
firsthand
I'm
testimony
using-
of 4 people. What are you doing? You're saying that you're not believing the victims.
Ethan, it's
You're
not that I'm
asking
not
for pics or it didn't
it's
happen.
not that I'm not believing the victims.
Where are they?
I'm
You said,
saying
where's
that
their bodies?
since
Pics or it
what you
didn't
have
happen?
mentioned,
What are you
since
talking about?
The thing that
You're
you
saying
mentioned,
pics or it didn't
okay,
happen,
since
right?
the article that you mentioned came out, there have been further prosecutions on this. Why have they not led to any real prosecution?
They're dead.
No, that's
They're
not
fucking dead, you moron. What do you
first-hand
mean?
testimony in this regard.
They killed all the fucking Hamas operatives in Israel.
I killed them?
What?
Why are you saying you
Are you
killed
okay?
them?
I said they. Why the fuck would I say you killed them? That's insanely stupid. Are you okay? Hallucinating. Are you crashing out?
Maybe,
Go ahead.
maybe I misheard you. I'm pretty sure you said you killed them.
Sometimes when you're under stress, you can mishear things, but that's okay.
I might be my mistake. I have you on much lower volume because my volume is very low.
Okay, fair enough.
That's part of the reason why.
It's a
That's part of
misunderstanding.
the reason why I do ask over and over again what you're saying.
That's fine. I understand. I want people to hear what we're saying, so that's totally
If
fair.
you're saying,
are you done, or you want to keep going?
Just clip it and send it to me, chat. It's that simple. Okay. And you probably said it by mistake, even if you did, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, we done with this one?
Okay. No, we're not. We're not done with this at all.
Okay.
Because
Go ahead.
you're,
I mean, I just read
because
4
the question
firsthand.
I have for you, the question I have for you is very simple. Okay.
Oh, if I said
There
you,
is
I
a-
misspoke.
There is a.
That's my bad. By the way,
Okay,
I may have
it's
actually
fine,
said
it's
you.
Fine. You misspoke.
I apologize.
I don't care.
I didn't mean that.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's
Just want
get
to make
back
sure.
to the actual main point of contention here.
The liars.
There
Pixar
have
didn't
been
happen.
no rape allegations filed in the October 7 attacks. Not one. Okay? And this is from Ynet,
what?
speaking to Moran Gatz, who I
Gives a
posted
fuck.
about earlier. Moran Gatz is the Southern District Prosecutor's Office in Israel. Okay? She was a member of the Team 7110, responsible for cases involving captured Palestinians in connection with the October 7th attacks. On investigations related to sexual violence, she says, in the end, we don't have any complainants. What was presented in the media compared to what will eventually come together will be entirely different, either because the victims were murdered, okay, this is what they're saying, or because women who were raped aren't willing to expose it. That she excludes here another explanation, says Dropsite News, that no rapes occurred. We approached women's rights organizations and asked for cooperation. They told us that no one had approached them. There were parents who reached out to organizations asking what to do if something happened to their daughter, but they didn't reveal the abuse. So the question I have for you is this, okay? The question I have for you is this. What am I supposed to do in the situation when there are no victims that have come forward?
4
and the
victims
speculation is
just
that
gave
the
firsthand
victims
testimony. I
probably
read it to
died,
you.
But there's no forensic examination. There has
Pixar
been
didn't
no
happen.
justice for these
He's asking for
victims
justice.
in
That's-
Israel
Pixar didn't happen.
on
So
October
frustrating.
7 due to the fact that the government completely
I'll
ruined.
crack open a root beer.
Okay. The government completely ruined any sort of forensic examination that could have taken place. There is no way to
Or
actually,
firsthand-
there is
are you-
no
are
way
you
to
actually, like-
bring justice to these victims. Your assessment on this is so off base because
Hasan, are you listening? 4
you think-
firsthand victims. I just read it to you.
Okay, but what I'm
Let's,
giving
you know
you
what?
is the
You're
Israeli
right.
prosecutor's
You know what,
office
Hasan?
own
You're right. Let's err on the
statement.
side of
If there are
these victims
then,
lying.
why are there? Why
Let's
have
err on
they
the
not?
side. No, you're totally right. This is the progressive way. Let's err on the side of these people.
Saying there should be an
lying instead of believing
investigation.
them.
There
Let's
should-
do that.
if there
Yeah,
are-
they're all lying.
if there are sexual assaults taking place, there should be charges laid. There should be
on this comes from the fact that
it's not confusing. It's obvious. Most of this shit happened. Were killed, and it's a religious. It's a religious part of this first responding unit that they bury the bodies immediately to avoid humiliating them. It's all explainable. Yes. If you don't know that, then you are like woefully misinformed. Which
Dude, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Oh, it doesn't matter. There has to be a forensic examination.
Pixar didn't happen. They
no,
bury the
that's
bodies.
not
what
Pixar.
he's saying.
It didn't happen. You don't think that the victims
buried
deserve
the
justice? What's
bodies.
wrong with you? You don't think these victims deserve
Justice?
justice? Why did
This
Israel
is so stupid.
refuse
Can we please
an
move on?
outside investigative committee to actually,
do you explain these four
under normal
accusers?
circumstances, the
How do you
United
explain these
Nations
four
or a
accusers?
third party will
do you
come
He
in
explain
doesn't
these
and
realize the
four
hole he
investigate.
just dug himself in you here. Like,
How do you
this
explain the
is
four accusers?
So gross.
I don't know why. How
Okay,
do you
very
explain
good.
the prosecutor
Well, let's err on
after
the
those
side of
four
them lying.
accusers? My information is more relevant because it's new.
Unbelievable.
It's newer. Okay. I don't
Okay.
know. I can't.
I guess we're at an
speak out.
impasse here.
I cannot.
I mean, listen, Hasan,
I cannot
we're at an impasse.
disprove
Can we move on?
something that I don't know about when the prosecutor, do you think the Israeli Southern District prosecutor actually did not examine the testimony given by these victims?
If you don't know what happened in the four accusers, why are you speaking so confidently?
Because I'm speaking about
Because you're a
something
liar.
that
You're a
came out
propagandist, and
after
you
that.
fucking hate Israelis.
What?
Can we
What?
move on, please? This is obviously
Yeah,
at an
like,
impasse.
how
No,
could-
no.
This is the-
Oh my
This is
God,
very
I'm
important.
just trying to
Yeah,
consider.
it's also the definition of bad faith. How do you have a conversation with someone who's like, "Hey, by the way, you did this. Here's the thing that you did. Okay, let's watch it. Okay, so I'm not saying the thing you're saying I'm saying, and this is what actually happened. And here's new information relevant to this. That's important. We should talk about that."
No. It's a falsehood that you claim that I don't recognize that. Do you admit that?
Yes, 100%.
So you're
Can we move on?
wait. So you're admitting that you falsely smeared me as someone who is denying a verifiable evidence,
Well, let's take a
verifiable
look
claim
here.
of rape from a firsthand account, and it's not from October 7th.
Okay, yes, I'm smearing you. Can we move on, please?
What is happening?
Okay.
Okay, very
All right.
good. Can you explain this tweet to me? This is your tweet, and I'd like you to summarize it for me. Here it is. You
Then
said,
now
go
on
ahead,
to
you can
more
read
drama.
it for me and
Great.
explain the picture.
I can't. I don't know where it is.
Oh, so you can't see it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay, very good. I guess what's the is just a little delay for him?
No,
Dan,
I can
or-
see it. Bro really said my lived
Yeah.
experience in Israel proper. Great.
What's the picture?
This is zone of interest.
What?
You're familiar, yes?
Explain for the audience what this picture entails.
This is Zone of Interest, which is a Oscar award-winning movie depicting the banality of evil during a literal Holocaust taking place, the monotony of the day-to-day existence, the beautiful garden that
And your implication is what?
Rudolf Hess and his family put together.
And your
while
your
in the backdrop, you can
implication
see there is a
is what?
concentration. There's a concentration camp, Auschwitz.
Your
and, there's a
implication
train
to
that
me is what?
most likely inferred to be sending Jews into the
This is the clip
concentration
you're
camp.
responding to. Hold on. Like it's completely based on my. Oh, I actually don't know where it is, but I said we know what it was. I just said Israel proper, right? I said my lived experience in
Clean
Israel
up your
proper.
room. Play the clip, play
Explain
the
that.
clip.
It's 2 minutes, and I don't know where this happens. If somebody can find out.
No, play the clip. Play the full thing. We have time. I'm not going nowhere.
Well, let me see. Yeah, I mean, I want to watch it too. It's just.
I know you do.
Let's see here. I don't. Here, I'll just play it. Oh, this is a clip from the critically acclaimed Content Cop. How's that working out?
What?
You think Ian's happy he made that video?
Oh my God.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't
You don't
talked to
know?
him about it, but
I mean, he put out a really big video. I mean,
This, honestly, I don't know how people are going to walk away from this. I know everyone is saying that Ethan's chat is like loving everything that's happening, and I've seen people like drop in here because there's a lot of people watching being like, oh my God, the left is finished. I can't believe it. But like, this is honestly one of the most like childish and disgusting displays that I've seen on the internet for almost going on like 3 hours now. Like, it's unbelievable. It's just like, hey, can we talk about something serious? Okay, let's talk about something serious. Let's talk about the actual facts on the ground. Here it is. I'm going to present all the information. Immediately, okay, fine, I concede that point. But that's a horrible thing to concede. The thing that you are conceding to right now. That's a really fucked up thing that you are now admitting that you weaponized sexual assault for the purposes of winning an online internet debate. Okay, fine, let's just move on. Here's another content creator who is not you, but made a video. And so, like, can we talk about that? That's really important too now. Why were you responding to it this way?
Been reported even by your favorite, what is it, Nicholas Eat Oreos, to
favorite?
be false.
Okay.
The dislike metric is not
let's
correct.
watch it. Let's
Why
just
am I
watch it.
arguing on behalf of Ian's video's performance? I don't give a fuck. Come on, play the video, dude. Come on, Jesus Christ. Play the fucking clip.
I mean, it is ironic that he came and did this whole show of doing it with you, and it like just completely humiliated him. I think that's kind of funny and interesting, but I'll play the clip.
Not on Leftovers. He's now talking about it on his podcast.
What I want to do is show you. Are you denying? Hold on, I'm sorry. His entire creator class is in ruin. The event is going to be fucking absolutely canceled. He's probably not even able to reimburse most of the fighters for the time they trained. How is that not a train wreck?
Ethan,
This is a train wreck.
I'm just saying.
iDubbbz. I don't care about your petty vendetta against iDubbbz. Play the fucking
You were in the
clip.
video.
Guys, how I see Israel.
You were in the video.
When you listen to Hasan and you hear all these
Yes,
fucking
you
left-
ruined a
like,
charity
lefties talking
event.
about
I hope you're
super
proud.
racist, like,
Oh my God, bro! You have no idea what you're talking about.
He's now talking
I'm
about it
talking
on his
about
podcast.
Israel proper.
What I want to do is show.
And you're showing headlines about Gaza. I literally say in this clip that it's not has nothing to do with the conditions of Gaza and the conditions of the West Bank, which I consider to be like apartheid. Like it's completely based on my lived experience of 5 years living in Israel. My lived experience, bro. You are so fucking out of line. You have no idea. How do you have the confidence to make this video? Again, I don't know where it is, dude. The
Show
phrase.
you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that when you listen to Hasan.
Israel blocks, and he shows these headlines. Israel again blocks Gaza aid. Again, I'm not talking about Gaza, which I say clearly in this clip, but go on.
And you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking.
Israeli authorities block healthcare to Gaza. Again, I'm not. Do you think that I'm talking about walking around Gaza? When I say how great multicultural it is,
We
did
never
you think
defended
that?
how Israel attacked Gaza since October 7th. Not even
Shield
once.
your eyes.
We never like
I think that's the-
co-signed what they did.
Is that not the point he's making, though?
It already happened. I said it. Oh. No, okay. Well, anyway, I said the phrase I said is that my experience in Israel proper.
What happened after that? When AB chimed in, I wonder. Anyway, listen.
Who knows? I mean, you like to make inferences based on.
I'm just asking. I don't know. Are you?
Well,
What happened?
you know what's so funny? You know what's funny? It's all on the audio. Go listen to it, dipshit. It's on the audio. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a pathological liar. You are a propagandist. It's on the audio. You can go listen to it
both
if you
AB
gave a fuck.
And Olivia were chiming in. I don't know why we buttoned it. I'm just asking. You know, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal.
What are you implying here? What are you implying with this photo?
What photo? Oh, with the photo. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's begin. This is going to finally cause us to talk about Israel-Palestine.
Bro, just explain
By
what
your own
you're trying to
admission,
say.
there is a genocide that is taking place in the Gaza Strip. By your own admission, there is also an apartheid structure both in the West Bank, but I don't think you believe that there's an apartheid happening within Israel proper by your own terms. Do you
I don't think it's. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you feel as though Israel is somehow inseparable from both of these actions?
No, but obviously the conditions are different in Israel proper versus the West Bank versus Gaza.
Do you feel like
West,
you
I mean,
going
the
to
West Bank has
Israel amidst
checkpoints.
a-
It has like different areas of zones of interest. People don't have freedom of movement. So obviously that's more apartheid-like
Different zones of
than
interest.
the main body of Israel.
Yeah. Don't you feel like you going to Israel proper would actually resemble someone going to, someone going near Auschwitz and being like, well, it's actually beautiful there. It's not that
Not
big
at
of a
all.
deal.
No.
Not at all.
It's multicultural. Oh, you don't see the comparison. Well,
Well,
Jonathan
I mean, where
Glazer, who
Israel?
made
You mean in
this,
Tel Aviv? So
Jonathan
you're
Glazer,
saying
who
that
made this video, Jonathan Glazer, who made this Oscar-winning movie, does see the comparison.
So hold
He
on,
said
your
as
criticism.
much. In his
You're
Oscar
saying
award-
all I
his
said was
award-winning
my
speech.
lived experience in Israel proper. Is the problem that Israel proper? That sounds racist or something?
No, I think you're trying to present Israel as a beautiful multicultural land when it is directly doing a genocide across the border boundary, okay?
Yeah.
And also is an
I
apartheid
make a distinction.
on a good day.
Yeah, I make a distinction for sure.
You can't compartmentalize
I lived there for
proper
5 years
from
in
the
Tel
crimes
Aviv.
that is happening 6 miles away, Ethan. That's my point. So saying
6 miles from where I live in Tel Aviv? 6
I don't
miles
know
from
how
what?
many miles away it is from exactly
It's a
where you
lot
live
further
in
than
Tel
6
Aviv.
miles. What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know how many miles away it is. That's not the point. It's close enough that you can see it. If you go to Sderot, you can watch it. They call it
the
the night
point you're
cinema.
making is that everybody living in Israel is living next to a concentration camp.
Yes. A death camp.
So I said, bro really said my lived experience in Israel proper, and you're saying that I am a Nazi officer living casually and enjoying life.
No,
as
you're
people
not
are
directly a Nazi officer.
Well, that's what this says.
No, Ethan, you're taking it a little bit too literally. I think the point there with that imagery is not that it's a Nazi officer.
Why did you choose the one with the guy standing in it?
Well, I'm actually giving. I'm actually.
This is, I think, maybe what the 30th time that like I feel there's like, oh, so you understand the point then. You understand what was happening. Sure, but I still think that you were insulting me this way now.
The entire point is, you can have a wonderful life as an American Jew in Israel. Of course you can have a wonderful life in Israel. That's the point, because Israel is a ethno-religious supremacist apartheid state that is currently doing a genocide. It is the entire underlying principle of why this nation state was founded. That's what it was founded on. It was founded on exterminationist principles
I definitely
of the
agree.
indigenous Palestinians, which you seemingly
so this is
agree
actually a really
to.
good moment.
So yes, if you actually think Israel is doing a genocide, then it comes across as rather odd that you would go to Israel to show how multifaceted and how wonderful Israel is. It would be exactly like someone saying, "Oh, you don't understand. I'm German. I am going to Poland. I'm going to go to Warsaw. I'm going to go to Auschwitz, and I'm going to show you how wonderful Auschwitz looks like. Because it's German territory."
Okay, thank you for. Okay, I lived in Tel Aviv. I worked beside Palestinians. I worked with them. I took the bus with them. I walked around the streets with them. I went to the restaurants. They worked with me in my businesses. It's not what people expect. That's my point.
Yeah,
you don't see.
That would be lying. That would be lying to your audience about the actual
I lived there for 5
totality
years.
of Israel. You want to talk about my totality of anti-Semitism inferred off of like hyper specific narrow definitions that you have invented in your mind? Talk about the totality of a country that you recognize is doing genocide. You think it's appropriate? You think it's appropriate to go to Israel while there is a fucking genocide going on by your own admission?
You did a show with me and you considered me your friend, and you knew that I was apparently a Nazi officer that whole time.
What?
I said you were considering me a friend. You did a show with me. You knew I lived in Israel that whole time. I'm surprised you were willing to work with a Nazi officer.
I also have interviewed members of the Knesset, as a matter of fact, like Ofer Kassev. I have interviewed Israelis from the anti-Zionist youth movement Mezarvot, Israeli members. Israeli Jewish citizens that have refused service, refuseniks. I don't have an issue with people that have lived in Israel.
I don't know what you're going on about.
Some of the reason why I know the total and utter depravity of the inception of Israel comes from Exeter University's very own Ilan Pappé. His writings are what guide me. Of course, I don't have an issue with people that have lived in Israel and no longer live in Israel, or even still live in Israel, as a matter of fact, as long as they are anti-Zionist. Because I care about Zionism as an ideology.
Bro, you're just gish
I do not care about Jewish people or Israeli people. These are not a part of my consideration, because I believe in the best of people. I believe that people, regardless of the circumstances that they've been presented with, can see right from wrong. And I thought foolishly that you were one of these people. I foolishly thought you could also see right from wrong. But it's obvious to me that you have simply used what is going on for the past 16 months of horrific
do you want me to respond?
And starvation.
Hassan, you got to stop. You got to stop with the gish galloping. I know. You're righteous and I'm evil.
To you my
That was such a great summary.
I agree with you. I think that my characterization of it as a utopia, like in that moment, was distasteful, and I wish that I had said that differently. And I see that it came off bad. It came off bad, and I was wrong on that one. I totally agree. Watching that clip back, I'm regretful about how I spoke about it. So I agree with you.
Okay, that's fair. I see. This is. I wish you were.
This was the most productive part of the entire 3 hours.
16 months, Ethan. Because I feel like a lot of the conversations that have taken place.
Well, my problem is not with your philosophy on Palestine. My problem is with your community and the harassment you've leveled against me and my family.
People make inferences off of what you say. They do not know what's in your heart. Okay, and this is something that I privately.
We agree on a lot of things. The issue is the harassment.
To you about in the beginning after October 7, I told you time and time again privately.
Okay,
that
bro, you've
the
talked
reason
a
why
lot.
people
Let's just
think
move on,
you are
please.
behaving like a. The reason why people think you are a Zionist is not because you're Jewish, but because of what you're saying. They heard your
What did I say that's
and
Zionist?
they made these inferences.
What have I
off of
ever
your
said
output.
that shows that I'm Zionist?
Ethan, the way that you have tackled this subject.
The example that you both just went through.
Say one thing that has shown the world, undoubtedly, how Zionist
Traveling
I am.
to Israel
I
whilst
am worthy
committing
of the scorn
genocide.
of you.
You admitted that that was in bad taste. That just happened.
What did I say?
So that's one.
Okay,
that's one example.
Does that mean I'm a Zionist? I mean, and by the way, that was a recent clip. That doesn't explain the last 2 years.
Yes, it doesn't. And there's
So
plenty
what did I
there as
say in the
well.
last 2
There's
years
plenty
besides
there
that
as well.
clip?
What
did I say, Hasan? What did I say that's Zionist? You can't give me one fucking contextual example of me saying something that's Zionist after this entire. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
You have something?
I have many things. As recently
List
as last
one.
month. As recently as last month.
List one example of me saying
I'm giving
something
you an
Zionist.
example. Just calm down and listen.
Stop talking
as
and talk.
recently as last month,
You're not answering
you
my
talked
question.
about
You're just
how
doing this
Hamas
Why would you
is actually
talk?
Hamas is actually putting hostages inside of hospitals. Hamas is actually using tunnel systems under hospitals, and that is part of the reason why Israel is bombing hospitals. Bombing hospitals is a war crime. Okay. Bombing hospitals is a war crime. In your conversation
I don't defend that.
in your conversation with Sam Cedar, while on the one hand you now recognize that Israel's doing a genocide, and you have in the past as well, for sure, but you've also gone back and forth on it, and you've called it a war or whatever.
Never.
But having said that, in your conversation with Sam Cedar, you thought you had a gotcha where you said that, well, I find it very strange that there's not a single bomb shelter in Gaza.
That's a condemnation of Hamas.
What?
That is a condemnation of Hamas.
I think that's a condemnation of your assessment of reality.
How is
Look
that
at
pro-Zionist?
the Gaza Strip. Do you
How
think
is
a
me
bomb
criticizing
Because it
shelter
serves
would actually
propaganda for the
survive?
justification of bombing
Do
hospitals.
you think a bomb shelter would actually survive bunker buster bombs? What are you
Be a lot
talking
fucking
about?
safer
There's not a
than
standing structure
the
remaining in most
seventh
parts
floor
of
of an
Gaza.
apartment building.
For Israel to actually systematically destroy every hospital,
You're okay with Hamas
implies
spending
that a
the
bomb shelter
totality?
would just simply
Can I
be
ask you a
fucking
question?
crosshairs.
Can I please ask you a question? Again, me criticizing Hamas makes me a Zionist?
You criticizing Hamas makes you a Zionist?
That's what you're
I
claiming.
mean, it depends on how. It depends on what you're saying. Yes.
Well, you know exactly what I
You can
said.
have criticisms of Hamas in terms of like their own internal domestic affairs, in terms of their governance. But if that's your hyper focus, then yes, people are going to make that inference that you are definitely against any kind of resistance against the state of Israel, because the
Because they don't make bomb shelters?
Because your expectation
they don't make
from
bomb
the Palestinians
shelters?
is to just simply sit there and take it, so you can fucking act like you felt bad 10 years down the line.
Everything that you claim, the whole fucking apparatus of harassment that exists across social media with you at the center of it, infringes on an inference that you maybe meant this. I have never once said I'm Zionist. The only reason people believe that is because you repeat it maliciously
the reason why people
time
believe
and
that
time
is because
again.
of your hyper focus on
Name one.
you, and your distractions.
That makes me a
away,
Zionist?
And your
That makes me a
deliberate
Zionist?
deplatforming attempts towards pro-Palestinian content creators. It is ridiculous. You
Being
simply
pro-Palestine
say
doesn't
you
absolve you of
recognize
guilt.
the genocide, but you also literally get mad at people who fight back. You get mad at the
So I'm
Houthis.
public
You call
enemy
them
number one.
terrorists. You call
For
Hezbollah a terror
defending
group, which
myself.
is by the American state's definition, absolutely considered a terror group. But there are plenty of terror groups that have successfully
do you not
resisted
consider Hezbollah a
against
terror group?
American imperialism and other forms of settler colonial violence.
Do you not consider Hezbollah a terrorist group?
I think the definition of terrorism by the American State Department is intentionally vague to deny people their
about the-
habeas corpus, deny people their due process. It is there to justify whatever kind of militant action that the American government can take. This is a severe violation of the American
Okay,
Constitution.
very good.
So yes,
Hasan,
I
please.
think that
I
this
wanna have a-
definition is
Can
intentionally
I
vague
give
and
you?
is
Can I
fucking-
ask? Can I request something?
Is silly.
Can I please request something? I'm interested in having a conversation. You take this and you just go on and on and on and on. You repeat yourself. You double down on the same point. I just want to have a conversation. You make your point and then you move on. You're doing too much. Please.
The
we're going to
American
be here.
terrorism designation is silly. Do we agree?
Also, that's projection on Ethan's
I don't
part.
know.
That's been
What do you-
all
well,
this
well,
has been.
well, here, I'll be more
Use its
precise.
definition without ever actually thinking about
You're right.
it. What do
Fuck
you mean?
it. Let me be more precise. Here's what you said.
Hezbollah is a paramilitary organization.
Do we like them or no?
They are a terrorist organization. Like they're designated. They are designated by the American state as a terrorist organization.
I do not like them then.
Well, like
I like what you like.
I don't have an issue with them. Let's just say.
What did you mean by that? You do not have an issue with Hezbollah.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Exactly. All right, let me explain. I do not have a single issue with the way that Hezbollah has defended southern Lebanon. I do
Me
not
neither,
have a single
actually.
issue with Hezbollah as a form of militancy trying to incur penalties on the genocidal state of Israel. Because if you recognize that it is a genocide, then what is the expectation from other parties involved in the region? The very fact that other countries, the very fact that
You're
other
doing it
countries are not
again.
also up in arms is
Doing what?
ridiculous.
He's answering
considering that
you.
Israel is a belligerent force that is destroying everything in the fucking region because it has an underlying exterminationist policy. And you agree with that because it's a genocide. You said it's
Let
a
me speak,
genocide.
please.
So what is the
Hassan,
expectation?
please. This conversation is becoming impossible.
Because every single time Hassan is answering him, he isn't saying what he wants him to say, which is, oh yeah, I love terrorism because I myself am a terrorist. Like that's all he's expecting. He's like, oh, actually, this is the exact reason why, and this is why I said that in this clip. Then it's like, okay, let's move on. I don't like this anymore.
was a noble thing, right, of defending Lebanon from the IDF invasion, and they were successful in sending them back to Israel. Now, since then, a lot of terrible shit has happened, right? And you sat there and you said, I do not have a problem with them. So do you not have a problem with what Hezbollah did in Syria, mass murdering civilians on the behest of Assad?
Can you find a single instance where I've actually said I have no problem with Hezbollah's actions in Syria?
You said I don't have a problem with Hezbollah.
No, that specifically.
You know what's so funny?
Do you feel like that is the entirety of my conversation? Because I have talked about Hezbollah's actions in Syria, as a matter of fact, and I do have a problem with that. Yes,
You're precise with your words, right?
I don't think that harming civilians is in any way, shape, or form remotely correct. Now, having said that, I'm glad that you brought up Hezbollah because, again, in your video, you falsely claim that Hezbollah is responsible for 500,000 deaths in the Syrian conflict. Okay,
Yeah.
you say that
A massive
Hezbollah is
difference.
responsible for 500,000 deaths in the Syrian
They
conflict.
participated.
That is the entirety
They
of the
participated.
deaths, including the Hezbollah militancy in the Syrian civil war.
And therefore, what? They did nothing wrong?
No, but there's a
That's
big
not what I'm
difference
saying.
So what
between
does it
saying
matter
they're
the
responsible
exact
for all the
count?
deaths,
Why does
including
that
their own.
claim that they were responsible for all the deaths. You stood in front
No,
of
they collaborated.
footage. You stood in front of footage of an entire town that was destroyed by what?
Yeah.
By barrel bombs. Who has the capacity to have a air force and use barrel bombs to destroy an entire city? Do you think Hezbollah has an air force?
They
Ethan?
participated.
Is that why
You're not
is
listening.
that why
You're
you
being
implied
silly.
that is that why you posted that photo?
Why are
when
you
just-
defending Hezbollah's action in Syria? Do you
I'm
think
not
that's a good
defending
look?
that. I'm not defending
You
their action.
sure are.
I am
You'd be like,
asking
Hezbollah
you,
didn't do that.
Do you think
Hezbollah would
Hezbollah
never blow up
reach
a
after
village in
reach.
Syria.
Do you think Hezbollah has an air force?
Do you think I think that?
Well, you implied it when you showed
keep
a
telling
hollowed
you
out town that
they
was
worked.
barrel bombed,
They
most likely
worked
by
with
Russian
the
forces.
government, bro.
So why? Why did you use that imagery to imply that Hezbollah had killed 500,000 people? That is
they
a
were
false-
complicit.
This is my main problem with you, Ethan. You are spreading.
You're defending
false
terrorism
rumors.
right now, by the way.
What?
You are defending a terrorism right now.
No, dude, I'm defending the truth. How is this so hard to comprehend for you? I
The
never
truth is,
have
what
once-
Hezbollah did in Syria wasn't that bad.
Never said that either.
They did not kill 500,000 people in
Okay,
Syria.
so wasn't that
Ethan.
bad? So what
You are
Hezbollah did in
taking away
Syria
the
wasn't that
responsibility
bad?
from
How
the
many did they
Assad
kill?
regime. You are taking away the
You're
responsibility.
minimizing their actions. How many did they
You're taking
kill?
the responsibility away from ISIS. You're taking the responsibility away from the Russian
No,
military.
I'm putting blame on
It's
Hezbollah where it
ridiculous.
belongs. How many did they kill?
I don't even know the exact number of how many they killed. I believe it's like around 2,000 to 5,000, which once again is inappropriate. I have no issue saying that.
Did they collaborate with Assad?
They did. Yes, they did. They did.
And so what is the issue here exactly? You said you have no issue with them. I think that's the problem.
So what are we talking
numerous
about?
times at this point. I have no issue
So what's this
with
conversation about,
Hezbollah's militancy against a state that is conducting a genocide. That much is very clear.
You didn't
As a
say
matter of
any
fact,
of
there
that.
are
You said,
plenty
I
of
do not
instances
have a
where I've
problem with
talked about-
Hezbollah.
As a
You're
matter
lying.
of fact, there are plenty of instances where I have talked about
You're lying.
Hezbollah's militancy in Syria.
When you're
as
done
a
lying, I'll
axis
explain.
of-
Oh
wait,
my
what?
God. You got him.
When you're done lying, I'll explain. You
I'm
didn't
not-
say that.
What do you mean?
You
I'm
said
lying. I'm telling
you said
you
I
what my
don't. You were
position is
talking
right
to a
now.
normie. You were talking to a normie who didn't understand anything about the conflict, and he said, well, "How do we feel about Hezbollah?" A general question. How do we feel about Hezbollah? Your answer was, "We don't. I don't have a problem with them. Let's just say." And then, by the way,
Not going far enough.
Hassan,
You should have said,
you
and in
start
certain cases, I
trying
do
to
condemn them,
minimize their
specifically when it came
inclusion
to
in
the
this fucking
Syrian
wanton
civil war.
slaughter of Syrian civilians.
Wait, what? I'm minimizing their inclusion of the wanton slaughter of Syrian
Here's what
civilians?
you said because
Dude,
you want to be
just-
precise.
You made up.
I do not like the
You came.
Well, like, I like what you like.
You
I don't have the
stupidly
issue with
said
them,
that they
let's
killed
just say.
500,000 civilians. What are you talking about? I did not minimize their wanton slaughter in the Syrian civil war.
Do you think that they didn't participate with Assad to make that happen? I mean, they were
did.
allied. They participated. Okay, so then why are you defending them?
I'm not defending them.
You sure
Ethan.
sounds like it.
I have already described to you that I am critical of their actions. You are misquoting me. You are misunderstanding.
I am
what
verbatim
I'm
repeating
saying,
what you
and
said,
I'm having
you
a conversation
liar.
directly with you, so I don't understand. I'm not
How can you
minimizing
lie
what
to
they did.
people? Like,
I'm
we
minimizing
just watched
the
the clip.
arbitrary number that you put there because you don't do enough research.
No, that number was based on the totality of deaths. My claim was that they participated in it. You were not critical of their actions
Why
in
did you
this
put
clip.
so you're telling me you've never claimed that Hezbollah has killed more
Now do
Muslims
Israel.
than Israel has, that IDF has?
I don't know when I think I did say that, and I think that was wrong.
Yeah,
I was
you
incorrect
said that
on
numerous
that.
times. You actually said you chat
I don't think about
GP'd
numerous
against
times.
AB when AB was like, I don't think that's correct.
Yeah. By the way, I that's something I looked into, and I was actually wrong about that for
Okay.
sure.
Don't you feel like this kind of misinformation is somewhat? Don't you think that
Dangerous?
saying stuff like that is going to make people infer that you might be more pro-Israel than you let on?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't
mean I'm
work like
Zionist?
this, right? You're not just like clicking a box and you're like, well, I said it was a genocide. What more do you want from me? Okay, you did. But then you spend all of your time criticizing people,
Responding to
who are
harassment.
offering analysis and not justification, but
Can I
analysis.
can I
to
can
how
I
these
flip it on
groups
you
are
a little
actually
bit?
Formed. You're upset with people
Can I
learning
Hassan, you're doing
about,
it. You're doing it again.
Well, I'm not
Doing
doing
what?
anything.
Explaining reality.
I'm
You're just
hoping
talking,
to
bro.
explain to you something so you recognize that you're wrong, as
No,
you've done twice
No,
now.
you
So
don't need to
this is
explain
productive
anything to me.
now.
I understand your point. Don't you? So you're accusing me of being irresponsible with my words. Don't you think saying you have no issue with Hezbollah makes people think you're pro-terrorist?
I don't care that people think this. It's
Oh.
ridiculous.
So are people valid for thinking you're pro-terrorist when you say?
Do you believe the State Department's
Answer.
designation for terrorism
Whoa!
is
Answer the
valid?
question.
That gets to the core of do you like being called a Zionist, or do you think that's fair that people call you a Zionist? Because if you reject that notion and you're offended by it, as Ethan clearly is, then that's really important, right? Do you see the difference there?
You rely heavily on your
Can you
audience
answer?
not really understanding the terms that
answer
you
my
are
question.
using.
Let it
okay?
be noted
When
you are
say,
dodging-
Oh, Hassan defends terrorists.
noted.
Okay. There's a
Literally
reason
just
why
did.
you say that. You say that to disparage
literally
me
just did.
without actually addressing my arguments. And now when you're faced with me face to face to talk
God,
about
bro,
these
you're
issues,
doing it again.
you agree with me. So if you agree with me, you called Hezbollah a noble group. Should I just run around being
beginning,
like,
shit
defends
changed.
terrorism? I think you do, but for a different
I
reason.
said their
and we'll get to
actions
that in
were
a second.
noble. I didn't call them a noble group. Again, you have a problem with the truth.
You just said that their inception
I
was
said their
a
actions
noble
were
one.
noble.
You said
Yeah.
Hezbollah was
It's different from saying Hezbollah is a noble organization. But I really need you to answer this. Isn't it reasonable for people to assume you're pro-terrorist if you say stuff like, I have no problem with Hezbollah? Just answer the question, yes or no?
I don't think it's reasonable for people to assume that I'm pro-terrorism because I think people are going to assume that regardless because I am
But
presenting
people can
a
assume I'm
position-
Zionist. But it's
What?
okay for people to it's okay for people to assume I'm Zionist.
Yes, because
Got it.
No,
The
you don't
logic
understand
is
what I'm saying.
clear.
I get why people assume that. I get why people assume
I get why people assume you're pro-terrorist.
Yeah. Do you feel?
Do you?
Okay, let's talk about that then. Do you feel like someone being branded pro-terrorist is as impactful under the Trump administration as someone being pro-Israel is?
Well, as someone who's been branded as a pro-Israel Zionist in my space, it is a horrifically fucking it's resulted in the unbelievable, unprecedented. I've been on the internet for 10 years, right? I've been through all kinds of controversies, all kinds of shit. I have never once in my entire life, Hasan, experienced the amount of harassment, the organized, psychotic campaign to try to ruin my life, all of my all of my employees' life, my family's life, their family's life. This is your community acting in response to what you're saying about me being pro-Zionist. So do I think it's worse? In my experience, it's much worse.
That's done any of these things that you're talking about.
Okay, Hasan, can I ask you a question? Why the fuck were you browsing H3 Snark the other day and pulling clips from that?
I don't know.
Back
Someone
to
fucking
drama.
sent me a clip in the chat.
Oh, okay. And so you shit and pissed about me pulling a meme from Destiny's subreddit.
Ethan,
I have
look
never
to
even
your-
pulled the subreddit up, but you're on stream browsing H3 Snark. How do you explain that?
Ethan, your
back.
entire subreddit is a snark subreddit dedicated to me. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's literally
I
not
don't
true,
think-
but
I don't have a single issue at this point. What are you talking about? You have personally moderated your own subreddit to turn into this, by the way. What? So many people that have criticized
you're
you
lying.
from your own fan
we're
base
back.
have left your
Hasan,
community
you
for this
said your
reason.
community
because
has
you can't
nothing to
take
do
a
with
fucking
this.
ounce of criticism from your paying members. How many people are like, I love Teddy Fresh. I have so many fucking pieces of Teddy Fresh clothing. Now I feel embarrassed to wear it because look at what he has become.
There's
This
plenty
is
of
at the
fans.
heart of
Don't
this
worry
problem.
about
If
that.
you want to talk about it, from the perspective of psychoanalysis, the
Yeah,
real reason.
but like get to the core of all this. At the end of the day, they're both super famous. They're both massively famous streamers that receive an unbelievable amount of hate from tons of different groups, tons of different publications in both directions, make articles about them, hate on them, thousands and thousands of people in both directions. And if you are the creators in both cases, then what do you want to bring attention to? What do you want to use your platform to? Like that's what this whole thing gets down to at its core. Like, are you using your platform to talk about our beef, or using your platform to talk about this issue and then wrap the beef around it at the end of the day?
Clean up your room.
I think that means you won the debate.
Yeah. No. Listen to me. If you
So I'm not
demonstrated a
muted.
fraction
So hold
of
on,
the
let me
humility,
finish. You gotta let me say something.
if you demonstrated a fraction of the humility you did just now, most
got
people would not have
to
left your
let me
community. By the
say
way,
something. I don't care that they left the community. That was obvious.
You definitely do.
I've got plenty of fans left. Don't worry. Here, listen. You claim your community has nothing to do with the harassment. Yet you said in the same breath that your chat linked you to H3 Snark, the
Clean up your
subreddit
room.
primarily responsible for coordinating that harassment, and you pulled it up on your stream.
Do you have evidence that H3 Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say
Like
that?
Random anonymous Redditors?
Did I say that?
Wait, what's the?
I said
who
they're
called
primarily responsible for
CPS?
harassing me.
Who called CPS?
What the fuck? So I don't know. Did I claim they did? You're dodging, bro. You are absolutely dodging. You
Ethan.
claim your community has nothing to do with the harassment, yet you are
Ethan.
browsing H3 Snark. Now,
Clean up
let me
your
ask you this,
room.
Hassan. How many times have I
absolutely-
browsed the
absolutely,
Destiny
without
subreddit
evidence,
on my
have
show?
blamed virtually everyone for calling CPS. Answer my question. So you don't know who called CPS, and yet for the past
wasn't
couple
Denham,
of
so it
months,
wasn't
you've been
Frogan?
like, it's whoever I don't like
It's
that is
the
called
fucking
CPS.
tone-
And now you're
no.
claiming that my community is responsible for it.
I think it's the tone. No, bro, what is wrong with you? Did I say your community called CPS? The harassment
You're
campaign is a
inferring
much
it.
more
Yes,
broad than
you're
that.
inferring
Absolutely
it.
not. You can't
Clean up
address
your
an
room.
actual issue. So you turn it into you're straw manning, basically. I'm saying your
Bro,
community is responsible for participating in this harassment campaign. You said chat sent you this link, did they not?
Yes. Last week. What are you talking about?
Okay, so your chat is involved with H3 Snark, which, by the
Oh my
way,
God,
funnily enough, the new
involved.
Snark page is called Leftovers H3, and it's got
Oh,
a
thank
picture
you for
of you
giving
in
it
the
a shout
avatar.
What does this
Shout
have
out
to
to
do with
Leftovers
Hassan?
H3.
It's got a picture of you, Hassan. You don't need to shout him out. You're already doing it. Don't
wait,
you think that's
you
odd?
did it.
No, I
Also-
think it's.
Also, what do you think? Like, first of all, do you think I have any say on what fucking happens in these
Yes.
subreddits? What are you talking about?
But you have a say what happens in your Discord and chat, which you absolutely do not moderate. And there's so much evidence of the disgusting
that's
shit.
also completely fucking false.
Well, why did you criticize XQC for not moderating his chat when you called in?
Yet another.
Ethan, I can't believe you
Why
would.
did you criticize XQC for not moderating his chat?
Yes, XQC has actively used this community over the course of many years at this point, as he was, doing gamba and wanted to fucking keep gambling and felt bad that I was criticizing him to attack
literally
me.
answering.
Okay, there is a difference between
and
someone
that's
doing
different
that.
than what your
You
community
refuse to
has
answer the
done.
question.
How?
Stop answering.
What?
How is that different than your community attacking me?
You want to know how it's different? I have an
Bring up
8-minute
Keemstar.
clip
Have we talked about
compilation all the
Keemstar
way
yet?
from when our podcast ended
We're gonna
all
bring
the
up
way to
Boogie.
December
Like,
of
who else is gonna be?
2024, where I actively defend you. That is moderating my
Please,
community.
bro, I do not give a fuck about your quote-unquote defending as your community went rabid with your approval. Please spare
with
me.
my approval? I just told
Yeah,
you.
it's your community, bro. You literally say in this clip that it's let me play this clip for you because it will show you
people
what a
don't
liar
fucking
hypocrite you
like
are.
you, big dog. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean?
Oh, they love you,
what do you want
huh?
me to do? What do you want me to do?
Fucking everybody
They don't
loves
like you.
Hasan.
You're fucking-
Everybody loves iDubbbz
Tons
too.
of people hate Hasan. Tons of people hate
My
iDubbbz.
objective is not to be
You're
like
all
Hasan. That
super
might
famous.
surprise you. It might surprise you. My objective in life is not to be.
This is what being super famous on the internet also brings. Haters. That's part of the process. Like, oh my god.
That. Okay, there's plenty of people who
Yeah.
don't like me either.
My whole career's been people not liking me, but I've never experienced this level of harassment. You are unwilling to contend or concede at any point that you are.
Yeah, because
you
I'm not
are-
responsible for it. Here, play this video, Dan. Here you go.
Anyway, it's not about being liked either. It's about
Here.
harassment, bro.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Show your audience because you've been
And
saying.
could also be a huge thing that a lot of people are actually disgusted at a country doing a genocide, and anyone trying to both sides of this at this point looks fucking gross. Could it be that? Could it be just like people who might not actually know who you are? They see a clip online and right now they're like, I'm really upset about this genocide I see every fucking day. So yeah, maybe I don't know anything about this guy, but now I'm upset about this too.
Was literally because of the way you were presenting yourself. In the conversation that we had, you inferred that JVP was akin to capos. You said that from the river to the sea,
Oh my
Palestine will
God,
be free
bro.
is actually
I'm not
an
gonna let you stunlock
exterminationist
me
slogan
again.
that
Another
terrifies
pathetic
Jewish
fucking
people.
lie. Holy
you,
shit.
You literally fucking posted about a pro-Palestinian dude on Twitter saying that he would be thrown off of roofs like fucking Hamas is ISIS. If you say all of that, if it walks like a duck, it walks like a duck,
phone.
most people are going to not think that you're a chicken. They're going to think you're a duck.
Okay, I'm not going to get sunlocked by these insane accusations. I never called them capos. That's what you said. That's part of the harassment campaign. You put those words in my mouth, and now it's something that I still hear. I have never called them capos.
So
he explained to him in that clip what he was doing when he was like, wasn't there Jewish people during Nazi Germany that actually, you know, helped the Nazis? And he's like, please don't compare Jewish Voices for Peace to capos. That's the clip.
Do you have a problem with like levels? It's all or nothing. Is calling someone criticizing someone via token the same as calling them capos?
Why would you call Jews who are standing against
Not
genocide,
something he
which
would
you
ever
also recognize as a genocide?
Can I play this?
Token
This is the clip.
Jews that are not
Here's what you said.
representative of the broader movement.
Well, they're
You also
statistically
called
not.
Matt Lieb a capo.
Matt Lieb's a disgusting human being who platformed Bad Empanada, who's
So
like
So you do have a problem. You do have a problem with
Matt Lieb
Jews
specifically,
that you
yes.
don't like, and you are quick to call them
I have a
capos.
problem with Matt Lieb, who's platforming Bad Empanada. Yes, clearly. Is there you don't like Bad Empanada? You understand? A year ago, you were talking about how
Yes,
crazy he
but-
was.
Yeah, but I'm not.
But
Here's
suddenly,
the
when he
difference.
starts talking
Here's the
about me,
difference,
he's your
Ethan.
best friend.
Yeah,
Interesting.
you're right. You're right. I think Bad Empanada is insane. But you know what I also always say?
And all of a sudden, you love his videos. Why is that?
Bad Empanada. And I've
Why do you
maintained
love
this
his videos
position- I've
suddenly?
maintained this
Before you
position-
pledged never to watch his videos on stream, why do you love them now?
Oh, because he was he did not want me reacting to his videos initially.
That is a insane, pathetic,
no, that's what it
bold-faced
is.
lie.
No, he said.
You literally
I
told.
have.
Oh my
I
God,
have.
dude. Okay, first of all, let me play this clip of you criticizing XQC.
Okay, wait. You can't just like
And all these
dance
other
around
Now let's
the point.
watch
We'll
this. You
get to
asked
that.
for it.
Actually,
Hold on, you asked for this. Here's what you said.
because it's
Oh
not
my
something
God,
he
wait,
would
I
ever
sent you a
ask
clip.
for.
Why aren't
and
you
all these
playing
other
that one?
content creators actually,
watch.
you know, whipping their communities when
Whipping their
chat
communities.
is going fucking absolutely bananas over random dumb shit and bringing my name up for no fucking reason.
Oh my
that
God.
you were
By the way,
just allowing that shit
I don't
to
know
run rampant
if
in
someone
your
needs to
chat.
translate internet for Ethan, but it's like, hey, yeah, here's an example of while that person is watching another person, like if Hasan said, hey, chat, all 100,000 of you, go over to H3's community. Why don't you start telling them what you think? Get into his chat. Fuck shit up. That's brigading. Those are two totally different things.
Okay, no, great. Show my clip.
Sure.
Show my clip that I sent Dan.
Yeah, no problem. But there you go. I'm going to pull it up for you. Oh, yeah, TikTok. This is going to be good. Ethan Klein debunked. 7 minutes, bro? Hold on. I'm not going to watch the 7 minute
No,
clip.
you don't
Where do you want me to
minutes
watch?
of it.
Okay, you think if I just play it from the beginning, they'll get the gist of it?
Oh, you'll get it. And you can skip towards like the end too if you want, like towards the middle.
By the way, this has 1,000 likes, bro. Are you name searching yourself or what?
No, the person who made it sent it to me.
Oh, okay.
What?
I guess it's hard hitting.
Ethan is a mega Zionist. You are wrong. Okay, trust me. I don't think you know. I don't think you know many Zionists if you think Ethan is a mega Zionist. Not even close, dude. Time and time.
Funnily enough, that's still true.
Again, I've spoken about how Ethan is not your enemy. A person who cries when a Palestinian child dies is not your enemy. Okay, he's not. I've said these exact words over and over again.
The problem is that your community is obviously an unhinged, and if you don't defend me, my community is going to get mad at you. It's definitely just an optics play, which, by the way, you never stuck to.
Shut up. Keep playing.
Let me guess. It's more videos of you defending me?
Keep playing. Enough.
I told people in this community and people everywhere that will listen to what I have to say that you have to choose who you are actually angry at. There are people who are so loud and so proud about the ethnic cleansing campaign that Palestinians are experiencing currently. Go yell at them. He's been shitting on you on his members-only streams. I don't care. I don't care. Bro literally shot on you yesterday and his coworker for saying from the river to the sea, sorry, dog. I don't care. I watched a minute of it. I really don't give a fuck.
Keep going.
What you said.
No.
Oh, why?
Come on.
It's
We watched
7
a
minutes
lot
long,
of your
bro.
clips. Keep going.
Spare the
This
audience.
is about you. Go on.
What are we going to glean from watching longer?
Keep playing it. This is just November 1st.
No, I don't want to finish it. I know what it is. You talk kindly about. Okay, here, I'll go to the middle for you. Okay.
You think I'm not moderating my fucking community? You think I'm
You
not
absolutely
trying to
are
get
not.
people to stop yelling about you at that point?
Okay, let me go to the middle so you can have your thing, and then we'll move on.
And it frustrates me to no fucking end. I've told you this time and time again in this time frame, just like I kept telling you, Ethan is not your enemy over and over again. That's why I love iDubbbz, Ethan as well, people that have actually changed course, recognize their mistakes.
Okay, I mean, yeah, we get the idea. It's fine. You know what I mean? You're the best friend ever.
Whoa,
by the way,
whoa.
No, whoa.
Well,
my turn.
Whoa.
You were just screaming, play the video. You told me to shut up.
Moderating my community and claiming that.
You screamed to shut up and play the video. So I'm going to ask you to return the favor at this moment.
Okay,
you claimed
go
that
ahead.
you didn't watch. Here's what you said about Bad Empanada.
Oh my God.
You lied to me and said you don't watch his videos because he asked you not to. Magically, when he started talking about me, you became his biggest fan, and you watch his videos on your stream regularly, which has resulted in an explosion of his popularity. Here's what you said about him a year before this conflict.
Put on a video on
Nice
the
shirt,
stream.
by the way.
I'm just letting you guys know. If you think I'm gonna fucking watch a YouTube essay from a dude literally openly antagonistic towards me watching fucking YouTube videos, you're out of your fucking mind, okay? You think I want him to write like 700 hours worth of new YouTube essays about how I have wronged him? I don't want that. I don't want that at all, okay?
Say genocide propaganda will come.
Wait, that's
Thanks
in
for
the clip,
watching.
Ethan. You keep
Free
doing this
Palestine.
thing.
I'm playing the clip.
Yeah, go support this.
Yes.
I'm playing the clip. Just
I told you why I wasn't watching Bad Empanada videos.
Oh my God, Hasan, you're talking over the clip. You need to let it play, okay?
Here's another example of you doing a thing I think you're doing. No, that actually totally validated my point. The clip you just showed. Yeah, well, what do you have to say about that? That I was right? Like,
this is dipshit that I do appreciate, regardless of my disagreements with him.
That's you now.
On his optics and the ways that he conducts
support
himself with regular frequency.
You lean into his
Because
Patreon.
ultimately, his product, his YouTube essays, as a standalone entity, is always solid. Rick's such a fucking freak, dude. Oh my Lord, he is such a goddamn freak. He is the most insane person. He has like 7,000 accounts. I just said I have an official blockade on bad
Is this a
empanada
compilation of
videos
them calling
on
him
this
insane?
broadcast while I'm live. That's number one. And number two, he's not just mean on Twitter. He is a psychopath. Okay, the idea that
correct. This is validating his point.
Who's not just mean on Twitter, who has 7,000 accounts, as you say, is somebody that you gleefully platform his videos about me. So I'm just saying, your community doesn't do harassment, right?
I don't know if you have a.
Let's just
I don't know if you have a command over the English language.
Exists to harass people by your own fucking definition.
None of the things that you just showed
is ridiculous.
None of the things you showed is inconsistent.
He is the
no, you're doing it right now.
Most insane person on Twitter. Yeah, let me go watch a video about a dude who constantly talks about how I'm fucking a reactionary fake socialist because I watch people's videos. That seems like a good idea. It's age restricted, which means there's like TOS violations galore in there. Fucking bad empanada.
Besides the, like, maybe I'd say 3/4 of this whole debate that's taking place, which is basically, look at this clip of you, Hasan, and then they play the clip. He's like, yeah, I know. That's what? There's probably, I'd say, like at least 30 minutes of very constructive conversation peppered in there in the middle of it, where they actually, you know, for the most part, Ethan admits, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. It was wrong of me to do that. Yeah, I agree with you. This is wrong. Yeah, I agree with you.
Go ahead. Benefit tremendously if I did watch his YouTube videos on this channel, but I'm never gonna fucking do that.
So you said he would benefit tremendously if I watched him, but I will never fucking do that until he starts shitting on Ethan.
No.
By the way, my community doesn't harass people.
That's not true. Let me explain to you what.
Absolutely, provably, empirically true.
Do you want to hear my perspective, or do you want to fucking just keep playing clips that your production team put together? Okay, so bad empanada.
Sorry for preparing.
No, there's no problem with that. I mean, you're still doing a horrible job at it, but it's all good. So
We'll see.
bad empanada is crazy. I still say that. He attacks me all the fucking time. He says I'm a Jewish exceptionalist Zionist. Okay, like. There's disagreements that I have with bad empanada. There's disagreements with his tactics, as I've shown in that video, as I've said in that video. There's disagreements with the way he presents himself. But if you notice in that video, I also said something. His work on YouTube, okay, his work on his YouTube essays stands alone. Bad empanada on his
What
YouTube
about his videos
essays,
attacking me? Are those, is that part of
because that's what it's all
his
about.
great
Bad
body
empanada
of
on
work?
his YouTube essays, especially when it's issue
But what about
specific,
me?
are actually very instructive.
Then why are you
very
watching ones
informative.
called Ethan Klein as a Zionist baby killer? Why are you watching that one? Is that part of his master body of collection? Is that part of the Criterion collection there, buddy?
Yes.
Why does bad? Okay, it is good. Why does bad empanada role play hunting Hila and killing her in video games?
Have I ever said that I think that's appropriate?
I think no, of course not.
Yeah.
But what you are doing is endorsing this guy.
Do I agree with you that bad empanada is
Endorsing
crazy
the guy
and
he just
also
called
does crazy
insane?
shit because he's a fucking scraggly internet troll who is, once again, as a separate, you like to compartmentalize Israel proper from doing a genocide. I like to compartmentalize the content that I'm consuming from a guy who I do think is doing well-sourced, well-researched YouTube essays, who also happens to be a fucking freak who literally hates me.
Ethan Klein
But
is
in
a
terms of
Zionist
the
dog, and
blockade
by the
on
way, I
Bad
want to kill his
Empanada,
wife.
the reason why that blockade ended, and I've watched other videos that are not related to you from Bad Empanada in the past on this broadcast as well.
How many?
The reason why
How
that
many?
blockade ended is because
How many of you watched Not About Me?
What? The reason
How
why...
many videos of his have you watched that are not about me?
I don't know.
Maybe
I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe
I've
one.
watched a fuck ton though. I've watched a fuck ton of Bad Empanada videos.
And are most of them about me?
No, not all of them are about you.
Actually, this segues perfectly. You claim I'm obsessed with you.
Segue into what?
Okay.
That's part of the narrative, right?
I mean, that's not just me claiming that, Ethan. I think at this point, a lot of people see it, right?
Very good. Well, let's see. Ugh, God damn it. Well, I got to refresh this. So here's an example from one of these clip channels. These are all different clips, right? Over a 2-month period, there's edited down 24 hours of you talking about me. 24 hours. That's
These
over
are
the
most
60.
likely.
Hold on.
These are fan channels.
Let me.
These are
over a
fan channels.
60-day
This is
period, that's
disingenuous.
24 minutes per day.
Ethan, these are fan channels.
You could probably edit 3 hours of personal grievances
You're
out of this.
presenting.
Okay,
fan
first of
channels
all,
that
I'm
are
just showing how
posting-
much you talk about me on stream. Second of all, that the fan channel defense is Let me finish. The fan channel thing is a clever part of your disinformation campaign to avoid any responsibility. The fact is, if I wanted to show all your fan channels, this is how many fucking videos was uploaded about me in the last 22 days.
Why are you ramping up to this? Why are you?
That's regular.
No control over my fan channels. What do you mean? You're literally showing the same.
Going super saiyan.
I say one thing on
on my Twitch stream. Videos
about
one thing on my Twitch stream.
Look at what other YouTubers are doing right now. Look at all these other YouTubers making YouTube videos.
Of course, it's all part, so you don't ever have to accept responsibility.
You like it, don't you? This gets you off, doesn't it, Hassan? Other people making videos about me.
So this is the no.
Clipping videos from you.
This has the same moments. The last one does not.
Multiplied. Go back to the fucking
this one
photo.
does not have this. No, this one does not have the same moments. This one is unique. Times you talked about me on your stream.
It still counts because it's time added up. It's other people. No one can fair enough. No one clips. I'm not famous enough. No one makes clip videos of me and has fan channels of me where they just post my videos, which you have full permission to do, by the way. Go nuts. So go have fun. First person who wants to try that out and try and make a living from it. But Hasan can't control that. Are you saying that Hasan should suddenly I think it's an awesome thing to be like, hey, by the way, anyone who wants to, go get a meal. Go pay for your school if you want to make clips from my channel and upload them to YouTube. I'm not going to copyright strike you. Go do that. Sure, because it promotes me at the same time. Go have fun with that. That's what Hasan has said openly, and that's why people do what they do. And people have come up to him on campuses and been like, I actually literally paid for my education because of that. So that's awesome. Thank you. But he can't control those people. He can't be like, I would like if you uploaded less videos of this nature and less videos. Like, do you know how many channels you'd have to police consistently? And then what? You're suddenly the boss of all these channels instead of just saying you can go and then fucking
25. Hold on. Let me pull this up really quickly. Oh. You have on your Instagram stories, not including clips, since January 31st, you have mentioned me 110 times.
What? Based on what? I don't
on
believe
your
that.
Instagram story
hold on.
post.
From what period?
Since
From what period of time?
January 31st.
Hold on. Since
no,
what
you,
date?
Not fan channels.
I'm asking you for what date. What's your date? What's the date? I'm asking.
January 31st. Since
2023?
January 31st, on your Instagram stories, not including clips,
what
you
year?
have mentioned me.
What year?
Oh, my God.
Oh, 2025.
So you're saying I storied about you 100 times this
over 100
year?
times.
110.
That's an absolute fucking lie.
110
Show me the evidence of that.
Times.
Show me your evidence. I've got pictures. What do you got? I talked about you 110 times. Show me.
You have basically 1.2 posts per day about me, 9 stories per week.
Where are you? Show me the evidence.
We tabulated it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the dump. Oh, no. It's shocking. It shocked you, it seems.
Sure, yeah. But this isn't a somehow, by the way, this doesn't surprise you. 66 videos about me. in the last 2 months.
Oh, nice.
Not my channels. They operate with your approval, under your direction.
When you
it's
look
part
at
of your
me
disinfo
referencing
campaign
you,
to avoid
almost
responsibility. It's so
always
obvious.
Within the context, it's almost always within the context of you literally fucking Hostweet. When are we in agreement? Hasan called me stupid, and I said my video is bad.
You're streaming it, bro. You're streaming the hate videos. You're streaming. This is what you stream.
Okay,
I make
your entire
story.
Fucking stream
you deny
is a
that
video.
you just said
What are you talking about?
that's
Your
a lie.
entire,
I don't talk about you that
subreddit
much.
is
That's a dirty lie.
Subreddit against me, which is fine. You want to do that? You can do that. That's precisely the reason why Reddit literally got back to you when you fucking cried to them about the snark channels and said, "What are you talking about? You basically have a harassment channel on Reddit. How are you complaining about this?" Not only that, but you also tried to sue anonymous Redditors to dox them, which you
when did I try to sue? Whoa,
you wanted to dox them to their families.
What?
You sent frivolous lawsuits to Redditors, to anonymous Redditors, knowing full well that they would be scared into submission. You also posted about that on your Instagram stories as well.
Can anonymous Redditors defame you and harass you?
Oh, wow.
Can anonymous posters who literally posted fake, they doctored posts, posted it on our subreddit saying I was banning people who are wishing a happy Ramadan. Okay,
I
and
don't
that went
even know
viral.
what the deal was. I don't even know what the fuck that was about.
Well, it's
Did
an
you
outright
or
lie.
Did you not?
Hold on, dude. Let me respond. You just
get your lawyer to.
You need to stop because
I'm
going to.
Did you not get your lawyer to try to bully, extort people? There are anonymous Redditors.
Extort?
Sure,
Who's
they
extorting?
Said some shit about you.
Bro, let me answer. Are you just going to
fucking
gish? Okay, you want to make this interview unwatchable? Is that your goal?
What?
Go on.
Yeah, kind of, right? So let me talk. These anonymous posters, okay?
Yeah.
We're showing pictures of the front of our office, organizing to meet there. They were, I know you haven't seen it, but it's true. They have documented, I have proof of them faking a post saying I was banning people wishing Ramadan that was posted to Snark, that went viral in your community. It was picked up by people in your community, leftist Twitter, TikTok, etc. It was an outright lie. It was defamation. And by the way, fuck yeah, those people should be held accountable.
When is this where I've talked about you, Ramadan, whatever the fuck? I will give
I'm
you $1 million.
explaining the context, dude.
I didn't even
You're
know
accusing me of something.
What are you talking about?
Bro, you're unreal. I'm explaining the context. How's that weird? You accuse me of something, I'm explaining why.
You're saying that I'm responsible for this when I have no fucking clue
what
I'm
you're
talking about. I only saw the litigation.
Is it ever, Hasan, is it ever okay to sue a random Redditor for a reason? Is there ever a good reason?
There could be.
Okay, very good. Well,
they
were fucking.
Do you think, about this incident.
Great. It's not that crazy.
One of the Redditors that you sued. Okay.
I didn't sue anyone.
Not only did
First
you
of all,
sue for copyright infringement, but in the
Hasan,
process,
you are absolute. Hold on, you're lying, so you have to stop.
Them for
I have not sued anybody.
Your lawyer demanded such insane things. Your only option to avoid litigation, you provide our office with all correspondence you've had with the moderators of H3 Snark. You provide our office with all correspondence you've had with other H3 Snark users. You provide our office with all correspondence you have had with Reddit.
Do you know why?
What does that mean? You provide our office with information regarding the identities of H3 Snark moderators. What does that mean? And then your lawyer says,
I'm trying to tell you. You just asked me, what does it mean, bro?
If you do not or cannot satisfy all 5 conditions, TEI will sue you for copyright infringement and misrepresentation.
Okay, so first of all,
does your lawyer think that you can just make people dance? If they got him on a copyright claim?
Do you want to have a conversation, or do you want to just talk uninterrupted? I mean, that's what you do every day. Let's have a conversation. Okay?
Sure.
All right. Do you know why we sent them that letter?
I don't.
Well, I mean, do you think that the context might be important?
Sure.
Okay, so then what the fuck are you doing?
I'm listening. I'm waiting for you to explain. Just like you didn't explain why you had 110 Instagram stories, by the way. Which was shocking to
this
even
person.
You.
By the way, these people were
true.
committing
Even Ethan's like, no way, that's true.
Copyright infringement.
No
they were
way.
Posting clips with the stated intention, Hasan, of stealing views from us. This person, we took down the DMC post.
Oh my
and
God!
They erroneously.
How by posting?
I'm sorry. Do you want me to respond?
This is so embarrassing.
From you how? By posting on Reddit?
Yes. Duh. What the fuck?
You're one of the biggest YouTubers. Like in existence. Like, get the FBI involved. Why are you wasting time right now? Why are you talking? Why are you having a conversation? Have you not? What are we doing here? This is madness.
Frivolous lawsuit to try and stop people from criticizing you on Reddit? Do you know how many people criticize me on my Reddit? Do you know how many people criticize me on your Reddit?
Oh my God,
Imagine
this is so
if I was
pointless.
fucking suing them. How much would you talk about that?
For theft? They're stealing views.
I want to ask you something.
They're posting paywalled.
They were posting paywalled content. Watch it here so that you don't support Ethan. Okay?
Hold on now.
Spare me. Now let me ask you a question because this is fucking dumb. Okay, you always say that whenever you. First of all, let me give you a stat.
Mr. Fair,
you've watched.
Yeah.
You've watched.
Did you speak to the manager of Reddit first?
About me since this has started. Do you know how many I've watched about you on stream?
Your whole stream is a hate video.
Zero.
Bro.
I have had 0 people hold my hand through some obscene hate videos. You've watched 11 of them. Now let me ask you this: you see, whenever I make a response to these videos, for example, the content cop, you say you don't have time because you need to get to the news, which is something important. Then how the fuck do you have 19 hours straight, uninterrupted, to watch 11 hate videos, but you're not willing to show my response? Don't you think that's a bit cowardly?
No, I don't, because what's cowardly
well,
is ducking me for the past
Ducking
4
you? I'm
months.
sitting in front of
when
you.
When you dropped the content nuke, I said, I'm willing to talk to you. And you knew it wasn't going to look good.
Oh my God, bro.
As
So
today has
stupid.
demonstrated.
I said
and that's
just
precisely
watch
why
the-
you tried to add additional
said watch
qualifications
the
to it. Like,
video.
oh, just watch my video. Just watch my video.
Yeah, that's super reasonable. Why the fuck would I have a conversation with you about a video you haven't seen?
Because it's
He hasn't
me.
brought this up, but he turned his actual like Twitch account into a 24/7 streaming the content nuke about Hasan channel. Just 24 hours a day, 24/7, only streaming the content nuke about Hasan.
Sure, you understand.
For all the
it's
people
not
who
a
are tuning in
biography,
right
Hasan.
now.
It's not about the points in your life about your mom and your dad and growing up with your family. I'm making specific arguments that I've articulated that you have not seen.
Very
so how the
poorly,
fuck?
by the way.
How do you know that? You haven't watched it.
Because I'm talking to you.
Because I've
You
watched
haven't-
11 hate
and You
videos.
haven't articulated a single good point yet. But also,
By the way,
I'll
I said
tell
I would
you why.
debate you if you watched it. It's very
I'll tell
simple.
you why. I'll tell you why.
You were dodging as fuck.
Because I responded to your context nuke before the nuke came out.
What you
There
can't
is
provide,
a video
by the
on
way.
my channel. There's a video on my channel that I urge all of you who are interested to go and watch. It is sitting at like what, 600,000 views? Not that many people watch it as opposed to the content nuke, okay? In that video, you will notice that months prior to Ethan's context puke, months prior to that, I addressed every single claim he made in his
You didn't
video.
watch the video.
Do
How
I
do you
have
know
the
that?
capacity to
You didn't
do
watch the
I have the
video.
capacity to see the future?
So where'd you get the list? Do someone send you a list of all my points?
How? How did
Why
I
not just
answer
watch
all
the
of his
video
questions?
then? Why not just watch the video?
Wait,
It seems
did I get a
cowardly. You're
list
like,
of all
I
your
don't want to
points?
watch the video.
Did I
Just
get
send me a
all your
list
points,
of all the
Ethan?
things. So
Ethan?
I can't get,
Ethan?
I don't want to get my feelings hurt. And
Ethan,
maybe
you consider
he's making a good
yourself-
point.
You have, in the cringiest
Why not
ways
watch the
possible,
video?
considered yourself to be Kendrick Lamar in this beef, this one-sided beef that you created initially, that I didn't
That's right.
respond to until you try to deplatform me
That's
and
right.
people who are pro-Palestine.
I am Kendrick.
Okay? So
Who cannot,
let me
by
explain
the way,
to
It is you
something.
who
being
is
pro-Palestine
Why
means you are
did I have
infallible
all
and can
the
never be
information?
criticized. That's awesome.
Why
logic.
did I have
You
all
want
the
to talk about the
information that I
content
actually
nuke,
responded
Hasan?
to?
Hasan, you want to talk about the content nuke? Can you name one clip that was out of context? You call it the context puke. Name one clip that was taken out of context.
Watch
Go
my
ahead.
video and you'll find out.
Name one.
Watch my video.
Go ahead.
They already went
It's
over one, by
amazing.
the way.
I'm kidding. I'll show you.
Hassan
So,
endorses rapes.
One of the best
that
examples
clip.
that we were initially going to get to, and then we went on a long, drawn-out sequence over sexual
out of
assaults, is
context?
that one of the clips that you used, one of the clips that you used in your context nuke was the claim that I deny rapes happen. It was from
I showed evidence.
It was from
That wasn't out of context. That was an opinion.
At the time, that thing that you clipped were me being like, rapes happening do not change the dynamic for me, which was about.
We talked about this, bro. Can we please talk about something else? It's exhausting.
That argument, quite literally, was me.
Why are we going over this again,
defending the
dude?
likelihood of rapes happening, Ethan.
cares?
Do you
I
feel
wanna
like
talk
that was
about
an
something
appropriate
else.
way to show that I was a rape
It wasn't
denier?
out of context, bro. It literally wasn't out of context. What else do you have?
Do you
I
feel
showed,
like? Wait, what do you mean? You
I
can't just
showed
say
you.
that wasn't out of context. That is the
How was it out
context.
of
That's the
context?
definition
How
of
was
being
it
out of context.
Because that was an argument that I was having with a chatter who was saying, why don't you deny that rapes have happened? And I was saying, there is a likelihood
What about all
that
the
they
other ones?
might have happened because rapes
What about all the other
actually,
ones?
Rapes are actually
What about all the other
Give me an
ones?
example. Here's an
Sexual
example.
assaults
Okay, fine.
commonplace
Give me another
in
example.
What about all the
conflicts
other
in general.
clips?
So without evidence, I am not going to immediately dismiss these claims.
What? Okay, so okay,
Another
so,
clip.
so
Do you
here
feel like that was sufficient to show that I was actually that I was actually at that moment saying like,
I think
oh,
I showed
no.
sufficient evidence, yes. But the video's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's very long. That's
so you
one
do recognize
example.
that
That's
was
one
out of
small.
context.
What else is out of context? Go on.
Okay, great. All right, let me give you the master list. Okay, if you want to watch the context of it, we can also go through these videos as well. Or you can just take my word for it. Up to you. What do you want to do? You want to go through the videos one by one?
Give me examples that was out of context.
Okay. One of the other things that you've consistently done, aside from also the dude that you claimed was my fan, who now you admit
Oh
wasn't
my
my fan,
God,
that you
bro.
you falsely said.
Yeah, that happened live.
Jiminy fucking cricket.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really bad and weird. And
The
fucked
usage
up.
of the term inbred. I use inbred as a wait. What? What is going
Because
on?
I
You
have
asked me
that. Because I knew you were going to do this, and I have the clip pulled. Let's play it.
Okay,
And
play
then
it.
you can.
The Jewish KKK brigades out there, just a bunch of fucking inbred hicks. Imagine the most inbred white supremacist guy you can imagine, okay? Every week there was another fucking psychopathic settler, inbred fucking douchebag. Oh, these inbred fucking douchebags in the background, dude. A nation entirely comprised of messianic, inbred,
Pause it for a second.
ultra-orthodox psychopaths that these inbred don't understand. Educated, inbred, fundamentalist hicks.
Calling us in the middle of campus, calling us inbred, that we have no culture. One of them grabbed my friend's Israeli flag in the middle of campus, carried it to a mob by the gate that were communicating with the angry mobs outside of campus.
That's awesome.
Untrained, inbred asses shipped into southern Lebanon, telling us that we are all inbred and that we have no culture.
You want to? You got to watch this part too.
Inbred, 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 inbred,
I wanna pause so bad.
inbred, 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 inbred.
What is that?
The clips there, and that's not necessarily the algorithm.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and defend your continual use of the word inbred to describe Jewish people. Go on.
Wait, do you think I'm describing all Jewish people as inbred? Is that what your assessment is here?
Microaggressions, my friend. We're pretending they don't exist. You continually refer to Jewish people
You are
as
such
inbred.
a pussy. Oh my god. Yeah, dude. Of course
I mean,
I'm
talk
calling
about-
the fucking Kahanis Jewish supremacist settlers inbred. Why is it that you tried to defend the actual Kahanis settlers that were destroying humanitarian aid? When I was calling them fucking inbred, you were like, oh, why? They're just nice young Jewish boys, you said, when describing that fucking video. You looked at
So
a
again,
video, you looked at a video.
Hasan, you have a chronic problem with the truth. Here's what you're talking about.
Douchebags in the
Like, these are
background,
just
dude.
dudes. By the way, this is the difference between me and
again.
Hasan. When I get criticized, I pull it up and I watch the fucking criticism. Hasan opens Comrade KC tweets and snark posts and reads their interpretation of my video. Talk about being a pussy. You need people to hold your hands.
Fucking be real here.
Yeah, I'm so scared of you. That's why I wanted to debate you.
And this is an ongoing like joke with this community. These are just fucking benign dudes. Just I don't know what the fuck they're doing. It looks like they're doing charity or something. It looks like they've got water or boxes or something, like they're helping. And he's going, oh, look at these inbred fucks. It's like, bro, who are you? What are you? By the way, even if they're doing whatever bad, you're still calling Jewish people inbred repeatedly.
You understand that, right?
Rubs
They're
off on
fucking
people.
Nazis,
It
Ethan.
doesn't
What's
make
wrong
it
with
any
you?
less anti-
They're participating
You're
single-handedly in a
referring
genocide.
continually to Jewish people as inbred, bro.
No, I call
you don't think that can
fucking-
affect people?
I call all racist right-wing reactionaries inbred. It's one of the fucking terms that I can use that isn't like immediately slammed.
How about one that
as
doesn't feed into like an
racially
anti-Semitic
insensitive?
trope? Why did you laugh when that guy said that people were calling them inbred on campus? Why was that funny?
What do you mean? Because it's a fucking crybully claiming that he was a victim of
Crybully?
harassment.
He was walking through campus.
What?
He was walking through campus. How is he a crybully?
No, he's a crybully for going on Fox to be like, I was under attack. I was victimized once again.
What was the bully aspect?
What do you mean? What is
To
the
be a
bully
crybully,
aspect?
there needs to
Ethan,
be a bully
have you-
aspect. Where's
have
the
you
bully
fucking-
aspect?
Have you literally left your goddamn Bel Air mansion for a second and
bro.
looked at the news? Do you know what's going on? An entire year of genocide side by side with people claiming that Jews are being victimized
Call
on
them
college
fascists.
campuses
Call
has
them
now led
pieces of
to
shit.
the
Call them
fucking
terrible
Gestapo
people. Your
literally
insistence
packing
on
up
calling
pro-Palestinian
Jewish
student
people inbred
activists.
is
You
a
don't think that those fucking
conscious
dipshits
choice
played a role in
in
that on
spreading
Fox News of all places?
straight up
What the fuck is
anti-Semitism.
wrong with you? Of course you're not pro-Palestine. This is the reason why nobody thinks you're pro-Palestine, okay? Because you do this dumb shit. Because you can't fucking see the world outside of how you feel slighted by.
So you're saying people think I'm pro-Palestine because I don't like your repeated use of the word inbred against Jews?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you're running defense for Kahanists who are literally
No, I'm not defending them.
Nazis.
I'm attacking you.
No,
How is me saying why you
you are fucking crying
Fury's always so close.
about me calling Nazis inbred in the process of them destroying humanitarian aid, going into Gaza, and then
All
you're
the
going,
clips?
they look like kind boys.
Yeah, I
they
took it
look
back
like
immediately.
Nice boys that were just holding the humanitarian aid. How do you assume that people won't
I
see that
literally
and go, what
took
the
it back
fuck is
immediately.
wrong with you?
I admit I was wrong and took it back immediately when I learned the context. Do you
Oh
know
my
how that
God,
works?
there's a lot more.
Have
Do
you
you want to
ever?
keep going?
then why?
Piece by
Have you
piece?
ever? No,
You're
it's
calling
fucking
bad
boring.
people bad
now
names.
it's
That's what this
boring.
boils
Because I
down to.
went-
Why are you
because you're
calling bad
calling
people
liar.
bad
I went
names?
back.
Maybe I wasn't afraid of the context nuke, okay?
I
Maybe I
went
wasn't
back.
afraid of it, but I was
See, this-
worried that you were
this-
going to fucking clip shit out of context and keep chirping to your audience and lie to
This
them.
con-
And now you can't lie to them. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, half of the fucking shit that we've talked about,
All
you've
right,
backtracked
here, let's do
on.
this.
Maybe that's the reason why people think you're fucking pro-Israel at a time when you say that they're doing a genocide.
You said that the Houthi Luffy was not a pirate.
He's not.
Or I'm sorry, not Houthi affiliated.
He's not. But even if he was, I wouldn't care. I hope you understand that. I do
'Cause
not.
that's rewriting
think,
history.
I'm gonna say this very clearly.
No,
to
it's
you.
not that you
I'm gonna
cared,
say
it's
this
that you
very clearly
fucking
to you
glazed them
right
up.
now. 10 toes down. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
I believe what the Houthis are doing in terms of stopping Israel doing a genocide to implement a blockade on the Red Sea is a good thing. 10 toes fucking down. They are on the morally right side. Don't you also think they're on the morally right side? Ethan?
What have they
you're
done?
supposed to, you're
Hold on.
saying that it's a genocide. What
What
the
have they
fuck are
done?
they supposed to do?
They hijacked a boat that had nothing to do with Israel.
That's
like
not
fucking
true.
bravo.
That's not true.
Really? What was that? What did it have to do with Israel?
It was literally owned by an Israeli through the
It was
fucking
partially
islands.
owned. Is a big multi-conglomerate company that was partially owned by an Israeli.
Yes.
It was bound for fucking for
doesn't
Turkey
matter.
from
What do you mean?
India.
What do
there
you
was
think
they
BDS
kidnapped
is, dude? What do you think
5
BDS stands
totally
for?
unrelated Filipino
You also
fucking
said it
prisoners
wasn't
and
owned by an
kept
Israeli,
them
by the way,
prisoners
in
for a
your fucking
year.
video. Are you going to take that back too now? Now you
Hassan
admit that you
isn't
were wrong on that
justifying
part
the
too?
prisoner capture
Wow, what are we
either,
on? 4?
even if you make that
5?
statement.
How many points have you actually backtracked on?
I don't know
so far?
what I don't know what you're accusing me of. What was I wrong about?
You said in your video that it had nothing to do with Israel. You claimed that it wasn't owned by an Israeli
Partially owned by an
conglomerate.
Israeli guy?
You were wrong.
Partially owned by an Israeli guy? It's British owned. It's owned
It
by a
is an
British
Israeli
company.
conglomerate
It's
that
owned by
owns
a
the
British
fucking
company.
ship.
Oh my God.
So it's owned by a British
You literally
company.
claimed that it was owned by Isle of Man. It was an Isle of Man ship. Like you
It
think
is.
all of these ships mysteriously are just owned by that, and it's not a fucking easy flag to
How
get.
much of this? How much of this? So, if this Jewish or this Israeli guy,
0.5.
if this Israeli guy, how much does he need to own of this business that owns this boat to
Oh my
justify? Is it
God.
0.1? Is it 0.2? Is it 5%? How
I
much?
don't know, and I don't
Anything.
care because I think that even if they
Oh, you should.
even if they got some of the ships wrong, I still think they're on the right side. Don't you?
I mean, like, I
I'm
agree
not
with
even
their.
conceding on that front, by the way, because I do think that once again that was owned by an Israeli conglomerate, and you
No, it
lied on your
wasn't.
fucking
That's an
video.
outright lie. You're lying. It's not owned by an Israeli conglomerate. You're fucking lying. That's an outright pathetic lie.
You said
And
it
you're
was an
basically
Isle
running
of
defense
Man.
for a
You
terrorist
said the flag
organization.
was on
Now,
Isle of Man.
do I defend what they do? I think what they're doing, their message is good. Their method is terrible.
Oh, you wait, dude. Let's ring up the fucking Al Houthi family real quick. Tell us how you would stop a genocide when you're the poorest country
Well,
on
not
the fucking
hijacking an
planet
unaffiliated
that
boat and
withstood-
kidnapping 15 fucking nationals and holding them for a year. How is that helping
Yeah,
anyone?
that's another thing that you actually got wrong, by the way, that even fucking Willie Sloptube called you out on. Those people, by the time you
Willie
had released your context puke, those people had been released. What
It
would
was,
you
yeah,
do,
I
Ethan?
remember.
What would you do?
What did I said they were prisoners for a year. I know they were released. It literally happened like the day I was finishing the video.
Oh, it's just you couldn't.
They were
put
held.
it in there,
Were they held
you know?
prisoner for a year? Were they
You
held
couldn't-
prisoner for a year?
you
Were they
couldn't
held
put it-
prisoner
you
for a
couldn't
year?
put it- yeah, they
were
were,
they
they
held
were.
prisoner for a year?
Yeah, they were.
you
They
condemn
were. They were
Hamas?
held
That's what I
hostage.
said. Thank
Yeah,
you.
they were held hostage for sure.
So
condemn
how's
the
that help
Houthis?
Israel? Taking a bunch of Filipino fucking unaffiliated
Do you understand
sailors
the concept
hostage
of
for a year?
deterrence?
Well, how's that deter Israel? Kidnapping fucking
Do you understand the concept of
foreign
deterrence?
sailors.
Yes.
How is that a
stopping
deterrent?
It is a show of force.
This goes down to the core of just the problem with like liberal Zionism is that ultimately it's like the methods are not to your liking. The methods of resistance. If you have a colonized people or an oppressed people, the way that they are resisting colonization or oppression is not to your liking. Like you have to do it in the proper ways, proper channels. You have to file the right paperwork. You have to do whatever you can do. And in no part of this is Hasan saying out loud, I am for people kidnapping innocent civilians who are piloting these boats. This is what I'm endorsing. I am for this. He's saying it is, in my assessment, overall, them attempting to do, whether or not I agree with the methodology, the right thing. That like, again, we're just gonna get to this core of like, okay, but here's a specific example. Do you agree with what they're doing in this instance? Do you agree it was good of what Hamas did on October 7th? Do you agree with that?
Because that scares you, Ethan. So obviously they can't do that either. So what
scares? I mean, it doesn't. It's what Norman Finkelstein said.
Pro-Palestine in a way that you think is appropriate.
Where your example is hijacking an unaffiliated ship and kidnapping 15 sailors?
It's not unaffiliated, but even if it was unaffiliated, as I've said already, if it was unaffiliated, that wasn't unaffiliated. You lied about that, and you recognize that you lied about that for the record. But if it was,
people can look into it.
Even if it was,
why did they kidnap? They didn't need to kidnap random people. That's like terrorist shit. Why are they kidnapping random unaffiliated sailors? How are you defending that?
You know what's terrorist?
You're defending them kidnapping these unrelated foreign sailors?
Israel fucking blowing up a humanitarian aid flotilla.
When did I defend that?
1,002. No, I'm not saying you're defending that. I'm just explaining to you what actual terrorism looks like.
Well, you are defending terrorism,
as of this conversation taking place,
and you've done it many times during this conversation.
Literally drone striked a fucking humanitarian aid ship that was headed for Gaza off the coastline of Malta. That's real fucking terrorism. What the Houthis are doing, on the other hand, is resistance. And it's not only moral, but it's just and
very good. You're right. You're so righteous.
Is served,
do you think that the Filipino hostages who were held there for a year agree that that was an awesome that was an awesome act of resistance?
I can't believe you said that was awesome, Hasan.
What would you do?
I think, well, first of all, I think that like there's something to be said for stopping the cargo in that strait, but they're doing it insanely fucking stupid. They're stopping unaffiliated ships and they're kidnapping unaffiliated people. How is that good?
Damn, dude.
They're doing
it's not
it bad.
Unaffiliated ship, by the way. But even then,
you won't explain how it's affiliated. You said it's owned by an Israeli conglomerate. That is an outright lie. Hold on, you're doing disinformation right now. It was not owned by an Israeli conglomerate. You said that. Yes, it was a lie. Galaxy Leader is a vehicle carrier that was owned by a British company, operated by a company connected. It was connected. It wasn't even, he didn't even own it. It was connected to an Israeli businessman.
Mm-hmm.
It was co-owned by a business that this Israeli guy was involved in.
Co-owned by Abraham Ongar.
So what? You know his name.
What do you mean? It's co-owned by an Israeli. What are we talking about?
No, it's co-owned by a company that has an Israeli dude affiliated with it.
Well, you asked me how it's connected.
It's owned by a British company.
You asked me how it's connected. I'm telling you how it's connected.
Well, you're lying.
You don't like that
with enough effort, there'll be one
you're
done.
Lying. That's what
at some point, Ethan's going to get it. There will be a successful gotcha. 6 hours later.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter anyway. The problem for me really
doesn't matter. Okay, that's point number 5. You also presented falsely on your context puke.
The problem is more the kidnapped sailors. I just don't understand you can justify kidnapping a bunch of unaffiliated sailors.
I don't, Ethan.
You are.
Ethan,
you go.
Gotcha.
Have you ever heard of deterrent?
Yeah. Walk with me through this carefully.
Yeah, please explain to me how it's justifiable to kidnap 15 sailors.
Ethan, what would you do? You have a better way to do it, I think. We're going to figure it out.
Well, like I said, you can do it without kidnapping unaffiliated.
During the Holocaust,
holding them for a year.
There were militancy, resistance, that cut off supply lines, supply lines for the Nazis, or even sometimes supply lines that actually impacted the civilians, Impact the civilians. Do you feel like that kind of resistance was unwarranted?
It's completely irrelevant. Why did they hold them for a year?
I don't know.
Okay, because they're terrorists.
What? Because they're terrorists?
Oh, what? Yeah, they're terrorists. They kidnap innocent civilians.
Are they?
So this is basically the crux of it, right? So here's the bad guys. The bad guys are the Houthis. We should be condemning them. The bad guys are Hamas. We should be condemning them. The bad guys are Hezbollah. We should be condemning them. I agree that what Israel is doing is genocidal. They're doing an act of genocide, but like any resistance to that genocide cannot be done with anything other than the proper channels that I approve of. Otherwise, you know.
Innocent people.
Nothing else.
It's easy. Just don't kidnap innocent people. They could have done that, right? They could have taken the boat. They could have commandeered the boat and not kidnapped
that should be
people,
added
right?
to the
Oh, is that
logical
possible?
fallacy list.
Do you think that warrants the standard of saying that one of the only groups that is doing militancy against and resisting against Israel's genocide, which they stopped, by the way. They literally stopped when Israel actually followed through on a ceasefire. If they were just, erroneously and randomly fucking trying to claim ships because they're pirates, they want to live the pirate life, then obviously they wouldn't have stopped doing that, don't you think? And they only started their blockade after Israel started starving Gaza again, and then also turned around.
What does that have to do with innocent sailors?
What about innocent Gazans?
Ethan, I don't think you want to go down this route.
I'm ready. What do you mean?
People is terrorism. Is Israel terrorist? Is the IDF terrorist?
I mean, you could characterize
Is
it
the
that
IDF
way.
terrorist?
I mean, it's an army, so it's a different thing.
Why is it a different thing? Do you think the Ansarullah movement doesn't have a standing army? They have an army.
The Houthis are to like a hostile takeover of like a portion of Yemen. They're at odds with the government. It's different.
Wait,
they also own slaves, by the way.
We're going to talk about the Ansarullah movement's history.
But I'll say, yeah, Israel, the IDF is terrorist. Yes, the IDF is terrorism.
Hold on. Talk to me about how the Ansarullah movement actually came to power without getting any notes from your Discord or anything like that. Explain to me the process in which Ansarullah actually came to power. What?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
It's really
you should try
interesting
saying
because
that sometimes.
in your video, you also used a lot of Saudi outlets to be like, these guys are actually doing slavery.
Bro.
And it turned out that actually the
Saudi
videos
outlets.
that you used did not even suggest that it was Ansarullah that was doing slavery in the fucking poorest country on the planet.
Yeah, this is the biggest crash out in internet history.
The
Literally the
Houthis
poorest
have
country
slaves.
on the planet.
That's not
they
even
weren't
contested.
the ones who were doing the slavery according to your own fucking video, but you still used it. And you used
the Houthis have
Saudi
slaves,
propaganda
undisputed.
papers that at a time when Saudi Arabia was
why you're
doing a
defending
fucking
the
genocide.
Houthis for having slaves and kidnapping innocents. It's just so unnecessary.
I can't believe you're pro-slavery, Hasan.
What are you talking about,
Just
dude?
acknowledge that that they do terrible
Saudi-backed
shit.
government was the one that was actually doing slavery.
No, well, if they did, then the Houthis also have slaves. That's just a
No, the Houthis don't have shit. Okay,
they don't have shit. They don't have slaves. They don't even have slaves. They don't even have food. Like, what are you talking about?
That's not the point I'm making. They are the poorest country on the planet that just came out of a man-made famine.
How's that blockade, by the way,
Saudi
helping the
Arabia
country?
And the
How
UAE.
is the blockade helping the famine in Yemen? How's the blockade helping the famine in Yemen?
There is, as far as I understand, there's no longer a famine in Yemen. I'm talking about before, because you talked about how you were a regional expert.
What is blockading it doing for the poorest country on earth?
And their violent takeover of Yemen. So I was like trying to figure out what you know about this. Maybe you know something that I don't know. So I was trying to pick your brain a little bit on this
so
issue.
explain to
but
me why it
seems like
matters.
you don't know shit.
Sure, I don't know about this specific thing. Tell me why it matters.
Why it matters? What, their blockade?
Yeah. Clearly,
their blockade is awesome.
No, why it matters how they came to power.
Oh, because you used Saudi newspapers in the time when Saudi Arabia, according to Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, all fucking NGOs, was doing a Western-backed blockade that was killing hundreds of thousands of people, and the headlines that you used in your context puke were from Al Arabiya and numerous other outlets that had their own personal investment in vilifying the Ansar Allah movement. Having said that, of course, I also think that there are plenty to criticize about the Ansar Allah movement. I don't agree with everything that they're fucking doing, as I've said time and time again, like their banner, right? Their banner says "Curse the Jews," which you also presented in your video, except remember when you talked about Norm Finkelstein and how Norm Finkelstein doesn't agree with "From the River to the Sea, Palestine will be free"?
You agree with kidnapping civilians.
Can we play the clip of Norm Finkelstein talking about the curse the Jews and what he thinks about that? Let's do that. Let's pull up the clip of Norm Finkelstein's thoughts on
How's that
Houthis' actions
relevant?
and the
How's that
blockade
relevant?
against the Israelis. You
How is
used him
that
as a
relevant?
primary source earlier because you thought, he's a reputable guy, which I think I agree.
He said something that I've said that I've been criticized for.
Can
What
you-
does that have
Dan,
to do
can
with
you play
every
this
other
clip?
take he's taken? It
Can you
doesn't
play
mean
this
that I
clip?
support that like we're aligned with every other take in the world.
Dan, can you play this clip real quick? Sorry, this is 50 seconds.
I don't.
50
It's irrelevant.
I passed it along.
It's totally
What
irrelevant.
do you mean it's irrelevant?
Because who gives a fuck what he said about it?
Wait, what do you mean? You
wanna
his,
talk about-
you
here,
used
listen,
his perspective on From the River to the Sea to imply that he agrees with you. I want to
He
see if you
does.
agree with him on this. Just play
Do
it.
you? All right, I'll play it.
Thank you.
So here, I'm going to play it, okay? And then when this is done, let's move on to something I know we both want to talk about. You claimed, I'm going to play it. I just want to set this up. You claimed that the worst thing I said in the context puke is that I wrongfully portrayed Jewish people fleeing from their countries, and I denied the Nakba somehow, which is crazy. So let's talk about that after this clip.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
And
And by the way,
you're not going to scare us. You're not going to.
I'll just say up front, we can end on that point.
Oh, I can keep going all day if you
I'm
want
sure you
to.
can. Yeah, I know. I know you go to bed tonight in a cool race car bed, but I have family.
Okay, no, that's fine. Why are you thinking about what my bedroom looks like? It's kind of weird, man.
Yeah. No, you're right. You fucking badass fucking sports car bed. It's a
very odd.
There it is.
As long as the people in Gaza
He's doing the Kirk
are
Van Houten
subjected
meme.
to a genocide, we won't stop. Do you know all the praise that's given to the Danish government because it helped evacuate Jews during World War II? But is there a case where a totally distant people did that for the people of Gaza? If I were to give a Nobel Peace Prize, I would divide it between three. South African delegation. Number two, those doctors who volunteered to go to Gaza, the Doctors Without Borders and others. One
Many of whom have
doctor,
died.
he was Palestinian. Why don't you leave? Because he had the option. He was able to go. He said, I didn't go to medical school for 30 years to abandon my people. He was killed. And the third, it's the Houthis. If genocide is the crime of crimes, the Houthis are the hero of heroes.
Yeah, I mean, the first two examples, I definitely agree. I think it's psychotic to give the Houthis a peace prize. That's,
Why?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Why?
Because what the fuck have they done for peace other than kidnap innocent civilians? What have
What
they
the
done
fuck
for
are you
their own
talking about?
populace?
They
This
have
is, as you said,
bankrupted
the
an
poorest
Israeli
country
port
on
that
earth.
is the direct
What are they doing for
material-
peace?
The Houthis have created.
What does this have to do with the
direct
river to the sea?
material consequences for Israel as it has implemented a genocide.
All right, let's give them a peace prize. Whatever, I don't care.
I
Let's
think
give them a
they
peace
deserve
prize.
it.
Yes, absolutely, without
Yeah.
a doubt.
Wait, also, it's still
Don't
skipping
ask
back
the
to me.
don't ask the unaffiliated prisoners who were held for a year though. if
No,
they do.
I don't. I think you're missing the broader point here. You're
I
missing
think you
the
just-
forest for
All
the
right,
trees. Here, I'll
Right,
give you
of
a great
course.
example of this, by the way, because you spent a lot of time being like, the Houthis are bad. They're homophobic. I'm like, I'm sure they are. Holy
Homophobic?
shit. Also, Dan, it keeps pushing back to me on my end. Sorry.
Let's
Okay,
talk about
so-
the
so
issue
wait,
of
hold
the
on, hold on.
Nakba and
Okay,
stuff.
Hold on. I know you keep saying, oh, it doesn't matter. This is boring whenever you come across a point
No,
that
it's
you have to
irrelevant,
admit is
bro,
wrong.
and you
But
just talk and talk and
listen
talk.
to
It
me.
makes the video
You said
unwatchable.
You
The
said
vi-
the
it's all about the
Houthis
content.
Are the Houthis are barbaric. They're homophobic. They hate women.
Homophobic.
All this shit, right? And I'm sure a lot of that is correct. Of course it is. It is the fucking poorest nation on the planet, and all it is known
about bigotry
is
of low
fucking death and
expectations.
destruction. This doesn't justify. This doesn't justify having that sort of opinion, of
The
course.
right-wing
but it
framework.
certainly
The bigotry of low expectations.
understands, don't you think? Certainly is part of the point, part of the problem. And the best possible way to probably get them to have a civil rights movement to give gays rights would probably be to stop fucking bombing them, as
I mean, that
Joe
wasn't my
Biden did,
chief
and as
criticism.
Donald Trump has done.
Yeah, that wasn't my chief criticism. Man, again, my criticism is that they are kidnapping civilians.
Yeah, I know. You don't like their methods, but you have no alternative method. Now,
I said just do it without kidnapping civilians,
let's
dude. It's
get
not
back to the
rocket
IDF.
science.
You said the IDF is maybe not a terror organization, but the IDF is a terror organization.
I didn't say that.
through and
Wrong.
through.
Wrong. Again, a
Okay,
liar.
so you think the IDF is a terror organization?
I said yes.
You believe the IDF is
I
a
think
terror?
I think it
Okay.
would be. I think it's fair to characterize them that way.
Okay. Your wife was in the IDF.
Yeah.
Do you believe your wife is a terrorist?
Of course not.
you have considered a 19-year-old Yemeni TikToker who is not even a part of the Al-Houthi family with no Houthi affiliation, but simply a person that says he stands with the Houthis, and I do too, a terrorist over and over again because he has a gun in the second highest gun ownership
That's not why.
density per capita. And because he responded to a fucking Instagram comment saying he's a soldier, a dude who doesn't even speak English, you kept claiming that he was a terrorist over and over again. His name is Rashid al-Haddad. He is not even a fucking Zaidi Shia. He's not even a part of the Houthi family. Because if he was a part of the Houthi family, his last name would be al-Houthi, not al-Haddad. Okay? This person you have, this person, you looked at a 19-year-old fucking teenager who's a TikToker in the poorest country on the planet, who's only known death and destruction, and spent countless fucking hours looking through whatever his social media was to be like, this guy is bad. This guy's fucked up.
Let's look at it.
Of course he's fucked up. He lives in goddamn Yemen. Are you stupid?
Do you know what the bigotry of low expectations is?
You dumbass.
Do you know what the bigotry of low expectations is?
The right-wing framework.
You're saying because he's poor, he hates Jewish people? Let's watch.
No, it's not
Let
because
me show
he's
you
poor that he hates Jewish people. It's because he lives in fucking Yemen. And in that part of the world, the only thing that people see is the dangerous conflation of Zionism and Judaism. Because the fighter jets that blow up their fucking schools have a Star of David next to them. And when the Palestinians are kidnapped, when they're fucking forced to go through military trial detention, they get fucking Stars of David carved on their heads. Israel is the one that dangerously and falsely claims to be the nation state of Jews. Israel is the one that makes everybody think that this action, all of the action, the genocide that you called a genocide, is actually being done at the behest of Jews. So of course, for everyone in that side
Israel
of the fucking
doesn't claim
world,
they're doing it
when they
on
say
behest
Jew,
of Jews.
it's interchangeable with Israel. Many of these people, including Refat
Do you think he's like Anne Frank?
What?
Do you think he's like Anne Frank?
Oh, of course, absolutely. He has withstood genocide. He has withstood genocide by the Saudi government.
Is that the only?
Of course I do. I think that talking to, but my point that I was fucking presenting,
Anne Frank is famous for being a pacifist and seeing the good in people despite a fucking Holocaust that took every member of her family but her dad. That's why she's inspiring. This guy went on Twitter and said, fuck Jewish people.
Would be less inspiring if she somehow was able to get out of the...
If she was like, I want to kill Germans and hang them, yeah.
arms against the Nazis, would you say that Anne Frank
she would
is
be
bad
less
for that?
inspiring.
Say Anne Frank is bad for that, Ethan.
For something that didn't happen?
Would be bad if she took up arms against the violent Nazi occupation. Say it.
It wouldn't be the same, for sure.
Oh, it wouldn't be the same. Why wouldn't it be?
She's famous for being a pacifist and seeing the good in people despite living through a Holocaust. You understand that? That's not what. Let me show you. Let me show you.
Do you think that if Anne Frank
Israel isn't?
Do you think that if Anne Frank took up arms against the Nazi occupation, you would call
Israel
her
isn't
a bad
occupying
person?
Yemen anyway.
What?
Israel's not occupying Yemen.
Israel isn't. But for every single country in this region, American imperialism is all they
You say
have
the Saudis,
known.
you said this, why don't they say death to Saudi Arabia on their flag? Why is it Jews? Why
Because
is
they're
it damn
directly
the Jews?
fighting Saudi Arabia. What are you talking
but I thought,
about?
oh, you see the Star of David, of course they hate Jews. What about why does their flag say death to fucking Israel and damn the Jews?
Their flag says death to America, death to Israel, a curse upon the Jews, which
Damn
I
the
have
Jews,
said time
curse
and time
upon the
again
Jews.
is kind of gauche, not acceptable, not appropriate
That's
by
nice.
Western standards. But if you listen to
Why
Norm
does it
has
say
a
Saudi
clip on
Arabia?
that too. Norm has a clip on that too. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it?
Let me show you this
Do you want
because
to
you've
hear
been going
Norm
on and on.
Finkelstein explain that?
No, I want to show you this, okay? You've been talking and talking and talking and talking. Very good. Let's watch this.
Do you condemn
He
the
said-
Warsaw Ghetto Uprising,
Hassan,
Ethan?
you gotta stop.
Do you condemn the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising?
I'm gonna play this video, okay? He says, ready for maybe I read it.
Sacrifice and eager for martyrdom. Maybe he's talking about football. Here he is
It's
singing
going
a
to
song
be
with the words,
such
"Do you
a
threaten us
circular
with what
waste of
we are
time.
waiting for,
He addressed
son of a
this
Jew?"
already.
Meaning of Houthi is a title, and it's not something to fear, but for the Jews. They are very afraid of this title. The execution we will carry out on all Zionists, with the lovely depiction of a man.
And yeah, Hassan is not justifying any of this. He's not saying, hey, it's a really good thing in this case. He's trying to give context as to why someone might be saying that and why it's wrong to say that he's directly a Houthi fighter when there's absolutely no proof with that. That's always been the thing. Everybody, I got a doctor's appointment at 4, and I didn't think this was going to go 5 hours, and it's almost there. I will give a full breakdown of this in a recording, I think, to try and put an analysis of it all. But it got really, really good near the end, unfortunately, exactly when I have to run away in amongst everything else that's happening. So yeah, if I didn't have a doctor's appointment, I would not be running. But yeah, you can call me the coward. I am the coward who is running. So I had to leave right before the end, so I've just been catching up on the last minutes or hours of that debate between Ethan and Hasan, and obviously I think the whole thing was a dumpster fire, which, you know, the majority of it being spent almost exclusively on talking about Ethan's grievances and his own personal shit and drama. Unfortunately, it's just like so frustrating to sit through. And I think one of the big problems with all of this is ultimately that this is one of those things where we're dealing with a very serious topic that has become intertwined with internet drama, specifically between two of the largest creators on the internet, one of them wanting to speak specifically about the grievances that he has and not separate these two issues. Whereas obviously I think Hasan spent the better part of the first half of this trying as hard as he could to actually get down to, can we actually speak on this specific issue in its totality rather than talk about our personal beefs. I think it was incredibly productive once they actually started getting down to specific topics, speaking about the Houthis, speaking about you know, the current paradigm between seeing the genocide unfold and take place in real life, and how a lot of us are just watching it take place and not doing anything materially about it outside of, you know, protesting and doing that kind of stuff. Whereas, you know, this direct example of people trying to actually restrict the amount of weaponry or arms that go into Israel for it to be able to commit war crimes and atrocities, that part of it seemed to be a lot more productive. All in, is this going to change a lot of people's minds? I don't know. I think the takeaway from all this and the focus is, like, I have to give Hasan a lot of credit for trying to pull the whole thing back and actually, let's recontextualize this, because we are talking about something that apparently the two of them completely agree on. I mean, most of the main points Ethan eventually conceded or said that he agreed on in terms of Israel's committing a genocide. Just based on that alone, if Israel's committing the, you know, highest crime against humanity, then that's exactly, if we're speaking about anything related to this, where we should be focusing our attention, not trying to constantly pick apart. You know, let's reframe this entire thing and talk about all the horrifying things that Hamas has done on October 7th. Let's recontextualize everything and talk about the ways in which we don't feel that, you know, the Yemeni Houthis, for example, are engaging in 100% ethical you know, forms of resistance, whereas the bigger call out ultimately should always be upon the occupier and you know, the imperial forces, especially in the West, that are aiding Israel in committing these vile acts and atrocities. I think once things got back to that, it actually became a little bit more productive. Will this whole thing just suddenly be a moment of sober self-reflection? Am I going to see, or is anyone on the internet going to see next week a situation where Ethan is like, you know what, having conceded the vast majority of the points when it pertains to issues that are important, I'm going to be now focusing a lot more on my attention, not so much on picking apart every single aspect of, you know, every streamer on the internet who criticizes Israel and trying to determine whether or not they in fact are terrorist supporters, and maybe, you know, work towards bringing more attention to the actions of Israel. Remains to be seen, but I mean, that would probably be the most positive outcome that could happen. That didn't take place, but you know, we'll see. In terms of, like, you know, every other content creator I think who's trying to talk about this issue and bring attention to it, that's obviously going to be the constant battle. How do you separate the fact that this has been turned into so much vile internet slop, while at the same time the real issue is the horrifying war crimes that Israel is committing? That's where I think all of us should focus our attention to. And yeah.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/theserfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Poppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwynn, Sebastian Demmel, Travis McClinton, Trincel, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.